some bolt. Go down to the park department and get some bolt cutters because you might be bolt cutting this Doberman Pitcherman choker off.
You got to stop at Harbor Freight on the way up.
You're listening to the Bubba the Love Sponge.
Broadcast rights for the Bubba the Love Sponge show have been granted to this station by the Bubba Radio Network and is intended solely for the enjoyment of your listening audience. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or any other use of this production without the express written consent of the Bubba Radio Network is strictly prohibited.
It's the Bubba the Love Sponge show.
Hello and welcome. Chaos. That's how I like to start the Bubba the Love Sponge show. My name's Anna Hummel. I'm going to be driving the show today while Bubba is gone. He's not dead. He's fully functioning fine in Ellijay, Georgia with his crick, with Mary Lou, and with Larry Plummer. I believe he's gone live on Facebook, so there is proof that he is living, but until tomorrow when he returns, we got the full crew besides him, myself. We got Lummy.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, Dr. Dan.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. Hello, good day. We got, nope, not that one. Hello, Blitz.
Hello.
How's it going? And I believe Tyler's here.
I'm here.
Okay, awesome. Fantastic. We got the full crew. We had a few technical difficulties, which is perfect. Exactly what you want to experience for live radio when the boss is gone. Hopefully he's still pilled out right now, so he shouldn't be awake. We're going to there's a lot of things we got to get to. I know we had a 3-day weekend, so I want to get into that. We got the Messiah is returning to Tampa Bay, so fear not. We're going to be talking all things sports, and we'll get into a little bit of, World War III and what's going on with that. But we
had our own World War III here when we first got here.
Yeah. The internet was down. Everyone's running around.
All the computers were off.
Just lost my mouse.
Proper mouse. Mices.
Cyber attacks.
Yeah.
So overnight last night in our rack
what
room,
happened?
Our main UPS died. Which, it didn't just, go offline. It, totally died and took everything down with it. So there was no internet, all of our main server computers were down. So everything had to be rebooted when we got here. Most of it came back up.
Yeah, I oddly remained pretty calm during these circumstances.
Good.
Just, it's one of those things where you realize that nerves really aren't going to help you. I'll freak out about small stuff, if we're out of, yogis and salted nuts. But if with something like hosting a show, if the S starts hitting the fan, you just go, oh, well, what can I do? Nothing. And freaking out isn't going to help. But I do feel a little thrown off. I'm sure everybody is feeling a little off. I don't know.
From the time change?
Yeah, I don't know what political affiliation is anti-daylight saving, I learned yesterday. But it's a nightmare. And it's only 1 hour, but it throws off everything.
But this time of year is the best time. I like this time period because it gets dark later and you don't feel like the day's over as soon as you get off work.
Exactly.
Here's the thing. I don't mind the fact that it's a different time. Just pick one.
Right.
That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
I don't like the bouncing back and forth. It really throws everyone off.
The sun comes up and down different times during the year, so it's trying to balance that.
But is it though? Because explain this to me, and I understand maybe this is above my pay grade, so just roll with me. But don't the days get shorter during wintertime?
Yes.
So wouldn't we want to do daylight saving when the days are shorter to create more light? Versus the other way around, or is that no? Shouldn't it get darker?
The thought was
later?
that the light would be more practical use for farming, and then also it helps with kids getting to the bus in the morning and not getting hit by cars.
Okay.
That's one of the reasons.
All right. Well, I mean, I wish I could care, but I don't have the children, so it's just my world. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's throwing me off, and I'm not happy about it.
The day should start at 11 a.m.
Absolutely
your world.
right. You're right. Exactly. 813-90-BUBBA if you'd like to call in. But again, I did a very minimal research yesterday, but I think a lot of bad things happen on daylight saving when we spring forward. That is right. Don't heart attacks go up? I know that Mondays are notorious for more heart attacks than any other day of the week because it disrupts the sleep-wake cycle sort of a thing. But I think that this week especially throws people off. I mean, people who are on the precipice of, dying or going into cardiac arrest anyways. I don't think 1 hour is going to kill a healthy person, but I'm pretty sure heart attacks go up during this time of year where people lose sleep and traffic accidents. It's a mess. So if you're on the road, please be careful. Please be safe.
Just the first couple of days are tough, and then it's way better.
Yeah, and then you adjust. But
well, we've in Florida anyway, we voted to do away with daylight saving time.
I know, and the rest of the government
and
said
they're
no.
like, yeah, we don't care what you want.
right, of all things to take control of, it's like, all right, you already have control of how we do things, how we spend our money, taxes. Now you want time too. Now you want to control time.
There's 3 states that don't have it, or 2?
I know Arizona doesn't.
Right, yeah,
I don't know
Arizona.
about the.
I think Hawaii, but I don't know.
Hawaii doesn't have it. I have no clue. Actually, I don't know.
And there's like some towns and cities or something that don't do it.
Right. So I don't know how Florida was able to just like say they said no, you can't. Where
Right.
there's other states that haven't.
And we voted to do away with it. It wasn't like they were like, should we or shouldn't we? We'll just take a poll. Like it was an actual vote, and like overwhelmingly it won to do away with it.
So would we stay on daylight saving,
This
or
time.
we would stay on standard?
We stay on this time, this current time.
Okay. Okay.
Because they want the later days so that you can enjoy the afternoon at the beach.
Oh, wonderful!
Which is perfect.
Well, that's very Florida-esque. So that's
Yes.
fantastic. We did have a 3-day week. Well, I mean, not Dan, but everybody else here around here had a 3-day week. So we'll get into some of the fun things.
I think we had a 3-day weekend.
3-day weekend? Is that-
3-day
Yeah.
weekend, guys. I'm telling you,
Jesus.
daylight saving, it's throwing me
I
off.
know, don't
and
have a
how
heart
long?
attack.
How long can I use that as an excuse for being an a-hole?
Just today.
Just today. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn it. But we got into a lot of fun stuff. Kevin had a big Irish bash, which I got pretty drunk at because I had 2.5 glasses of wine and was hungover yesterday. I didn't even finish the 3rd glass of wine, and it wasn't even a glass. It was like a Dixie cup, but I don't really drink anymore.
Was it red wine?
No, it was white
Oh,
wine because I know
wow.
better. Because red wine gives me a bad headache.
It does?
Yeah,
You're so fragile.
Yeah, I'm a very fragile human being. Yeah, absolutely. And apparently last night I also tried to self-medicate with some marriage Angus, let's just say, okay? And I usually don't smoke before bed, but I thought, hey, listen, it's daylight saving. I'm all thrown off. I need to go to bed because it was like 11:15, and I was 0% tired. So I was like, I should probably do something about this. And I guess I ordered the wrong type of weed, but I ordered the paranoid weed by accident, and I meant to order the cool weed, but I ordered the paranoid weed. So instead of just calmly relaxing and drifting off into a nice cloud in the sky, I was having an existential crisis.
Were you seeing spirits and things like that?
No, but it was just like it was one of those things where I was like looking deep into my soul at like 12:30.
Black. It was just.
It was black. It
and
was
dark
not
and
good.
scary and
Yeah, there was a lot of like, who do you think you
cold,
are? Do you
wet.
what, you think you can do this? What do you? I was having like imposter syndrome thinking about the show. I'm like, what is going on? So yeah, it spun me out a little bit, but I think I got maybe like 4 hours of sleep. So I'll take what I can get. But yeah, so next time I gotta order the good weed. But back to Kevin's thing.
But you look refreshed and well rested.
Thank you. It's just because this is the good light and the
She
good
looks like
camera.
Gilbert Godfrey.
Oh, do I? Oh, thank you so much. Perfect.
I think he's talking about your eyes on that one at least.
Yeah, I feel a little bugged out right now. Kevin's thing was a lot of fun. I saw Lummy and his beautiful family there.
Yeah, it was
It was
fun.
nice. Your son, your child, your baby was better behaved than many of the people I encountered. So that was cool.
Yeah, he's pretty chill all the time.
I think it would have been. I think there would have been more people who showed up had the weather been a little bit better.
It was
Right.
cold.
It was windy, man, and that's pretty much what threw everybody off. But the alcohol and hiding under the tent was good. I met a lot of people. Bubba Army, a lot of Bubba Army. Tease was there. Susan Poitras was there. I met a very nice man by the name of Shane. No, that was a different wife. I'm like, I think his wife's name was Amber, but I think I never met his wife's name. But
Did you
anywho,
get all the birthdays?
I didn't get any birthdays, no, but I did meet Ron DeSantis' parents were there, showed
Yes.
up. And I felt really bad because they were probably just having like a nice evening incognito.
Right.
Kevin gets on a mic, and he points them out and he's like, no, stand up. So they're like,
I
oh,
know.
Christ. So they stand up. And
From
let me
that
tell
point
you,
forward.
me and my friend Aaron, we are now a bunch of red-pilled, drunk bitches. And let me tell you, nothing gets us riled up like Ron DeSantis' parents when we're 3 wines deep and a few beers because we were hooting and hollering. And I used to get excited, about raves and doing Molly. And now I just have a glass of wine and see, the governor's parents. And I was ready to rage. So
you guys were like fanboying out.
We were fanboying. We're like, we call your son Daddy. It was a lot of fun. So it was a joke.
Oh.
We don't call him Daddy. Yeah, no, we don't. But
That's right. I walked away around that point.
I was gonna say.
we were so excited. I really did want to approach them, but I had enough not self-respect, but I had enough of an idea that, listen, these people just want to have a good time. They don't want to be bothered. Mm-hmm. So Blitz came up to me and he pushed me. He was like, you want to take a picture with these people? I'm like, I do, but I also don't want to bother them. And he's like, too bad. We need it for the gram. I said, okay.
Everyone's leaving. Kevin was over there talking to him, so we kind of went and said, hey, Kevin. And,
so we went up to them. I got a picture.
And they were really cool.
They were super cool, and I kept it brief. And the best way to approach people that you think you're going to bother, which you are going to bother, is to say, I know I'm bothering you, and I'm aware of this. I have good insight, and I'll just be talking to you for about 30 to 40 seconds, and I'll be on my way. I just need a photo, folks. And they said, no problem.
Yeah, the mom's like, oh, no problem. We don't mind at all.
I didn't want to be like, oh my God. I was like, listen, I know you just want to have a nice evening. I'm sorry about this, but I also need you right now to help me out. So we took a picture with them. It was pretty cool. Lummy, you went to a sporting event or 6 this weekend, right? Basketball and maybe hockey. I don't know what's going on.
Friday I went to the SEC tournament, Auburn and Texas A&M, and then Arkansas.
How does that work? Because there were a lot of games at Amalie Arena, right?
Yeah, there was
it was a tournament.
Yeah, it was 4 Thursday, 4 Friday.
So if you buy a ticket, can you go to all of them, or is it just for one game?
They had the option. If you wanted to buy it for every game, you could have bought it Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We just bought it for the one session, so we got 2 games.
Now, how does that integrate in with the NCAA tournament?
Well, pretty much if you win, the championship, like the SEC, you're guaranteed a spot into the NCAA tournament.
Okay.
Or if you maybe finish second and have a really good.
So
chance.
this is like one of the pre-tournaments before the tournament.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and just for my sake, because I don't know anything about sports, you do not like the NBA, but you do like college basketball.
Correct.
And why is that a thing that I hear people say often? Not just here, but I've heard it before. They go, oh, NBA sucks. I like college. And I'm like, isn't it still basketball?
Well, no, the NBA, how they play now is a lot of 3-point shots. It's a lot more individual, where NCAA is a lot more team. The players, you could tell, let's say, someone like me and Tyler go out there. They don't look like, superstars, but they go out and they play super hard. And you got these Cinderella teams from, Podunk, Illinois coming down, and they play these big schools and beat them. And they just have this connection where it's all excitement, and it's always close, and they're playing hard. Where NBA, they get down by 6-7 points, and it looks like they almost kind of give up. Where
really,
you know what it is? It's defense.
Yep.
And entitlement.
Yeah.
That's the 2 differences.
You'd think people would play harder if they were getting paid a lot of money, but I guess that's not the case.
No, they don't do anything. They just sit there, they throw their shots. No one plays defense in the NBA. No one really cares about the NBA anymore.
Interesting.
And they've lost their fan base. Whereas in college, you can have, a team of 8 kids that play their asses off and get really, really, really far and capture the hearts of America.
And there's this cohesiveness with the players. You can just see they're all having fun because one person might not be able ever go to the NBA, and this is his big time.
Right, because he's 5'7" and white
yep.
and Jewish.
Yep.
He's never going to make it in the NBA.
Nope.
But he's playing his ass off in this tournament of Auburn versus A&M or whatever he said.
Yeah, Auburn was the number 1 seed of the SEC. They were ranked number 4 in the nation. Texas A&M was the number 9 seed, and they beat Auburn.
Now,
so that helped. Well, they didn't make the tournament anyhow, but they got to the championship game.
And now we're down to, is it the Final Four? Is that what it's called?
No, it's 64 plus a couple.
Yeah.
Oh, but I looked up the bracket last night because I'm a sports girl, and I thought it was maybe it was a projected
Yeah,
thing.
it's probably projected. A lot of people
Okay.
do projections, and then you get your tournament.
Okay, I thought we were already in the Final Four. I'm like, oh, that was fast. It happened so
Right.
suddenly. But
Yeah.
I guess that those are the projected winners.
Yeah, they start. I believe it's Wednesday. There's 4 play-in games, and then Thursday starts the tournaments.
And when you say the turn, and is it like sudden death? Like you win a
Yep.
game, right?
Yeah, you're out.
It's not like 7 games
Yeah.
each.
No, it's
pair.
one and done, and this is like
Okay.
a really exciting time because a lot of these games come down to like the last couple seconds, and a lot of them are like I said, these small schools that play these big boys and beat them.
David and Goliath type,
Yeah.
like Ukraine, Russia, if we will.
Yeah,
a
exactly.
glory story until things start to head south, and we'll get into that too. Now, is there something? And maybe this is a part of the reason why nobody likes the NBA. But again, I just hear rumblings. Are the NBA games like fixed? Is there a thing that the refs are in on it, the players are in on it, or did I just make that up?
They have been.
Yeah, they have
Okay,
been before.
okay.
There was a history of it, and it was involving the referees.
That's what I thought.
And after that, I stopped watching NBA after that. That
That's what
ruined
threw
it
you off.
permanently for me.
Okay. Dan, what did you get into this weekend? I think it was either your daughter's birthday's today or it was over the weekend or something like that.
Yeah, I got into a few things this
Okay,
weekend.
all
Yeah, I went racing with Big Red yesterday, go-karting.
Nice.
And that was fun. I spun out his go-kart several times.
Hold on, wait, you went racing?
Well, Danny did, and
He said, that's enough about you, kid. Let the
and
big pip pop in
so-
the seat.
Yeah, he's got like 6 go-karts, and so I jumped on Big Red's. And the first time I jumped in it, there was this little turn in the track that Danny kept spinning out at, and then as soon as I hit that turn, I spun out the same turn. And then there was
I bet that put the biggest smile on little
he
Danny's
sure
face.
did, because I made all the same mistakes he made.
Yeah.
And then there's a little turn where he cut through, and then I cut through, and he got through it okay. But when I cut through it, it ripped the front end off of Big Red's go-kart, which was fixed.
Uh-huh.
So then he puts me back out on the go-kart, like an hour later, and it's like, not running right. And so I pull in, and then he and another guy like turn some dials and tell me what to do, and all of a sudden they say, okay, you're good. And all of a sudden now the go-kart's doing like 80 plus. Like it went from like a 40-mile-an-hour go-kart to an 80-mile-an-hour go-kart in about a switch.
Nice.
Oh, beautiful.
And I thought it was cool going down the front straight, and then I tapped the brake and there's no brake.
Oh.
So then I pushed a little harder,
So you
and
just
there's
use
still
the
no
wall?
brake. And
Oh.
so I eventually ended up covered in grass in the infield, and it turned out the brake line was wrong. I mean, it was like air in the brake line
You
too.
didn't get any footage of this?
So
we would have loved to see you,
big-
crashing and burning.
It happened so fast, and so Creatine Travis was there. His son actually got third and did really well. For a little kid that was scared the first 2 times he went, now he's like having fun. It's nice to watch the evolution of someone that starts off apprehensive and then starts really getting into it and enjoying themselves.
How old do you have to be to ride a go-kart?
5, 6.
Oh, okay.
I think
They
it's on
allow-
7 or 8.
Okay, so you were getting whooped by like 5-year-olds, or
No, the
Yeah.
go-kart I was in, there was no other class. It was just me on the track by
Oh, I
myself.
see,
So
I
it was just
see.
Dan moments.
Dan spinning
Nice.
out.
And so
Dan do
Creatine
Dan.
Travis.
Did you win at least?
No, it's just I literally just ran it out for a few sessions, and Creatine's like, "Here comes Dan!" Right as I come off the track, so it's really bad.
Awesome.
It's harder than it looks, especially when your go kart does 80 plus. So that part was
That's
sketchy.
serious.
Danny ended up finishing third in his class, so
Wonderful.
it was fun.
Do they give out like medals? Is there like a little
trophies and medals and
Oh,
stuff. It's
cool. That's
cute.
really cool.
Yeah, it's cute. They do it once a month. I think he's like maybe second in the championship. So
Bet he loves that.
he does. He enjoys it.
Yeah.
But it was so cold
Yes.
yesterday morning.
Yeah.
And so all morning, we're all bundled up trying to find sun. Then by the afternoon, we're all hiding from the sun.
Yeah, it was
It's
We're all
hot.
hot.
sunburned
Yeah,
and
that happened to us
hot.
as well.
This is such a weird day to start off at 39 and end up
I
at
know.
like 80.
I know.
Yeah.
On Friday, like it was pushing 90, and then the next day at Kevin's, I mean, it was like in the high 40s with wind chill. I'm like, what the hell is going on? But on Friday, Blitz and I actually went to the Ringling Museum estate.
Oh, really? Like in
art gallery.
Sarasota?
Yeah, dude, I had no clue that was there. I didn't know what that was all about. Blitz tells me we're going to the Ringling Museum, and I'm like, if this guy thinks he's going to get me to stage 4 and take me to the museum
Take him
of
to the circus.
I don't want to go to the circus, and I made that very clear. I'm like, if this is a museum with like the pictures of old elephants, I'm going to be pissed. And it was awesome. It was so cool. It was nothing like I expected. They had a few circus museums. We kind of skipped over that. It was a beautiful day outside. They had lots of trees and flowers. And Blitz knows a lot about botany. Jesus Christ. It's just really surprising. I didn't know he knew that much about flowers and roots and plants and shrubs. It's crazy.
That's why you want him on your life raft.
Yeah, I really was impressed, very much impressed. But they had these beautiful art galleries and this beautiful courtyard with a huge statue of David. Blitz, didn't you tell me you posted something? And what did they say?
So, like from the inside, have you ever been there, Dan?
No.
Okay, so from the inside, it's like this giant, like, castle looking, like it's really cool. And they have, like,
Was
statues.
it their house?
Yes.
Well,
One of them is.
one of them is our house, but the other one's like the giant museum.
Let me just explain what it is. It's like you walk in and it's like this massive estate, and there's like a rose garden. There's the house that
There's
the
a bunch of
guy
big
lived
banyan
in.
trees.
Yeah, huge banyan tree. Wait, are you making fun of me? Because that's not the right tree.
No, that is.
Okay. And then they have this like section of like, I guess he was an art collector, and they have 21 galleries in this massive courtyard. So it's like a few different buildings on this
so
one
in this
estate.
courtyard, I kind of spun around and like there's all kinds of statues, and I had like 3 people message me and go, "Oh, is that Dan's house?"
It literally had like these huge arches for like a quarter of a mile.
Yeah, it's
like,
actually really cool.
This massive statue with like gargoyles looking above it, and I'm like, oh, that would be fitting if Dan had enough money to import all this marble from all over the place. But it was super, super cool. I really liked it. I didn't know anything about it, and then we went back and we watched all these documentaries on the Ringling brothers. They were these circus tycoons, millionaires, or maybe even billionaires.
They were like some of the richest men in the world at the time.
It was the greatest show. That was like loosely based on its origins, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah,
The
it was.
Greatest Showman or whatever it was.
Well, it was the greatest show on earth. Was what theirs was called.
Yeah, it was very impressive. I had no clue, so I was
Big business. It turned into big business.
Well, you got to think
business.
back then, like literally, because people didn't have TVs or, I mean, internet, but like they didn't have any other form of entertainment. So like when the circus came to town, like that was the only chance you had to see an elephant or, crazy stuff like that.
Yeah, but I can't believe living a life like that, because you really had to be a city on wheels. So every like 6 days, you had to like pack up all the animals, all the people, and then you got to think you got to bring all the food with to feed all the people, to feed all the animals. It was just like,
It's like Putin.
I don't understand. Yeah, we could get into that too. Here's the thing that I've been liking about how I've been doing weekends lately. I don't know if you guys do the same thing, but I kind of try to take like a break from the news a little. Like I'll get the big stuff. But I try to like dial it down in terms of like being attached to, the Drudge Report at all moments of the day. But, Sunday nights are usually really depressing, because then I get back into the swing of things and I'm like, oh, the war is still going on. But the war did cure COVID, right, Dan? I feel like that's how that worked.
I think a couple of things. Number one is, it's like a soap opera, the war, the news.
Yeah.
And if you miss a day, you're like, oh my God, what did I miss? But if you miss a week, it's like, oh, it's the same story over and over again.
Wait, hold on.
You didn't really miss much.
You said that COVID's cured.
Yeah.
Well, then why did the Pfizer CEO come out and say we need a 4th shot?
Who would think that? We should listen to the Pfizer CEO. He probably knows what he's talking about.
Obama's got COVID, so
I feel like
sure,
that was
he's
their
had his 3 or 4.
That was their last ditch effort to make us care. And I felt like that was like planned out. They're like, man, we're really losing steam on this COVID thing. And they're like, bring out Obama as COVID. And they brought it out. And then Tom Brady was like, I'm coming back. And no one cares.
No one cares about the Obama having COVID. No one cares about COVID in general anymore.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And, once Tom Brady announced that he was coming back to the Bucs, I don't care about the war anymore.
Yeah, I don't think anybody does. I mean,
I don't care if gas is $10 a gallon. We got Tom Brady!
I know.
Tampa Bay, #1.
It is kind of messed up that, like...
Army, Buccaneers, Tom Brady, world champion, Super Bowl!
Oh, man, he's back. He's back. But, yeah, that is pretty crazy. I'm like, the only person that can, like, upend, like a hospital being bombed and people have to go into, like, a shelter underground is Tom Brady coming back to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
We just need him to hold an AR-15, wear some camo, and say he's going to Ukraine to help people.
Right, exactly.
Putin's taking over Kiev. Yeah, well, we don't care. Tom Brady's coming back.
Whatever, exactly. Did we just get trolled? I mean, let's get into it. Whatever, we can high spot it. It's going to be the topic of conversation for the day, and I'm ready for it. So what the hell is going on? Did we just get trolled by Tom Brady? Because he's playing with everybody's emotions. He makes it seem like he's retiring. It seems like he never fully came out and said, Tom Brady, am
He
retiring.
never did. He never
Right.
put the paperwork in.
But like he had the Instagram posts,
But they were
inferred,
cryptic. Yeah.
They were cryptic. But like, what was the point? Do you
Keep
think
him in the spotlight.
Keep him in
and
the
you tell you
spotlight.
what, it's like that girlfriend that breaks up with you but doesn't officially break up with you, but she just like doesn't call
We
you
were
for
on
a
a
while.
break.
Then all of a sudden you bust out that 3-carat diamond, and so we'll give Tom Brady anything. We'll give him Ukraine. We'll give him anything
Yeah.
you want, Tom. You can have whatever you want, buddy. Please stay here for another
Please
year
stay
or
here.
two.
This was
We
his.
sucked without him.
Well, and, like,
there's no path to like prosperity without him.
They started asking Gronk, like, hey, what are you going to do? And he's like, well, I don't know.
I don't know. They're
Yeah.
playing dumb.
He was at the Strawberry Festival
Who
yesterday.
was, Gronk?
Yeah, there was a
Oh,
concert. Yeah, and he started dancing. Like Ashley was there watching a concert.
Right.
and he came out.
What concert was it?
Sam Hunt.
I like him because I know one song and it's good.
It probably was the one that he came out and started dancing to.
Probably. The tweet that Tom Brady wrote, I believe this was last night, says, quote, these past 2 months I've realized my place is still on the field and not in the stands. That time will come, but it's not now. I love my teammates and I love my supportive family. They make it all possible. I'm coming back for my 23rd season in Tampa.
Hell
Unfinished
yeah.
business. LFG, which we all know, let's effing go.
Yep.
So
Brandon.
that's excited. Let's go, Brandon. So yeah, Tampa, Tom is back. I believe the Buccaneers celebrated. It says the announcement on Twitter stating that he is in fact coming back, and we were all trolled. Now, let me ask you this: do you think that this was all planned in advance, or do you think he really was going to retire and then decided on not? Or was this all in the stars? Like he was planning on breaking the news of retirement only to not retire?
I think he was a 50-50. I think if he was
Okay.
really having a lot of fun at home, I think he was going to stay retired. And I think his wife probably said,
Well, remember, too, he was like, hey, I'm going to wait for all the Super Bowl stuff to be over with and, like, let all that die down. And, like, in a week, I'll let everyone know. And, like, the next morning is when he posted all that stuff originally.
Yeah.
So that was kind of
that
weird.
leaked news that came out, it was almost like he was forced to do it. Otherwise, he probably he wanted to wait that week.
Mm-hmm.
But then he had to kind of come out in front of that one.
But it's like that guy that says, I want to retire so I can go fishing. I want to retire so I can go fishing. He goes fishing for 2 weeks. He's like, shoot, man, I'm bored.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you think that's what it was?
It could have been.
Or do you
I
think-
don't know. It's maybe he wasn't having that much fun as he thought he may, and realized that, like, God, at Tuesday at 10 o'clock in the morning, there's nothing to watch on TV.
Right.
There's nothing to do.
He's
I'm just
pissing
sitting
Giselle
here.
off. Giselle's like,
Right.
get the hell out of my hair. I thought having you back would
Right.
be great, but you're annoying me. You're always in my space.
Hey,
Tell me what to
you
do.
doing? Hey,
Get
what
back
you
on the
doing?
field.
Hey,
Yeah,
what you
exactly.
doing? Hey, what are you doing?
Doesn't have anything to do. I
I
imagine
know.
that's a problem for a lot of
It's the
people when
worst
they
thing
retire.
It was the worst thing that ever happened to my dad. He
That
was-
Tom
he was-
Brady.
No, him retiring. Dad
Oh,
retiring.
I was like, damn.
No.
Damn, Joe.
He got over
Relax.
that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's brutal because you don't know what to do with yourself, and no one wants to be an ex anything,
Right. And I feel like when your
except
identity
for maybe
is
an ex dealer. But
right. But when you're like when your identity is wrapped up, like heavily wrapped up in what you do, like for Bubba or for you, Dan, or Tom Brady, not that I'm saying you guys are all equal, but you know what I'm saying? In terms of your career, you are Dr. Dan. Bubba is Bubba the Love Sponge. Tom Brady is the GOAT,
it's part of the identity.
Right.
Yes,
It's so
yes.
wrapped up in your identity that when you stop doing it, you probably have an identity crisis because you're like, who am I if not the doctor, the radio host, the football player?
And
You
it
know?
happens to a lot of really powerful, successful people as they, in the twilight of their career, just trying to reconcile with being, the most important person in the building to, dude.
I know that, like,
Go
back
chase
in
the dad now.
kind of back in the day, especially like general practitioner type doctors, they'd still like have a practice and maybe go in like once a week and like just see a handful of people and cash only. That way they kept everything there. They could still write scripts and all that.
Right. And I know a lot of people who retire.
It's harder now, but
Yeah, and then they work part-time or they pick up a new hobby or something like that. But to go from like 100, like you went to the Super Bowl. He didn't go to the Super Bowl.
Not last year,
Right.
no.
It was in the
You went to the NFC
quarterfinals.
championship
There
game.
you go. Thank you. I'm trying with the sports. And he makes it super far, and then all of a sudden the next day or the next month, say he is no longer playing the game anymore, and now he's back. So he's playing with everybody's emotions. I feel like I was talking to a few friends about this last night, and I think that they just feel like they're going on an emotional roller coaster. Like they're very excited, but they're just like, why are you playing with me, Tom? Why are you doing this to me? So, yeah.
No one cares anymore. They're just glad he's back.
They're just glad
They don't
that
care
he's
about
back.
the tease. They're just happy he's back.
Yeah.
Because really, we had no path. There's no path for the Bucks. The Bucks went from being dominating to like, oh, the Bucks.
Now, do you think that the head office knew that he was going to come back?
I don't know.
I
It
think-
may have been a big work. I
think
don't
it was,
know.
Yeah, I think it was questionable because if you look at a lot of their guys that they said, well, they may be leaving free agency. They re-signed Godwin. Looks like they're going to re-sign the center. Gront's coming back. Everyone was kind of waiting because today was kind of the decision that they had to.
Right.
And I think Brady was kind of giving those hints. That's why no one else went out and started signing or doing anything.
Yeah, because it didn't seem to be a lot of activities. Not like they were like in a rush to.
They weren't
draft
losing
or-
anybody.
Right.
There was
Right.
players that everyone's like, oh, yeah, we're going to go get these guys, or even talks about it or trades.
Nothing. It's
So
quiet.
I think everyone kind of knew.
But when you think he decides to retire again in the future, will anyone believe him?
I think if the Bucks come out and win it, and he says he's done, I think he's done. I think,
Okay.
Yeah.
So you think he needs that last final win?
Yeah,
Oh,
I think.
Krzyzewski's looking for it.
Yeah,
Who?
the
Krzyzewski.
Duke coach.
Oh, okay. I thought that
we were
was
talking
a
about
Ukrainian
basketball.
reference.
No. We were talking about basketball earlier, and Mike Krzyzewski's. It's his last season. He's been the coach for Duke for like 35 years.
Okay.
And
And they're
maybe
a
4
powerhouse
years.
with basketball, right?
Oh, they dominated the
Yeah.
last 3 or 4 decades.
Okay.
The final game at Cameron Indoor Stadium, which is their famous tiny but madhouse stadium, was against Carolina last Saturday night, and they lost.
Yep.
And then their final game in the ACC tournament was Saturday night, and it seems like every time I turn on the TV, they stop scoring.
You're bad luck for him.
I got to stop watching them because they had a hell of a year, but every time I watch them lose.
Are you pretty superstitious? Is everyone in this room? Well, not
no,
really.
I'm not
Blitz, 'cause
superstitious.
But I feel like a lot of people are. Like I've known people that they have to wear a certain shirt when they
It's
watch
a
a game. Or,
pagan philosophy.
right, but you see these people who are just like really successful and smart. They might be engineers, doctors, lawyers, but they're highly superstitious. And I'm like, do you actually believe that? And it's like they want to say no, but I feel like they kind of think that if they like watch the game, but only with the right eye open, that then it's going to be okay. But God forbid they watch it with their left eye, then the team loses.
A lot of sports players are superstitious.
Players.
yeah.
Oh yeah, baseball.
What do
it's
they
big
do?
time.
Do they have like a rabbit's foot that they play? Like
So
what
they
do
have the same underwear, the same left sock. I mean, they got
same hat. Then if a pitcher starts to play a perfect game, then you leave him alone. Don't talk to him. Kind of just ignore him.
Oh, but to not disrupt his
Yeah,
hot
like
streak.
get in his head.
Okay.
You always jump over the line.
What
the foul
line?
The foul. The baseline.
You mean all players?
No, the pitcher normally does. You never want to step on it.
You don't want it because that's bad luck.
Yeah.
And if you do, is it like it's a faux pas?
Yeah.
Or-
Then you're
get
kind of
yelled at?
disrespecting the game, but also you probably got bad luck. They say.
Interesting. I didn't know it was actually like built into the game as well. I thought it was just mostly just fans who were obnoxious.
Oh no, the players are the
players
worst.
are the
Yeah.
most.
Oh,
Yes,
is it
they're-
mostly baseball or?
I think most sports
hockey's
players
like that too?
Yeah.
Okay. What are some weird things that people do that you've heard regarding superstitious stuff?
Well, I know for like racing,
Yeah.
the color green was always bad luck.
Bad luck?
Yeah, peanuts were bad luck.
Peanuts.
Yeah,
Which are legumes, by the way.
right.
Right. No one knows.
They're not-
Everyone
they're
knows
not
they're not
nuts.
nuts.
Cares.
Yeah.
But
I do.
taking a banana on a boat was bad luck.
A banana on a boat?
Yep.
Okay, interesting.
Horrible. If you bring a banana on like a fishing crew, like day
You're
charter,
gonna break down.
a lot of times the captain will tell you leave those. Don't bring the bananas.
Which is funny because they're probably one of the best things you should be eating when you're on a boat.
Especially if you break down, you're in.
yeah.
It's
but
got a lot of
bananas
nutrients.
spoil other food. I think that's where that tradition came from.
It does?
Well, bananas spoil fast, and then the gases they emit spoils other food.
That's usually apples.
Interesting. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Well,
it's
apples famously apples do it, but so do bananas,
Right.
Oh,
and they do it
interesting
faster.
stuff. Okay. All right. We'll take a break right now, and we will be back with more, so don't go anywhere.
The Bubba Radio Network will return after this.
Yeah, JT's. They get Trubisky. Good luck getting him 10 million, 11 million a year.
Trubinsky?
Yeah.
He sucks, right?
Yeah, but he's back up for the Bills now, and
Where was he before? Was he like
He was the
Bears?
Bears.
That's what I thought. Wasn't it the one that Seth was always frustrated with?
yeah, for like 4 or 5. He played there for 5 years, I think. He was a first round pick. and he's been the backup, and now they want to pay him like 10 to 12 million a year, and he hasn't done anything since then. Yeah, suitcases on a boat, like Gilligan's Island.
Oh, suitcases on the boat to Cadillac?
He was asking. I was like, "What are you Gilligan's Island out for a 3-hour tour?"
Well, my big boat, we put suitcases there sometimes if we were there for a couple days.
Oh yeah, I mean that makes sense.
More like bags, like duffel bags.
Yeah. That's right, Josh. It's gonna be Brady and Aaron Rodgers again.
So Brady retired and came back before Aaron Rodgers made a decision?
No, Aaron Rodgers back with Green Bay.
He's absolutely back.
Well, yeah, but they haven't announced his contract fully. But he said he is playing for the Packers.
He's confirmed.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Full his vision. I think Brady was also watching what was going on in the league and then seeing what. He probably talked to the Bucs to see how they were gonna structure players and bring them back. And I don't think he wanted to come back and play
No
for
music this time, right?
shithole.
And you should reuse those next gens now.
Yeah, we're good. It was it was
Wondering not to
Went to Ocean Prime last night.
That was right.
How was that?
I know.
It was Sophia's birthday. It was pretty good.
Nah.
Bruce?
Sophia's.
Oh, that's your good. Is that their go-to for their birthday?
Tried to go to Burns, but it's too long of a. Can't get a reservation.
Gary Cantrell, $9.99 super chat. Really?
Yeah.
You think they throw a coat of paint on that place?
What, Burns?
Yeah. Looks like a crap hole from the outside.
It really does.
No, he does. And they haven't changed the inside at all in 30 years.
Yeah.
Did they open up a restaurant in their new hotel or anything?
They did. The Epicurean.
Is that
There's a restaurant in there.
is there?
They charge for bread.
Where'd you guys end up going? I didn't hear you.
Oh, we went to Ocean Prime.
Oh, okay. I saw the pictures.
For
I
the
just didn't know
birthday?
what it was at.
Yeah, we could talk about what
For the birthday?
for the birthday. Yeah. And then what else I do? Oh, I got the bike and I got it assembled. I got a story for that.
Oh,
It's
okay.
all on there.
Alright, we'll get into the bike caper.
What else?
It was the first weekend I didn't see you 12 times.
I know.
I know, we were talking yesterday about how many times we've been like, that guy looks like Dan.
Yeah.
That is Dan.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
around town.
May 27th.
Saturday was just one of those days where you just were trying to ride it out. Not really sure how the day was going to play out. You know it's going to rain. You know it's going to be windy. Just a crap day.
It actually wasn't like a.
So was it windy at the Kevin thing?
Yeah.
Oh,
Because that was on Saturday afternoon, right?
Yeah.
So, well, I went to a Margarita Taco Festival at Raymond James Saturday.
In the morning.
Yeah, at like 11, 12. It was
Right in the middle of the rain?
Huh?
Was that in the middle of the rain?
Just stopped, but it was so windy, and that the tunnel at the Raymond James. It was just a wind tunnel the whole time. It was horrible.
That's weird.
I know.
But I need to mention the Twitch thing. I forgot about that.
Yeah, we should be back tomorrow.
God willing.
Nice full his fishing.
No seared tuna.
That would be probably a nice little.
Yeah, Big Red was trying to kill me this weekend.
Cut your brake line.
Cut
Turn
my
it
brake
up to
line.
80 and cut your brake line.
Yeah, there's no brakes, dude. I mean, my foot was like all the way down before it started. Then all of a sudden, I'm spinning backwards into the grass, covered in dirt.
You're freaking out when you hit the brakes and you weren't stopping.
I wasn't freaking out because I knew that I had enough. Because I let up on the gas enough that I knew that I had a controlled exit from that turn.
Right.
Like I'm not that guy that's gonna go 120 into a wall because
Right.
I'm gonna know that if I don't have brakes, I have a plan B.
Yeah.
And so I've driven enough suspect cars in my
Sure.
day at a racetrack to know not to like 100% confide in that car.
Yeah, at least not at first.
Not the first couple of
Yeah,
laps,
yeah.
no, with cold tires and stuff. So I knew to be a little careful. It could have been a lot worse. But yeah, I like to give cars a moment to talk to me and to warm up.
Sometimes they take naps.
They do take naps.
They do.
They do, especially modern cars with computers in them, because the computer takes a while to sometimes find itself.
Right. And sometimes they take naps.
My old Ferraris, if you let them sit for a couple of weeks, you get back in them, they take a nap for a while, then come back to life after a few minutes.
Yeah, everybody needs naps. I'll be taking a nap later today because I'm super fucking spun out right now. I don't know what day it is.
Just keep holding that cup of coffee in your hand.
According to Aaron Rodgers,
It's gone. I drank it all.
Oh, you did? Okay. I thought you were going to hold it the whole show.
No, I definitely have like a, what do you call it?
You want a Monster?
Yeah, no, I'm good, thank you. I'll
Ken
grab
Kendall, 500
Celsius.
stars.
Ball gag? Nothing?
No, Dan. Thank you, though. Sure. Sure.
I know automated sounds good.
He wants 4 years, $200 million, Aaron Rodgers?
It's a rumor. It's not confirmed.
Live from the Sunbelt Rental Studios, it's the Bubba the Love Sponge Show.
Hello and welcome back to the Bubba the Love Sponge Show. Hopefully, the silence is royalty free. We can't bump in with music because we are currently on Facebook and YouTube. I should have mentioned this in the first segment. I'm sorry I didn't. But if you're trying to get on Twitch and you can't, we've had a little bit of a break from Twitch for a week.
Twitch is taking a nap.
Twitch is taking a nap. So we're letting Twitch take the nap. We're on Facebook and YouTube. Obviously, if you're watching us on there, you already know that. But just for those that usually watch us on Twitch, we will be returning tomorrow morning, right?
That's the plan.
That's the plan.
Woo-hoo.
Bubba will be back. Twitch will be back. We will be able to play music. So fear not, fret not. We will be back in full swing very shortly. I did want to get into the Russia-Ukraine deal, and I know that it is a super bummer, and I know everybody's been like flying high for the last 12 hours because of the Tom Brady deal. But stuff is happening over there, and I feel like I don't quite understand it. And I don't know about you guys, but I've been so red-pilled over the last 2 or 3 years that I feel like I can't trust anything that anybody is telling me ever. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, obviously, if what is going down, I feel horribly for the Ukrainian people. But, then sometimes you hear some fringe people talk about some stuff, and you want to shut them down. You want to just call them a conspiracy theorist. But lately, I've noticed that's probably not the best way to go about doing things. And before we get into, what the news is telling us, what CNN is telling us, what Fox is telling us, MSNBC is telling us, what are the fringe people saying? Because that's the stuff that really interests me. The people that go against the grain and say things like, it's not what it seems. This is actually whatever. What? So I was kind of looking into... You're
going to regret backing up Ukraine.
Right. That sort of thing. Because I've always been told that whoever we're arming now is going to be our future enemy. That's who we're going to have problems with in about 5 to 10 years. So
I really see Poland roughing us up in 10 years. Here's the problem.
Rome fell, Dan. Rome fell. That's all I got to say.
Rome?
Yes.
We're not even talking about Rome.
But what I'm saying is great things can fall. Do you understand the analogy?
Yeah, but Poland's not great. It's just NATO. And so Poland's not going to fall. It's not going to attack the rest of NATO. Poland is part of NATO.
Okay.
And the problem is that there's a line.
Mm-hmm.
There is
a border?
A border, a line between the east and the west, and it used to be in Berlin, and that line changed to Eastern Europe, and then after the Soviet Union fell, that line changed to the border of Russia.
Right.
And Russia doesn't like that line, so they're trying to make a new line. But when we do settle on a new line, I think that line is going to probably be definitive for about 20, 30 years.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know where that line should be.
No.
I didn't draw the lines today.
Okay.
And maybe the line on Ukraine, the eastern border, is a little too generous to Ukraine and not generous enough to Russia.
Right.
I don't know the answer to that. It's not my pay grade. I don't know what the deal is. But I do know this.
What do you know, Dan?
That Ukraine had their nuclear weapons in the 90s.
Uh-huh.
And Bill Clinton talked them into getting rid of them and said, we would back you up if Russia ever invaded. Russia said, give us the nuclear weapons and we won't invade you.
Right.
And yet they invade.
Uh-huh.
So based on that alone, I'd have gone in and busted up busting some heads.
Busted some stuff. I looked up, obviously there's no loopholes here or anything, but it seems as though, because I wanted to kind of get inside of Vladimir Putin's head. I'm very curious about him. A lot of it isn't even really talking about, we do say Russia is invading, but really, especially at the beginning of this whole ordeal, it was all about Putin. Like, it was Putin is invading, Putin is doing this. Seems like a lot of the Russian people aren't even on board with what he's doing. So I'm very, very curious about him. But I was kind of looking into his reasoning last night, or at least what he's claiming, right? Mm-hmm. Whatever his reasons are, they're probably not what he says they are.
Well, I mean, if you have, if your next door neighbor has a really cool bike and they have, instead of them guarding it, they assign a 2-year-old to guard it, you're going to take it.
Oh.
And so what's happened is, I think the rest of the world sees the intrinsic weakness and incompetence of both Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, and how they are beyond clueless, grossly out of their league, and floundering at every step. And they realize, oh man, we can just act the fool. And it's like a substitute teacher. It's like they got like this really untalented, uncharismatic, and unintelligent substitute teacher. What do? I was a great student. When I had a sub, I was a hellion, because I could tell they were weak.
Of course.
They didn't know what was going on. It was easy to mess with them.
I don't want to say that I was the mastermind behind certain operations, but I was definitely an aide in hiding exams and tests from substitute teachers. They would walk in and we were supposed to have an exam or a quiz or something, and kids would find it on the teacher's desk, and this before
bury it.
And we would just hide
awesome.
it, and so the teacher would come in, they'd be floundering, they'd be freaking out, and then we kind of be like, weren't we supposed to have a quiz? What's going on? And they're like, I can't find it, and I'm just like, wow, you seem pretty unorganized to me. But we had taken it. We also we did a bunch of different things. We got into some shenanigans, I believe, in 7th grade. We wanted to get out of class earlier, and the teacher had like permanent pregnant brain, even though she wasn't pregnant, but she had a child and just never really kind of snapped out of it. So her desk wasn't facing like the clock. So we changed the clock to go like 30 minutes forward, and then we said, hey, Miss Woodward, like it's time to go. She's like, all right. So she let us out like 30 minutes early, and we were just running around acting a fool. So yes, I get what you're saying. You take advantage of the weak ones so you can.
That's one job I would never want. Substitute teacher. Could you imagine?
Yeah, it would be
torture.
It would be a nightmare, especially for like middle school and stuff like that.
Ken Kendall, 6,400 stars.
But like I said earlier, I was looking into it last night, and it seems as though Putin is kind of going around. I guess there was the Munich deal or something in Finland maybe. I'm not quite sure, but basically what he did is he's not even calling this an invasion or an act of war. He's just saying that this is a special military operation.
Well, yeah, because he claims that the
2 regions to the east.
The Russians that were in Ukraine asked him come in and help us. We need help.
Right, and that the Ukrainians were neo-Nazis.
Yeah,
it's a humanitarian project.
Right, he's helping. He's helping.
And I've been so red-pilled, and I'm so confused by everything that's going on, because the news is curated, right? So it's like you don't know what's going on. You just know what the networks want to tell you, and you have to really do some heavy-duty digging to even kind of get maybe even close to the truth. But I've been so red-pilled that I'm like, what if we find out in a few years that like Putin is a humanitarian hero?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because things have been so crazy lately. Nothing is as it seems.
There's definitely people saying that.
That could be the case. Who knows? I don't know. But what I do know, and what I think that we can trust, hopefully, but I'm not sure, but I'm giving you the news that I've been given, is that I believe an American journalist by the name of Brent Renaud was shot and killed last night by Russian forces in Ukraine.
At a checkpoint.
Yeah.
At a checkpoint.
That part sucks. Like, if you get killed, first of all, certain jobs are much more just incredibly difficult than others.
Right.
And war correspondence and war reporting has got to be one of the most intense, dangerous jobs on earth.
Right.
Besides actually being in the military. And there is a little bit of an honor in war, not to mess with the reporters and not to mess with hospitals. Those are the two things: the media and medical. You leave them alone.
That's why they have like big red crosses and stuff, so that the enemy can see it and not shoot them. Yeah.
And so it seems that Putin just ignores both of those rules, those written rules.
Right.
And so attacking a reporter at a checkpoint is unconscionable. It's like shooting a baby hospital up. It just doesn't make any sense at all. And so at that point, you realize that he's desperate. He's desperate, and he's doing crazy stuff. We aren't in charge. We don't have all the information. It's hard for us to sit here as armchair quarterbacks and commentate on this, except for a couple things.
It's very easy.
It's easy to do, but our accuracy is suspect. Right. Yeah. Who knows if we're right or wrong?
Of course.
But there's certain things that you can criticize. The actual bombing, even if he decided that, okay, this is just because we're trying to liberate the eastern regions of Ukraine, which are really Russian. Well, then why is he bombing the rest of the country, and decimating things and hitting nuclear power plants and doing things that are contrary to the rules of warfare? Because war has rules, and he's just disregarding all of it. And I can't believe now, going in was him saying, I have the right to do this. And I understand his interpretation of his right to do that is different than our interpretation of his right to do that.
Right.
But he does not have that right. Even if he can substantiate his right to take over that eastern part of Ukraine, he does not have the right to bomb hospitals, to bomb nuclear facilities, and to start bombing and attacking the left side, the western side of the country.
Yeah.
And destroying all of the history and infrastructure of the country. He's absolutely just decimating the entire country.
Right.
So, but Biden is too much of a wuss to do anything about it. Kamala said that we're defending Ukraine as part of NATO because she's so ill-informed, unintelligent, and out of her league. She is an embarrassment.
What did she say, that Ukraine was part of NATO? Or?
The NATO alliance, but the White House then corrected it and added for the transcript and
yeah, I saw that. It's such. She's a moron.
Yeah, they corrected it for her.
She's so stupid.
Yeah, I feel like there's no.
She laughs like you would, presented with sex. It's completely inappropriate. Like That's how she is when you talk about war in Ukraine and Europe.
Yeah.
Well, isn't Putin also? Didn't he ask China for help now with those weapons?
Yeah, we'll get into that, but with Putin, it just seems like he's completely out of control. He has no. It seems like he doesn't know what he's doing. We're backing baby into a corner, and he's going to start biting us back. So it's a little bit scary there.
Well, I wonder how much too that he's like ordering these bombings and stuff, or if it's like just the military just going out and doing it on their own.
You mean like his field generals?
Yeah,
just going out because they're losing men, so they're like, screw this, we're just going to start bombing.
Yes,
whatever.
That could be the case, certainly. Talking about the press, this is what I was going to say, is that it seems like the way that, Soviets or ex-Soviets kind of handle business. We watched this documentary. We talked about it last week. It's called Winter on Fire, and it was about the 2013-2014 revolution in Ukraine. But it seemed like when that police and military force was told to handle the protesters, which were initially peaceful, I remember seeing this one scene, and this guy was like, I'm Red Cross, and he's like, I'm helping people that are getting shot, and the police force shot him in the foot. So it seems like they don't really care, and they also were bombing medical facilities. Like, it was just an absolute atrocious travesty.
Well, on the Blitz's point too, with that, wasn't that the same thing that happened in Germany? Is that the generals stopped listening to Hitler because they thought he was crazy and didn't know what he was doing, and then just started doing their own thing?
Yeah. I mean, that happens
a lot of times.
That happens a lot,
yeah. With mutinies, or they're just like, this is not a good plan, we got to get out of here.
Yeah, or they're just like, hey, I know better, I'm just going to do what I want.
Right. So that's not good. Or maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe it would work in our favor if people started not listening to the orders of Putin and doing their own thing, but that just sounds like it's just even more chaos.
Yeah, unless they're crazier than he is.
Right, exactly, which might be the case. And I was thinking about that, kind of like what happened with Saddam Hussein. I listen to Lex Friedman sometimes, and he's Russian. He was born in Russia, and he's at MIT right now. Hopefully Nick Diaco will get to meet him, but he works in robotics over there. And he talks a lot about Putin. He talks a lot about Russia. And I remember one time he was talking about how his family or people he knows in Russia feel about Putin. And this is prior to the current conflict that's going on. And he said that his family members, although they don't like Putin and they realize that he's like an autocratic dictator, at least he's the devil they know, because if he were to get outed out of power, they fear that someone even more vicious and less experienced would take over and, kind of fill that void. Kind of like the Saddam Hussein thing is we take him out and now we got ISIS.
Right.
Sort of a deal. So it is kind of scary about what would happen if Putin were to get exiled or killed, assassinated.
Well, Russia
overthrown.
does have a constitution, and they would follow elections, and I'm sure one of the oligarchs would end up being elected. But when you have someone that's in charge for 20 years plus, and they start making really, really, really bad decisions in their late age, you think about your parents and your grandparents and what they were like, and imagine giving them all the power of the world.
Right.
And for Russians, they have country pride. Russians want Russia to do well. Americans want America to do well.
Sure.
Mexicans want Mexico to do well. It's just one of those things about national pride. So there's going to be support because they're trying to make their country bigger and better and stronger. They're the methods, though, and the narrative has just been stolen from any kind of nobility in what they're doing. And so now it's turning into such an S show for them. And, you wonder, number one is Putin and is Russia such a badass that the world's afraid of him? Are we really afraid of him, or are we just waiting for him to just step in the mud?
No, what we're afraid of is nukes.
Yeah.
That's what we're afraid of.
Right?
Yeah, but why isn't he
6,000?
afraid of nukes? We've got the same, he's got nukes, we got nukes. Is he not afraid? Because he's not afraid of a retaliation?
He knows we won't use them until he does.
And at that point, we're all screwed.
Right.
Wonderful. 813-90 Bubba, perfect for your Monday morning news and where the world is headed. I believe Instagram is taking a stand and banning 80 million users in Russia. Now,
What about Putin himself?
Does he have an
He's
Instagram?
got a Twitter and an Instagram and all that stuff. Are they banning that?
I don't know.
They
I haven't
took
heard
him-
anything about Twitter, but I do, all I have is Instagram here. It says that Instagram users in Russia will be blocked starting tonight. Now, this is interesting, and I'd like to get people's take on this because I think it's an interesting point. It says Instagram users in Russia were warned Sunday that they will be blocked starting at midnight after the platform changed its hate speech policy to allow Ukrainians to share messages such as death to the Russian invaders. So I guess, Instagram has certain protocols and certain policies about things you can and can't say, and you can't be wishing death upon anybody unless they're invading your country, and then you can tell them, I hope you effing die. So do you think that, and a lot of Russian people are saying that this is ridiculous, because they don't think that Instagram should be promoting killing people in any capacity, but they probably did the focus groups, at Meta and Instagram and Facebook, whatever. They did the Meta, the focus groups, and the focus groups said, yeah, this is good. People like this. We want to say death to Russian invaders. They say, okay, this is good for business. We're going to allow it. So.
But Russia banned Instagram, right?
I think Instagram is banning Russia.
Because what I was reading over the weekend is that Russia was banning Instagram. They gave 48 hours for Russians to say goodbye to their Instagram people.
Well, it's probably like a both.
Okay. All right. Well, a Russian communications regulator told users in an email to move their photos and videos from Instagram before they're no longer able to access them. So I guess that they're kind of telling them, hey, move your content elsewhere because Instagram is about to shut you down. That's at least the impression that I got. I could be wrong, but I think that is what I gathered. People have been talking about this American journalist and the consequences that America could now impose because they've killed a journalist. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but listen, if you are going to a place that is a hotbed of violence, a country that's getting invaded, isn't that kind of the risk you run by going into said? I'm not saying it's a good thing or anything that this journalist died, but it's not completely unexpected that he got shot.
War correspondents get hurt. It happens all the time.
Right.
Yes, but you would think it would be more accidental and not deliberate.
Yeah, like
And
shot
so,
straight
like,
on.
Shot at point blank range at a checkpoint. That part sucks because even in the Middle East, when we had all kinds of anarchy going on, they were pretty respectful to journalists, and you didn't hear about a lot of journalists getting kidnapped and killed.
Right.
Some did, but it was pretty few and far between, and that was a very less organized military.
Right. But a lot of people have been saying, okay, now America's going to get involved and there's going to be retribution
Over a
for
journalist?
this death over this journalist.
No, that's not going to do it.
Again,
they don't care about him.
And he's kind of like an unknown guy. So.
Yeah, he's a nobody.
Yeah.
Now, if Anderson Cooper got shot.
Right. If it was Sean Penn, he's doing a documentary over there right now, then we would go in and invade. But
unfortunately we're joking, but that is true. If it was somebody that we knew, if it was some known person, it would be a bigger deal.
It would be a bigger deal, but still, we're not going to do anything.
Or a hot chick.
The only thing that's going to happen is we're not going to lift a finger until a bomb lands in Poland.
Okay.
They're getting close, aren't they?
Yeah, 10 miles.
Yeah, really close. I believe 35 people were killed. A Russian airstrike hits base in. Sorry, there's an ad. I can't see it right now. In western Ukraine near Polish border, killing 35. So I believe this was a base where there are no Americans there now, but I guess that's where Americans were stationed, but were told to leave.
The Florida National Guard was there.
Oh, were they?
Yeah, about a month ago.
Jesus, well, I'm glad that they're out of the line of fire. Waves of Russian missiles pounded a military training base close to Ukraine's western border with NATO member Poland, killing 35 people. The strike followed Russian threats to target foreign weapon shipments that are helping Ukrainian fighters defend their country against Russia's grinding invasion. And unfortunately, I can't play any videos today or really any music at all. So because we got to write out this Twitch ban for just one more day, but we should be back being able to play videos tomorrow. So that's why, it's just kind of me reading things. But so this is not good. They're getting closer and closer to the Polish border. And once they enter Polish territory, then what's the move there? We got to act because we're part of NATO and Poland's part of NATO, and that's the alliance that we have, right?
If they do.
If they do.
Who does what?
If Russia bombs Poland.
Let's say that they do. Then we automatically get dragged into this, right? We have to. That's kind of just the name of the NATO game.
If they bomb Poland, what NATO should do is decimate all of the Russian troops in Ukraine, and then see what happens.
Almost push them out of Ukraine back.
Push them out.
Almost like what U.S. did to Kuwait.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Exactly.
And then do you think the first thing that we would do is install the no-fly zone, right? Because that's been something that we did not want to get involved in.
The problem is with the no-fly zone.
War.
Well, the problem with the no-fly zone is because Ukraine is surrounded by Russia and Belarus.
Right.
That the borders are close enough that they can fire on American planes from outside of Ukraine. So it's going to be difficult when they're getting surface-to-air missiles from Belarus and Russia.
Yeah, a lot of the planes that are getting shot at from Kiev are actually missiles from Belarus. SAM sites.
Oh, I see.
From like 150 miles away.
Yeah, I started doing some investigation, some research on Belarus. It's a country I don't really know much about, but I believe the guy who's in charge there is the longest-serving European leader that
like
they've
2000
had.
Or something, right?
1994.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I'm like, this guy's a freak. He's a dictator.
He's pretty much the only guy that's ruled the country since Russia let it go.
Right, exactly.
And he's a Russian sympathist. So
yeah, he is.
But people in Belarus have been pretty happy. They haven't had real big problems over the last 10 years.
Right.
This is a problem now because they're harboring the Russian army and they're looking really bad.
Yeah. Not only that, it seems like there's also been images of Belarusian. Is that how you say it? Belarusian, excuse me. Troops training right near the border, so they may also invade as well, like with their forces. Not only just allow Russia to use their space, but also help them and aid them in their military efforts. So
they got tall girls in Belarus.
You like Belarusian women?
They're second or third tallest in the world.
Really?
I've never met a person from Belarus, so I wouldn't know. I believe the tallest people in the world are from the Netherlands.
Yeah,
I
but
think that's
Belarus is like second or third. It's unbelievable. You wouldn't believe it. And they're
like
the
tall,
big,
right?
Yeah, and they're the big, trampolines at the Olympics.
Yeah, they're big. Yeah,
the trampolines.
They're big on the trampolines.
It is in the
bouncing
gymnastics.
All up. Yeah, no, just trampoline competitions.
But they're. I mean, Belarus.
What?
Yeah.
But Belarus always has like a bunch of gymnasts too, though, in the Olympics.
They've had gymnasts, and some of the Russian gymnasts back in the USSR came from
Romania,
Belarus.
yes.
But right now they are very strong in trampoline competition.
Yeah, it seems like, I mean, besides the Americans, obviously, but it seems like anybody who's like a former Soviet, like they've always been really strong in the gymnastics. The Soviets. It seems like, because they probably don't treat their gymnasts very well. So it's like, oh, if you don't get a gold, your mom dies. So there's a lot of
they start them
motivation.
training at 3 months old.
That is also very true, and they're probably also bred to be gymnasts. I think they do that in China.
They do that everywhere.
Yeah,
kidding me? We did it in America for years.
Like forced breeding to create
we
good.
did. In the South, from like 1700 until 1850, it was absolutely they were bred for optimal
for slaves, though.
Outcomes. Yes,
right, but
and
these days,
people
I mean.
people in America, athletes seek other athletes so they can have athletic kids. Happens all the time.
Do you think that that's the purpose, or that they're just attracted to someone who has like a similar lifestyle?
Both.
Yeah, I think they want to have like a super kid.
Okay.
Yeah. But if I was a super athlete, I'd consider another super athlete to have a super kid.
Okay, to kind of keep that line going. How awful would it be if like they had like 2 left feet? Like they're just the most uncoordinated kid ever, but they have these super genes, but something got messed up.
It happens. It happens. A lot of football players have very disappointing kids that aren't real good athletes. But again, being a professional athlete is really the culmination of so many things: genetics, experience, environment, training, luck,
diet.
lack of injuries. Some randoms to it too. So
definitely a luck factor for sure.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna take another break. We will be back shortly, right after these words.
The Bubba Radio Network will return after this.
Can't hear you. Hold on. What?
Do you need to go outside? I just need to grab something from my truck real quick.
Go ahead.
All right, I'll be right back.
Good morning.
Dan,
Andy.
did you say you wanted to bring something up about your bike or something?
Yeah, we could talk about that.
It was
Funny
a bike
story.
keeper.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a caper.
Okay.
What's up, Organic Gene? What's up, Gary Cantrell? I'm doing good, Shredder. Roger Dawson. What's up, Gary? I totally is. Butts is here. Oh no. What's sad about Scott Hall? Blood clots after hip surgery? Blood clots after hip surgery, heart attacks, they don't cause heart attacks. Blood clots after hip surgery cause pulmonary emboli. Heart attacks from blood clots is like from COVID stuff.
You're assuming people know the difference.
All right.
Yeah, well, it's a different kind of clotting.
No, I know.
You understand it.
Yeah.
You can tap me out for a minute?
Mm-hmm. It's so nice out when it's still a little dark at this time.
Oh, yeah.
You walk out, you know.
In the wall?
I was in the dirt several times.
Yeah.
7 a.m. You walk out and it's daylight, and you're like, man, the day's going away.
I know.
Now it's like,
I was talking with Anna about it yesterday about different, like if it gets brighter earlier or later. I'm like, really, we don't really care. It doesn't like Realistically, it doesn't affect us at all. Like, we got to be here anyway.
Yeah, but it's just nice when you go out 7 and you're like,
It's already bright.
yeah,
I know.
It feels like the days you're just getting by in, and
And it's nice to stay brighter longer.
yeah,
Like, that's cool. But
bullshit.
actually get some stuff done.
Yeah, no shit. Because by the time you get home and shit, it's like you got like 4 hours for fucking sundown.
Yeah.
Morning, Andy Hodgick. The dad is the bad. Bubba's at LJ.
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 He said the other day he was going to be leaving early. So, wonder if he's driving home right now or not.
What's up, guys? Ooh, 0812. Good morning, fetus. Siesta Hagen. Oh, look. Hi. I was going to say hi the whole time. Good morning, here's Cat.
I'm not. I need to make her a moderator so I can ban people from here. You're a moderator, right?
No.
You're not? Alright, I'll make you one.
Otherwise,
Yeah, alright, I'll make you moderator in a second.
Andrew Reed, good morning. What's up, Lisa? Yeah, where's Iggy McGillicuddy?
What's up, little Wilbers?
Come on. Caribou Lou. Was Little Wilbur at the Kevin Hazlett?
Right.
I didn't see him.
Because you talked about it. I didn't see him either.
Got the dogs, I got the dogs.
Huh. Oh, that's not good. Why that shit?
Oh, good. Joe Plazuski. LSU and USF. Michael Serio.
That's right. Andrew, good morning, Burton's Law. Scout and Big Up Hall of Famers, 1,000 stars.
Live from the Sunbelt Rental Studios, it's the Bubba the Love Sponge Show.
Oh, hey, and welcome back to the Bubba the Love Sponge Show. Bubba is not here. The rest of the crew is, so fear not. Bubba is currently in LJ having a wholesome weekend with friends, which makes me laugh because it's hard to even imagine. Like, I just feel like wherever that man goes, you know, there'll be pill popping. There'll be you know,
Laughing.
There'll be
yeah.
whores. There'll
Hands
be
on
strippers.
hips.
Hands on hips. No giggling. But the thought of him having like some hot cocoa and sitting outside in the snow is just, you know, befuddles me. But I'm excited to hear about all of his adventures and if he did in fact have an orgy with Larry Plummer and his wife. I feel like maybe he did. I don't know. I would like to think that he did.
Well, he's been doing a lot more like wholesome stuff lately, going on vacations and just hanging out, and
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Normal.
Yeah,
Trying to be normal.
Trying to be normal. Yeah, it's like
It's a blessing.
Right. It is a blessing, but it's interesting. It's an interesting transition. Maybe this is something that just happens when you get older. Your interests change. I know mine certainly have. I used to gravitate towards like crowds and parties and other people and stuff, and now I run away. I didn't like that. There was
Did COVID do that to you, or A couple more years of
just
age?
the eggs dying, I think, more so. The eggs decaying inside of my body. I'm just like, no, this isn't for me. Yeah, compost, exactly.
That's what I smelled.
Yeah, it's my composting eggs. Thanks, Dan.
Honest composting eggs for 1,000 bits.
Shut up. We're not on Twitch.
It will be tomorrow.
We'll be on tomorrow.
That's
but
a new
for
name
now,
for everyone.
we got the Facebook, we got the YouTube. So that's all we got. And terrestrial.
They're
So
like
find
Russian
us.
soldiers
Tune in.
just falling down.
Just dying by the thousands. It's really sad. It is really, really sad. But yesterday we did go to the Greeno River. I don't know what it is. It's
the River O'Green or whatever they called it.
The Irish Fest that's been canceled for.
Yeah, they listen.
Did
now,
they do it or not?
Yeah, they did it.
They did it. Let me ask you this.
I thought they weren't going to.
They did it. The Rat River was green as hell, and let me tell you,
The what river?
The river, the whatever.
Hillsborough River?
Yes, the Hillsborough River
You call
was
it the
green.
Rat
Yeah,
River?
that's what I thought
No,
you
I
said.
said the river. I
She said
stuttered.
that. She said that river.
Oh,
Said
that.
that
I
river.
heard rat too.
No, sorry. The river, the Hillsborough River that they dyed green. Does that hurt the plant life, the
No.
aquatic life?
They say it doesn't, but
The dolphins, because the dolphins didn't look too happy.
they were
They're
going
like,
crazy.
What did you do to my home?
Yeah,
Well,
they
it's
were-
hard to see in the green. They got like green sunglasses.
Yeah,
so
they,
it takes
they
a
were
little while.
They were like jumping out of the water like crazy.
Was there a lot
yesterday.
of boats?
Not too many.
Not really.
There were some jobber boats.
Hall of Famer Scout and Big go up 1,000 stars.
Woo, twinkle, twinkle. Yeah, but it was interesting, and usually I used to like love crowds and be like, oh yeah, there must be a party going on. I see just like one too many people and they're blocking an exit. I'm like, absolutely not. We need to go the other way. Even if
Yeah,
it's
we're
the
at
long
Curtis
way.
6, and she's like, let's go somewhere else.
Yeah, we tried to go on a short walk. We were just going to go for an hour tops. That's all. Just an hour tops.
Real quick.
3 hours later,
Yeah.
and two different grocery stores later, we finally made it back to his place to have dinner. Obviously super thrown off by the time change, everything that's going on, the Green River. Wonderful people watching.
Was
which
it
is
was
great.
it fun at least?
Yeah, it was great. It was a beautiful day outside.
Yeah, it was
kind of
nice.
like Dan said, it started off a little shaky. It was cold, but then we started walking, and then we both regretted taking our jackets because it was
We had to hold them the whole time.
it was hot as hell. But here's the thing
I
that
got sunburned yesterday.
you
Yeah.
did.
Yeah,
Danny
just-
Pakistani got sunburned?
Yep.
Is that even possible?
Oh man, my face was on fire last night.
From the go-karting and the spinning
yeah,
out?
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
okay.
just because it was so cold, you didn't think about sunblock, but it was super sunny yesterday, and it's
Right.
March.
That's
so,
how it gets
I mean,
ya.
Plus, when it's windy like that, too, you kind
yeah,
of get a little wind burn.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My face was red.
Yeah, I heard there was a little bit of a bike caper. You want to get into that? I heard you complaining about that. I'm like, shut up, save it for the air.
My bike came in, and
Now, is this the one you ordered like 2 months ago?
Yeah.
From Europe?
yeah, so
Okay.
it finally came in.
Explain the bike to the people.
It's a suspension bike,
a
full
bicycle.
suspension mountain bike.
Okay, thank you. Because I was like, is it a motorbike?
No, it's just
Is it a moped?
It's a mountain bike with no motor on it. at
No
all.
electric bike?
No electric.
Okay,
no
got
electric gears. Just
Right.
XTR components.
And you got said bike because you want to start exercising, or
Because, first of all, I have a lot of bikes. I've been biking
Yeah.
since I was a little kid,
Okay.
and my old mountain bike was great. It's just antiquated. It's
Yeah.
a 26-inch wheels. They all have 29s now, and one of the carbon wheels are cracked, and so I don't think it's really safe either. So I decided to replace it.
And this bike is imported from where?
Oh, far away.
Venice or
Far away,
someplace.
Europe.
It's a Venetian
Europe.
bike, right? Made out of gold.
Yeah, and
From the old
I'm
country.
just glad I wasn't taken out by a Russian submarine, but it did make it. And I can take apart and put together bikes pretty well, but
Okay.
on a brand new bike, you kind of want the bike shop to slap it together and double check it and make
Sure.
sure everything's right.
Nuts
'Cause
and bolts are
they're,
tightened.
they're a little different now, the mountain bikes, than they were 10 years ago. The components are all similar, but some of the way the wheels attach and
Same,
things are
same,
all
but
just-
different, as they say in Asia.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
that's what they
evolved a
do.
little bit.
How is this? It's same, but different. You go, okay, right.
Same.
Same. Okay.
But different.
Yeah.
Mark,
So,
$25 cash.
Thank you for the monies.
Wayne, Toussaint, 1,000 stars.
Thank you. Twinkle, twinkle.
over Christmas, I bought my kids a couple bikes from this bike shop, and I don't want to be very outspoken about it, but it was a nice shop on Dale Mabry.
Okay.
And I bought several $1,000s worth of bikes there. Jay bought himself and his son a bike from there.
The Porsche bike.
So between
Right.
the two of us, we've spent a lot of money there.
Okay.
And I, talked to the guys that told him about it. Like, like I'm a Russian going to a Ukrainian bike shop.
You don't job out Dr. Dan. Problems.
And so we're taking apart the opening the box. And I had also, I wasn't going to just do that and just pay for that. I was going to buy a computer for the bike and, some bottle cages.
A computer for the bike?
Like the speedometer.
Yeah, they call them computers.
They call them computers.
Oh, okay.
It's like it just tells you how fast you're going,
I was thinking it was going to be one of those things like for the, instead of a rear view mirror, if in case you want to reverse the bike or something.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, no, not like that.
Electronic mirrors.
Yeah, I was just like, well, I don't know. I haven't been on a bike lately, but Jesus Christ.
Rear view camera.
Yeah. All right, so something bad. So they're treating you like a jobber.
So they're they're looking at the bike and and they're like, okay, so it'll be ready in 2 weeks. Like, 2 weeks.
Now, let me ask you this. You're actually at the bike shop, right?
I'm at the bike shop.
Are you dealing with people that don't know you? Are they new employees?
These are guys, the same guys literally a month ago did a bunch of stuff on my daughter's bike.
The exact same staff.
15 minutes.
Okay.
With a tip. I figured, a tip works.
Yeah,
usually
or that
work.
they would remember you at least.
And one of the guys in the bike shop, he and I text each other all the time. And he knows me. And I text him ahead of time. Said, I'll be there a little bit, Ron. And I get there, and they are being really frustrating, and they're like, "Listen, we're not doing it right now." Like we talked about this. I'm giving you guys $100. Well, what if some other person gives me $125 tip? I'm like,
great.
Where is that
$150.
a-hole?
Yeah.
Where is he? Show me that guy. Well, there's 20 people in front of you. That wouldn't really be fair. I'm giving you extra money. I've spent thousands of dollars here. Well, we got this little $8,000 bike over here in front of you. I'm like, what do you think this is?
Well, can I set the scene? Are there other customers present? Because I like to think you're making a scene in front of people.
There's a couple customers in the front, but I'm like in the back where they work
Some
on the
guy
bikes.
trying to buy an inner tube.
Yeah, trying to buy a bike chain. Trying to buy
a basket.
So, and they literally have like 7 guys in the back that could do this bike, and they could have this bike banged out in 10 minutes.
Right.
And they're just refusing. Goes, yeah, it's only an hour or less, but it'll be 2 weeks. I'm like, are you kidding me?
2 weeks?
2 weeks? I'm giving you a tip to do this right now. It's just that, well, if it's so easy, why don't you do it? I'm like, oh.
This is Ron telling you this?
No, Ron was dealing with something right there. So it was his other guys there.
Oh, man.
And I'm
well,
like,
Ron should have been up there dealing with you if you got texts and stuff.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
he left me hanging.
Okay.
And the kids in the back were just complete a-holes.
Of course.
And so I left the pile of stuff I was going to buy in a pile. I stuffed the box back up. And I put it in my car, and I drove to that bike shop, the Trek shop on McDill Dave's. And I go in, not with the bike. I just kind of walk in there to get a feel for the place to see if if it's going to get the same kind of reaction.
Right.
Sure.
And guy's like, "Hey, I've seen you here before." I'm like, "Yeah, I've been here before."
Are you on the radio?
No, not that. Just he goes, "You got that Ferrari with the yellow stripe?" Like, "Yeah, that's me." He goes, "Oh, that's a great car." I go, "Listen, I got this bike in a box. You guys think you can help?
In a box.
You guys think you can help me put it together?" He goes, "Sure." I go, "You're not going to make me wait like a week." He goes, "No." He goes, "Just bring it." I go, "It's in my truck." He goes, "I'll help you unload it."
Oh, nice.
Oh, awesome.
So so the guy comes out, I unload the bike, I bring it in, and as I'm taking the pieces of the bike out of the box, like, oh my God, this thing is so cool. I've never seen one of these in real life.
They're really putting it over.
They're putting it over. Like,
Dr.
can we
Dan
take a
loves that.
picture with it? I'm like, yeah, you guys,
picture?
anything you want.
Oh, Dan loves pictures of stuff that he owns.
I need a bike selfie.
Yeah.
Bike selfies.
Let me guess. Did you make it in the picture too?
No.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
No. I didn't say anything about the radio. But in 1 hour, that bike was completely ready to go with all the stuff I bought on it. They switched it from tubes to tubeless tires, which is something you may not really care about. And then helped me load it in the car.
Okay.
And as I'm saying goodbye and thanking them, I'm like, I'm going to tell this story. What do you mean? Don't worry about it. I'm going to tell this story on Monday.
People will know.
Because they were good, and bike shops. They make a little money from the bike, but they make a lot of money from service and selling, tubes and computers.
All the
and
small stuff.
All the little stuff, helmets and bottle cages. And, it's nice when people can, lift a pinky and help you when you need it. And, I paid for the stuff. I gave the guy an extra tip. And like I said, I didn't bust out any radio talk ahead of time.
Okay.
But I'm just glad that I found some people that have some decency. And those other douchebags, I would never spend money there. I was going to buy another bike from them in about 3 months, and I'm not at all. They can go suck it.
Did you formally break up with Ron? Did you tell him that you went to his
I
competitors?
said that was a cluster F.
And did you get a response?
Nope.
No response.
Nope.
It's over.
No.
But it's a happy ending. You
I got my happy
you got a
ending.
new girlfriend. You're good.
And I went on a wonderful bike ride on Saturday morning before it started raining.
Oh,
it
awesome.
was awesome.
That's perfect.
And I love the bike. I'm real happy with it.
Good.
And it set the tone for my weekend.
Okay.
Hall of Famers going big, go up 1,000 stars. Tickle, tickle.
So it started off a little rocky, but you got it sorted.
And now you found
quickly.
a new bike shop.
A new bike shop with it. Do you got a new guy? Is he in your phone yet?
He's not on my phone yet.
Okay.
But he texted me, so I just haven't put him as a contact.
Oh, I see. Okay, well, you're on a texting basis.
Yeah,
That's cool. That's cute.
It's
That's
better than
nice.
having to talk to them through WhatsApp.
Absolutely.
So the weekend was culminated with a Ocean Prime dinner for Sophia's birthday.
Right.
Nice.
Okay. And did little Danny get the shrimp boat or something?
No,
the
lobster. You can't say the R's, so it's lobster.
Lobster.
Yeah, it's like Munster lobster.
Right. Is that the lobster tower? Is that?
Well, we got a seafood tower they had really good oysters, and he
Is
did
this
get
where you
lobster.
went for his birthday last year too?
Yes.
I feel like this is where the Diacos just go for birthdays.
Well, we can't get a reservation at Burns. We go to
Ocean
Ocean Prime.
And you have to go to Burns, those are the options. It's like it's got to be a steakhouse, a corporate steakhouse.
No, Burns isn't corporate.
Well, not
Burns is
corporate,
not
but
corporate.
Ocean Prime is.
Ocean Prime is,
Right.
but their first choice is Burns. It's a great place, and they loved it. We actually did a little shopping spree for Sophia Saturday at the mall too.
Oh, people go to the mall still. I didn't realize that was a
went
thing.
to the mall on
International,
Saturday.
of course.
International,
You wouldn't
and
be
it was
caught dead at West Shore
if I was buying shoes or going to a movie.
or socks.
But International was packed, good packed, not
Really?
like crazy packed, but
Okay.
like really full. And it was nice to see people at the mall, and they were all shopping. The only problem was it was like a 45-minute line to get into the Gucci store. Everyone else is like, yeah, they limit people there. Which is
Whoa! You're
stupid.
taking your 14-year-old, I believe, to get clothes at Gucci. Is that?
I wanted to go to the Gucci store.
Oh, this is for you.
Oh,
so when you
yeah.
said a shopping spree, you just meant
Yeah,
it's a
well, we
shopping
split
spree
up.
for you on her birthday.
No, it was a shopping spree
Oh.
for her, but she and Ramita went to some girl's store, and I was like, I'm not going in there.
So you took Lil
Pac
Danny
Sun.
or
Yeah, it was like let's go get some fun stuff.
at Gucci. So what did you make
No, I
any
didn't
purchases?
go in. No, I didn't go into Gucci.
Oh, it was just the
No,
line.
I bought the kids stuff.
Now-
Danny got some shoes too.
Are people still doing the masks in the malls? Because I barely
1%, 2%. I saw maybe 20
Same.
masks all day.
Yeah.
Some of the employees have to, but the patrons of the mall aren't doing it at all.
The masks that I see being worn, it seems like these people, and I don't mean this in a derogatory sense, but it seems like the people that are only wearing the masks are the ones that are mentally ill. So like at the River O Green yesterday, didn't see maybe one mask. I think I saw one person in a wheelchair with a mask. I'm like, okay, that's fitting. That's fine. Whatever. They were wearing a mask, but then on the way there, we'll see someone, maybe walking out of the hood with Crocs, socks, and a plastic bag, and they're alone walking, and there's no one even within maybe a mile radius, and they have a mask. So it seems a little bit odd, the people that I see that are still wearing the mask. It just seems like they might not be right in the head.
We went grocery shopping at Target and Walmart on Friday, and it seemed like the people that were wearing the mask, I would say there was probably, and this was in Pasco,
Right.
like 5 to 10% of the people in the store.
That's a lot, actually.
But it seemed like they were either out of country. Like they were
Out of
international.
country?
Well, they were from out of the country. Like they were speaking a different language, or
Right.
they
Like
were
foreigners.
from a different state.
Like fresh off the boat, some would say.
Yeah, like when they would talk to each other, they were speaking in a different language, or like they were from a different state. Like I feel like a lot of Floridians.
Which is basically a different country.
Yes.
Yeah.
It has been for the last 2 years.
Correct. It has been. It has been. Do you think it'd be okay if I took a phone call, or is this not the move, Blitz?
We could try it.
All right. Well, we'll take our chances. Hello. Welcome to the Bubba the Love Sponge Show. Who's this?
Appreciate it. Sorry to call so early. It's Track Me.
No, it's not even that early.
What's up, Matt?
All
going on?
right. Appreciate it. I have a question actually for Blitz and Dan. I'm working the Sebring track this weekend for the delivery company. So I'll be out there. I didn't know if either one of you guys were going to the track at all this weekend. You guys
Is it 12 hours this weekend? It is, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's 1,000 hours of Sebring. I think it's where they run from the 16th through the 19th. They run all kinds of crap.
I'm going to try. There's a small chance I'm out of town, but I'm going to try to go down there on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to be there.
I specifically picked the route because I was like, well, maybe they'll be there. And then you always see some very awesome cars during that time. So
No
but I'll
question.
let y'all get to it. You're doing great. Appreciate it, guys.
Oh, thanks.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
All right, have a good one. Be safe. Be safe on the road. Lots of traffic accidents today. Hello, who's this? Yup.
Hello?
Yep.
Hello?
Hi, hello.
Hey, you're off the air of Fort Walton. What's going on, man?
Didn't know.
Yeah.
It just went poof, and y'all, man, I'm dying here without you.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Get on YouTube.
Yeah, the tubes or Facebook were live.
I'm driving. I'm on the way to work. Can't
Okay.
do that. Anyhow, have a great day. Love the show.
Thanks.
All right, thanks, man. Sorry about that. Sorry. William Hurt. Never knew him, but he's dead.
Elephant Man. The Doctor.
The Big Chill.
Big Chill.
Body Heat.
Yeah, he's in a lot
Star
of
was
movies.
71. I never heard of him. I don't even think I've heard of any movies that
You
he's
never
been
heard of
in.
the Elephant Man?
I've
Really?
heard that. I read The Elephant Man. I didn't know it was a movie.
Yeah, he was the Elephant Man.
Yeah, classic good looks and erudite persona made him one of the most recognized male leads in the 1980s. But
Yeah.
he is dead. I believe it was from prostate cancer.
That
It spread to
rarely
the
kills
bones.
people, especially in the 70s. That's horrible.
Yeah.
You know, they stopped. You know, in the old days, like
Oh, he was
15,
hot.
20 years
Yeah.
ago, they used to screen for prostate cancer with PSAs, and insurance stopped paying for that. And now people are getting metastatic prostate cancer. And so a simple screen, which is very cheap, was removed as the standard of care, and now men are dying of prostate cancer. It's a shame.
How often should you get checked for prostate? Is it like a yearly?
Annually. Yeah.
Because things
Especially
can
after
progress.
60. Yes.
Okay. Especially, have you started getting checked? I feel like people started at like 40, right?
I self-check for my prostate, and I get
Self-check.
PSAs
Wow.
Daily.
How do you
Damn.
self-check?
I'm joking.
Flexible.
I get
more
PSAs.
flexible than I thought.
It doesn't take much flexibility.
Oh, not okay. I've never tried.
Fortunately, you don't have a prostate. Keep looking though, kid.
I
You may
will.
have a
I've
prostate.
been searching.
You
I'm going to
actually-
find it.
You may have one.
Surprise! It's there. This was
Kind of
also.
like the G spot. The prostate and the G spot are kind of like analogous.
That's what I've heard from many a gay man before. Rebel Wilson, you tell me this. So this is her now. I don't know if you remember what she used to look like, but she was like kind of a very portly woman, kind of a comedian, if you will, a funny
You have an
actress.
Old picture,
I could pull one up. Let's see.
like a
Rebel.
before and after.
Yeah, Wilson.
I sent one to your messenger.
Oh, you did? Beautiful. Oh, I can't see because all this.
You got like 40 things open.
Yeah, well, I don't have 40 things
Tabs.
open, but I'm so afraid to like exit out of a tab from,
Right.
3 weeks ago. God forbid. All right, let's see here. Ooh,
Oh, the big picture.
that's her.
Oh God.
I didn't know if you were screaming out in ecstasy
Oh
or
no.
dismay. Or,
Oh no.
yeah, so she was a big girl,
She
but
looks like she ate Adele.
yeah, well, she's super thin now, and I saw
That's
her.
super thin.
For
That's not
her,
super
dude,
thin.
dude,
Look at all
for
that
da-
fluffy stuff.
Dan, for
Let's
her,
call it
this
dress.
is very thin. Her
For what
face
she
is very
was at.
thin.
Yeah, she's pretty thin for where she was at.
Yeah, where she was at. But let me ask you this, though. Do you feel like part of the funniness is going to be gone? Because I feel like that's kind of what happened with Jonah Hill. He lost a bunch of weight, and it was just never the same. He wasn't the funny guy anymore. He started getting in more serious
Drew
roles.
Carey wasn't funny when he got skinny.
Right. What is it about that? Is it just that
Yeah,
when
but she
they-
was a singer, wasn't she?
No, well, she was in Pitch Perfect.
Yeah,
That's
but
what
she was
it
an
is.
she was an actress. She was in Pitch Perfect and Bridesmaid. Was she in Bridesmaids?
She was one of the Wilson sisters too, right?
No.
No, she's Australian.
No, that's not her, but I know what you're talking about. That woman also lost a bunch of weight.
Okay.
I forgot her name, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. No, this woman's Aussie, and she was like a funny fat actress, but I just feel like a lot of times when people lose the weight, it's like, yeah, it's great for your health, but you're not funny anymore. Like, you can't do the same roles because that's what you were. You were like the fat, portly, funny bitch, and now you're not, and it makes me a little bit sad.
Well, she'll live longer. I'm happy for her.
Yeah. So that's the deal with.
She'll probably blow up like a tick again in the next 5 years.
You think so?
Yeah, a lot of them do.
You don't think she got like a stomach or like stapled?
Yeah, but you could still the
Babes.
stomach will re-stretch itself out, and
they beat it.
and what it they definitely beat the bariatric surgery survivor. What do you think it is about that, Dan? That like 95% of people who and I'm talking not about mild or kind of intermediate sort of levels of weight loss. I mean, we're talking about massive swings where it's like 100-pound gain, 100-pound loss. Why do you think people just have such an issue keeping off the weight, especially after they kept it off for sometimes like 4, 5, 6 years, but they always seem to relapse?
Because it's a psychological issue as well as a physical issue. And they both have to be addressed simultaneously
for there to be
a long success. Exactly.
Okay, because that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, there's a psychological component to it.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yes, because I've known many people who've lost, something in the ballpark of 100 to 150, maybe even 200 pounds, and they work so hard to get down to a normal weight, and sometimes they seem to maintain it for years. And then all of a sudden, you don't see him for a while, and then it's like, oh, Christ. And then that must be really kind of devastating, because especially when you get all the positive attention for losing the weight, it's like when it comes back on, and when it comes on strong, it's like, oh, Jesus Christ.
It's like the guy in Dodgeball.
Yes, Ben Stiller's character.
Falls apart and gets all fat again.
Yeah, it's really, really, really sad. I did want to discuss this before we go to break quickly. Jussie Smollett, I believe as Chris Rock calls him. Jussie Smollett placed in a psych ward at Cook County Jail. This is great news because, listen, we've been having a lot of racial issues.
He's not
in this
suicidal.
Country. Yeah, of course, right. And if he was, I don't even care. But here's the deal. It's like there's been so many racial issues in this country forever, but especially it's been there, but it hasn't been there, if that makes sense. Like racial relationships are getting better, but it's like a hotbed issue that obviously we've been talking about with BLM and George Floyd and Trayvon Martin, all that sort of stuff. And hate crimes do happen. They're far less frequent than they used to be, say in, the 50s and 60s. But, I'm sure they do happen. But I am really glad to see that this guy is going to jail for not very long.
He should go to jail for years.
It's like 15 months.
If you falsely accuse someone of a crime, then your penalty should be the same as that person's potential penalty for the crime. So if you falsely accuse someone for murder, then you should be liable for the same number of years of jail time when you're found guilty of lying about that person, of the hoax.
Yeah.
So, Jussie, you should be in jail for a lot of years under federal law for federal hate crimes. You are a scumbag, a liar, and it's going to show how pathetic you are because you're crying like a little bitch in jail for 150 days. He's going to do maybe 75 days. He can't even do that.
He's been sentenced to 150 days
He's
in
do
jail,
75.
30 months of probation, restitution of $120,000, and a fine of $25,000.
You should have to pay $1 million and be in jail for 5 years for what he did.
Yeah, it's
and he almost ruined he almost brought racial wars throughout the entire country. It was such a polarizing issue. And again, I knew he was full of S when he walked around with the noose around his neck, because anyone that's been kidnapped or strangled or anything, the first thing they want to do is rip that stuff off, not wear it around like a trophy.
Right, exactly.
Douchebag.
And I remember I was listening to Charles Barkley, I think, right? Was he the one that's like, man, you don't write a check when you're trying to do a crime like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you give cash. He was like, he wrote a check to I believe the Nigerian brothers that helped put it on.
Yeah, right.
But if you've been living under a rock,
those guys are scary studs, though, aren't they? I mean, they're on fire.
And when did this go down? I want to say it was the beginning of 2019, like the winter.
No, it
was not. Yeah, she's right.
19.
It was 19. It was right around.
It was in Chicago. It was cold.
Yeah, January 2019.
Right. Obviously, the timing was planned. I feel like I remember reading this at some time, but he was somehow in bed with someone who knew Michelle Obama, and that's kind of how they got him out of it, or at least tried to.
Was Michelle Obama's assistant, I believe?
Something like, it was like all I remember is that she was Asian. I don't want to say Margaret Cho, because that's one of the only Asian women I know that's in the news, but someone like that, someone in the Chicago government, I'm not quite sure, but he got out of it, but thankfully kind of pulled back into it. Much like Dan said, it seems like it's pretty much a pussy sentence of 150 days in jail for lying about a hoax that
And
could
they-
have brought the nation to its knees.
And they did say that he would only serve 75 days if he had good behavior. So that 150 was already knocked down to 75,
Which is what, like
2.5
months?
2.5 months.
Yeah, nothing at all.
And he wasn't going to be in general population. Now he's going to cry suicidal, so they're going to put him in a special
that's
psych
what
thing.
this is
That's
all
the whole
about.
thing. He's trying to get into a hospital bed instead of a jail cell.
Now,
Again, because he's such a puss.
Now, I was reading about this.
Juicy.
I get it, Dan. I was reading about this. I don't know how common it is, but is it true that a lot of high-profile criminals they'll actually put in psych wards to protect them?
Yep.
Interesting.
Yes, high
and
profiles.
So the 150 days, quote, in jail, is that in a psych ward instead?
No, but what's
Okay.
going to happen is if he's
How does that work then?
suicidal, they'll pull him out of general pop, put him in isolation or in a psychiatric ward.
But
In
will
a
that
bed.
count
Yes, it all
towards
counts.
the
He's not-
150,
He ain't
75
home.
days?
He ain't home.
Okay, well, it says in jail, so I don't know.
Incarcerated, in custody. It doesn't
Okay.
matter what kind of jail it is. If it's a jail, a prison, a psych ward, or the back of a squad car. It's in custody.
How
for
long can you
75 days.
spend in a psych ward? Presumably forever?
Indefinitely. Ask Hinckley.
Okay, so like instead of jail, a lot of these high-profile celebrities are put in psych wards just to protect them? Or
Yeah,
how does that work with
high-profile-
like taking people out of Gen Pop? Like where do they go? They go to special jail? Is it in the same facility? I don't know any of this.
It's different in federal versus state.
Okay.
People that are a risk to themselves or a risk to be a target from the other prisoners are usually separated.
And they're put together with other
Risky
celebs?
people. Yeah, theoretically. Or they
All
put them
right.
into like a lower security prison where it's not that draconian.
Mm-hmm.
Like some of the federal prisons for the blue collar crimes, for the white collar crimes,
right,
are really laid back.
Yeah, they're like resorts.
They are.
Not resorts, but I mean, they have more amenities.
Right, and it's more communal too. It's not like you're in a cell confined by yourself.
Oh, you're not. You're more like in a hostel,
or like an old person's home.
Right,
where
it's like a nursing
everything's
home.
kind of contained. You have games and stuff. And that they do.
Oh, you can
bingo
walk around
night.
at all times.
Is that where Bernie Madoff lived the rest of his days in a kind of like a nice white collar cush?
Right.
Jail.
I have a friend that went to jail for a little over a year for tax evasion, and interestingly,
Cute.
it wasn't as bad as he thought it was going to be. I mean, he was in jail for a year,
Right.
But the guards all ate at the pizza place where he used to own that he owned, and so they all knew who he was, and they were really nice to him. And the other, he was a little bit of a celebrity. And he was a big guy, and he's like maybe 55 years old, but he's like
Nice.
6'4", 270 pounds. So he's not a guy that's going to be picked on. And he's a smart guy, and he's a nice guy, and like I said, he served them all pizza over the years, so they all took care of him, and he had. Are
you telling me he had a fun time? He missed the
wasn't
jail?
fun, but it wasn't as bad as it could have been.
Like Martha Stewart, like she
Yes.
said, hey, look, it was bad. It was still jail, but like it was, it was nice
you
jail.
you can make the best of it. Now, because he's in jail for less than a year, then Juicy may not be in prison. He may just be in regular
just says
old
jail.
jail, which is way worse because it's not really made for long term.
And why would it be
Incarceration.
way worse? Just the conditions are worse?
It's just not. It's not designed for it. It's not designed. It's designed for temporary confinement, not long-term confinement.
Okay, but 2.5 months that's not really long term, but it's not a few days, so it's
right.
It's like he'll be okay, or like what do you mean it's way worse? It's not, I know you said it's not designed for long-term use, but Dan?
It doesn't have the amenities, doesn't have the privacy, doesn't have the
okay.
facilities, doesn't have the exercise, doesn't have any of that stuff. The food, it's all different.
Well,
it's
the
all
different people aren't. Most of them aren't like they're in there before they get sentenced, correct?
Right.
So you don't know what kind of criminal they are.
Right. You know how much of a criminal they
Oh,
are. They're
that's
all
not
grouped
good.
together. So
So when you're waiting for sentencing, even if you will go to a prison, you are currently held in jail.
Usually.
So, okay. And do they like categorize or separate people based on the type of crimes that they've committed?
yes, there's violent offenders, there's nonviolent, there's
Okay.
and there's security, people that have to be protected, people that
Okay.
you don't really care about.
Right.
There's a lot of categorizations. But I mean, instead of talking about jail, can we talk about Tom Brady, please?
Yeah.
'Cause I
Well,
could
let's
really
take
give
all right.
two
All right. We'll
rat's
take a break.
asses about Juicy Smollett.
Okay, Dan.
Rot in jail, bitch.
Okay. All right, Dan. Relax.
Obviously, Dan doesn't care.
We'll come back with Tom Brady. Everyone, relax.
The Bubba Radio Network will return after this.
Yeah. I'm walking for a sec.
Which one? Anime Dancer.
What's up?
Did you see this?
No.
Well, maybe. Check it.
Nice.
Yeah, Hall of Famer Scout and Big Oak.
Is it bad? I don't know if I can handle bad.
I trade Jacob Buckley.
Ruh-roh. Oh, okay.
What's up, Organic Gene? What you got? Yes, they did. Hall of Famer Scout and Big Oak. Thank you. You were Propaganda 575. What's up, Dan Wiz? You think so, Trog? He is on a warpath. Tom Brady, who is he? He's a father. He's a big-time business owner. I think he plays football. Quarterback. They will have a new track record. Good morning, Zach. Scooter. Good morning. Skizooter. What's up, TJ? Yeah, they are slowing down on the back stretch. They're nervous now. Thank you, Hall of Famer Scout and Big Oak, 200 stars. Rudy Rivera, 100 stars. Rudy Rivera, 100 stars. Hall of Famer Scout and Big Oak, 1,000 stars. Rudy Rivera, 100 stars. Rudy Rivera, 100 stars. It is dangerous team, Roger. I think everyone comes back. They're going to try to sign everyone back, but good, Joe Carnes. He's great, TJ. Thank you. Burton's Law. I'll be sure. That's a tough one to remember, though. Rudy Rivero. 100 stars. Rudy Rivero.
Like next break or break after or whatever, just promote that we'll have a podcast today.
Rudy Rivero, 1,000 stars. Woo! Getting close to that Stars Party. Stars Party activated. Good morning, Dr. Dunsboon, Onion Maker. Tinkle, 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 tinkle. Hall of Famer Scout and Big Gulp. 1,000 stars. Rudy Rivero, 500 stars. Megan. Look at that star take off. Megan. Elizabeth, 200 stars. Rudy. Rivero, 1,000 stars. Tinkle, tinkle, tinkle.
I can't. All you got is Lummy's royalty-free soundtrack.
I got two.
Hall of Famer Scout and Big Oak, 1,000 stars. Whatever. Did we took off from the Star Party? Woo! Star Party achieved. Pew pew. Twinkle twinkle.
Keep this close when he's not here.
Yeah. I try not to because of distractions.
Well, I understand, but
yeah, I understand.
He tries to, Shadow. Tickle, 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 tickle.
Thank you.
I'll try to kill their attackers right now.
should you give her like a little urinal to pee in?
Huh?
What? You got a diaper on?
Thank you, everyone on the stars.
How you holding it?
Ice Julio, 812. $10 Kizash. Yeah, it sure was, Mark B. Well, at least we got baseball back soon. 10 star. Woo, Whoop, whoop. Monkey West Julio 812 $10. Oh really? Sean? I gotta look that up. Sean Nate Van Gilder. See here. Good morning, Phillip Park. Back tomorrow, Rudy.
Live from the Sunbelt Rental Studios, it's the Bubba the Love Sponge Show.
That is correct. Welcome back to the Bubba the Love Sponge Show. The Sponge himself will be back tomorrow. He's currently still in LJ, making his way down. There's a lot of things going on in the world. Dan's bike caper, World War III, but we need to talk about Tom Brady, guys. I love sports. Everybody knows this. I love sports.
We talked about it a little bit when we first started the show.
We did, but we do need to circle back because it's big news and people want to talk about it. That's what
it's the biggest news
it is
in
the
America.
Biggest news, and to be honest with you, it's welcomed when we're dealing with such bull crap like COVID, like World War III, China, Russia, bombs, all this sort of stuff, possible chemical warfare. People want to talk about sports because it's a nice distraction from other things that are going on. If you haven't heard, if you've been living under a rock, Tom Brady trolled everybody, said he was going into retirement, about 2 months ago? And
right after the Super Bowl. Or
was
right
it right
after,
before?
actually, before the Super Bowl.
It was like a week before.
It was like around the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, so in
it got
February.
leaked, and it was this huge distraction from the big game. But excuse me, last night it appears to be that he is actually coming out of retirement. I don't even know if he even retired.
We talked
He never retired.
So we talked about it
retired.
earlier, and he didn't actually use the word retired.
Right.
He was teasing it.
He basically said that without using the word, so now he can say, "Oh, well, I didn't actually say I was going to retire."
Right. And I think we were kind of going over the fact, like, whether or not this was the plan the entire time, if this was just kind of written in the books to be in the news so that, him retiring would be big news and him coming out of retirement would be big news, or if this was some big misunderstanding, or if he did actually retire and Giselle couldn't handle him hanging out so much. He's like, get the hell away from me. And now he's coming back as the quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for this upcoming season.
Hall of Famer group lives $20 cash, which is big, obviously, in our area for Tampa.
Right.
I mean, at this point, we have 4 or 5 players that were probably going to jump ship.
Right.
The whole team we didn't know who was going to be the quarterback.
Was it going to go through like a rebuilding phase?
Yeah, a lot of the quarterbacks were already getting traded or getting signed elsewhere, and we were kind of looking like we were going to go to an unproven quarterback. And Tom Brady's back. It takes the odds from the Bucs. They were at a 20-1 odds to win the NFC Championship to a 10-1 and a 5-1 on the Super Bowl. So instantaneously, Tom Brady coming back, just makes the Bucs that much better.
Changes the whole dynamic of the NFL.
Right.
And we're getting our center back. He was going to leave to the Bengals. He just signed a 3-year deal. We're going to have a lot of these players, and that. And
Wait,
that
so
kind
I'm
of
sorry.
shows-
Did anybody leave the Bucs and now will be coming back besides Tom Brady?
No. Well,
okay.
like there was potential free agents.
Okay.
And they were kind of, I think, waiting to see what was going to happen with Tom Brady.
I see.
He had to make his decision by today, or I'm sorry, yesterday, because today is when the free agency starts in the NFL.
Okay.
So him announcing it yesterday kind of now secured the players that the Gronkowskis, the Jetsons, and the different players like that are probably going to all re-sign and come back like they did last year.
Of course.
And he is definitely going to have.
I noticed last night too, like most of the players, they were all tweeting LFG.
Yep.
They were excited about it.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think he sees that there's a great opportunity for him. and the Bucs to make the Super Bowl again. And I have a feeling that since when Aaron Rodgers came back and played in the NFC, that Tom Brady likes that competition. And I could see a Aaron Rodgers, Green Bay Packer, Tampa Bay NFC Championship, which that should have happened this year.
So do you think we're going to go through this whole cycle again in 1 year where he's going to say he's done, he retires? Or do you think it's dependent on the outcome of the season? So if he wins, if he goes to the Super Bowl and he wins, is that the ending he
he's
wants?
He's absolutely done if he wins.
Yeah, I think if he wins the Super Bowl, he's done. I think that's one thing right now. I think he doesn't want to go out a loser.
Oh, I see.
He was that close, and he realized that if they beat the Rams, they win the Super Bowl.
Right.
I mean, they easily could have did exactly what the Rams did, steamrolled the 49ers.
I don't think this will happen. What happens if he doesn't make the playoffs this year?
Then I mean,
he's back again, baby.
You think?
I think he kind of looks at it.
He's never had a season where he's lost less than 10, where he's won less than 10 games.
Right.
And so
it's not going to happen.
I just don't see it happening. He'll likely make the playoffs again if he plays.
If he comes out and he doesn't play at the high level, because I mean, if you look at his stats, he had, I think it was 45 touchdowns. Like 10 or 11 interceptions. I mean, he's playing at a super high level at the age he's at.
At 44, I believe he is now, right?
If he comes out and looks like a 45-year-old and they miss the playoffs, I definitely think he just goes away. There's no way he's come back at 46. And do the Bucs want him back at that point too, or do they just move on? Because I know they're probably going to sign a lot of these guys to like a 1-year, 2-year contract, and they're not going to go long term with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you said, it all depends on how the season ends. I think if he gets close again, I think he comes back.
I wonder if he tried to get maybe TV deals or something, and he wasn't able to, or not get the money he wanted, and he's like, "Well, I guess I'll just go back to playing football."
I am very
it's going to be hard to make
about
the
that.
same money in media as he did in football at this point.
Of course,
a guy that has no media,
But I wonder if that's what he thought.
Yeah, he probably thought he was going to roll into like a $20 million a year media job.
Right.
It just didn't happen.
But
because
it's not like he
they don't
needs the
exist.
money.
But he still wants to be in the spotlight.
Of course.
If he's going to be in the spotlight, might as well make the money that he quote unquote deserves.
Yeah,
So.
I would really like to know the plan the whole time. I honestly think that it was he went into an identity crisis. It's like, if I'm not playing football, who is Tom Brady if not the football player? Being a dad and a husband really isn't enough when you're the darling of the NFL. So he's coming back. He said last night, broke the news, but I was kind of reading like his farewell address. It seemed like, and it seemed like he was pretty much done. Said,
right.
that he was there's a physical, mental, and emotional challenge every single day that has allowed me to maximize my highest potential, and I've tried my very best for 22 years. But he says, I'm not going to make that competitive commitment anymore. That was, at the beginning of February, and now we're in March, and he's like, I'm back, baby.
So did you hear, too, a day before this, a guy bought Tom Brady's last game used or touchdown ball for $518,000 because it was Tom Brady's last ever touchdown ball.
One day before he announced it.
Yep. So now that ball won't be worth as much.
Short that ball.
Yep.
That's really upsetting. That's really
$518,000.
Wow.
All right, I'm going to take my chances on this call.
Okay.
Hopefully it's a good one. Hello, who's this?
Hi, good morning. This is Couch Daddy. I just wanted
What's up, Couch Daddy?
Call you guys and say the show sounds great.
Oh, thank you.
I did want to say to Dr. Dan, I didn't know if he's seen, I think it was last week, the Queen of England, what she it came out what she was taking for her COVID, and it was ivermectin. It was basically his cocktail. And then I don't know if you guys spoke about it or not, but I just want to see what he thought about it. And then they hurried up and they blacked it out and got rid of the documents and can't find them now. But I didn't know if Dr. Dan seen that and what he thought about it. And I will hang up and listen.
All right, thanks for calling in.
I am not going to talk about it on YouTube because YouTube doesn't like this conversation.
Right.
So
Smart move,
I hope the
Dan.
Queen took effective medication. If she did take the ivermectin, there's some data to support its use. But again, I don't want to get into it beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want to
thank
get
you.
canceled off of YouTube.
That is smart. 813-90 Bubba. Dan
God
playing
bless the
by the
queen.
rules. Yeah, God bless.
save the queen.
She's only 106. She's got some life left to live.
She's
I
high
suppose.
risk though. She's high risk.
She is high risk.
Obama's got COVID this week.
Yeah,
he has a scratchy throat.
Yeah, they tried to bring it back. They tried to make it, a thing, but people have moved on now. We're talking about potential
Tom
chemical
Brady.
warfare.
Who cares about COVID?
So hey, did
Tom Brady.
Obama?
Did Gronk officially resign now too?
No, he has not. But I mean, there's a lot of things coming out that he was waiting to see what Tom Brady was going to do.
So Tom Brady didn't make like a little video, just
a tweet. Just a tweet.
I think that's it.
And at first, it was just his tweet, and I was like, "Oh, it'd be funny if he got hacked."
Yeah, that's what I kind of was thinking too.
And then quickly,
quickly,
the Buccaneers they were retweeting a bunch of the players, and then and then they said it too. The Buccaneers themselves said, "Hey, he's back."
It was weird because I was at Ocean Prime last night, and then my mom calls me and tells me, and then Jay calls me and tells me, and then within two minutes, the entire restaurant knew.
Oh yeah,
and it was like all of a sudden you could hear people talking to each other. Everyone was looking at their texts, and the waiters
There
were
was an
talking
uproar.
about
To see if it was
Like,
real.
it's all the whole restaurant found out at the
buzzing.
same time. It was kind of interesting.
I wonder if anyone had like a big Tom Brady mural on the side of their building that they had painted over. You know,
out of frustration.
Or like jerseys that fans bought that they burnt or something. Something stupid.
Yeah, I was ready to get rid of mine. I was so mad.
Really?
Yeah.
You have a nice jersey.
Man's 44.
I know.
Well,
Got a
I'm
couple
glad you
nice
didn't
ones.
because he'll be back for next season, which is exciting. Let's take this call. Hello, welcome to the Bubba the Love Sponge Show. Who's this?
I wore red.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
John.
Big Hands John, what's going on?
Hey, it was so good seeing you on Saturday.
Yeah, I was just calling to say the same. It was great to see everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Good party. Kevin always knows how to do it.
Oh
He
yeah,
knows how to throw a party.
it was fun. Good to see you, John.
Exactly. Yeah, good seeing you guys. I just wanted to say hello to everybody. And Dr. Dan, great job.
Thank you. Good morning.
Awesome.
Good morning. You guys have a great one.
Thanks,
Oh,
John.
thank
You too.
you. What a sweet, sweet man. I met so many Bubba Army on Saturday night.
Yep.
People really excited to meet us and to hang out. I do always feel like, and I don't know if anybody else, probably Dan doesn't feel like this ever, but I'm always worried I'm going to like disappoint people, because they want me to be like on or something or start cracking jokes or go into like my little weird voices. And a lot of
Right.
times it's like, hey, what's up?
They're like,
yeah,
do your
cool.
Romina.
Yeah, I'm like that. No, I'm not going to do it. It's like, telling a comedian like, tell us a joke.
Yeah,
it's
be-
like,
be
no.
funny.
No, so
Make me laugh, funny man.
right, exactly. So I'm always
But
concerned
most
about
people
that.
are always really cool, though.
Yeah, they are, and it did help that I was wasted on 2.5 Dixie cups of wine, so that helps to kind of soften the blow. Start dancing to crazy 80s music, and I don't like 80s music, so it's weird. But if you're just tuning in, Bubba is currently in LJ or making his way
Georgia.
down in Georgia,
Up in the mountains.
Up in the mountains, it's 19 degrees.
I know. I can't wait to hear about his weekend.
Merch Creek is frozen, solid. Mary Lou and Larry Plummer. Blitz, you said that, did he go live or something on Facebook, or was it just a still photo?
Oh, there was one picture that I saw.
Best friends forever?
Yeah, of Bubba and Larry. out kind of-
BFFs, is that what it said?
something
Best
like
friends
that.
forever? That's cute. That's cute. That's very sweet. I'm excited to hear about Bubba's wholesome
It looked really
weekend.
nice.
Yeah, he will be back tomorrow. We will also be back on Twitch tomorrow morning, God willing, hopefully. So if you're trying to find us on Twitch and you can't seem to find us, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook. Tune in. So make sure you get us there. And also today we will be doing a podcast.
Yep.
That it
Noon-
will not
noon
be
today.
Yes, it will be released at noon today. It will not be live anywhere. So make sure you get that content and you listen to it because it's going to be a good one. It's going to be fun. And it is a different feeling knowing you're not being taped. Even though it's going to go out, just knowing that it's not live,
Yeah.
it's just kind of like it's a feeling of freedom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because
you
if you
just feel a
screw
little
up
bit-
that bad, it's like we could edit it.
Right.
Yeah.
If someone lets the N bomb fly, it can
Yeah,
be edited
Lummy.
out. Yeah, Lummy's been a problem lately. And
Yeah.
please tone it down. Please tone it down. But yeah,
Dan looked over at Lummy like, "Is that true?"
Yeah, no, it's not.
true at all.
It's certainly not true.
No.
But I'm really actually glad. This is the first time. There's very few times where I embrace sports, but this has been a lovely distraction from all of the horror that has been surrounding the world with COVID, with World War III, Putin, China, all these things. So I do understand why people love the sports because it's really a distraction. distraction. Isn't that right? Like, it really distracts people from their horrific lives and the horrific things that are going on, that it allows people to really, I don't want to say care about stuff that doesn't matter, because obviously it does, but it brings people a lot of joy.
Well, and I wonder how this is going to affect, with Tom Brady coming back, the Bucs were already planned on, I believe it's against the Chiefs, to go to Germany and play the first ever NFL game in Germany this year. So I'm wondering if that's still, would happen amidst all the European problems.
Achtung, baby. I don't know. I wouldn't go to Europe right now.
I probably want to stay out of it.
No, because you know what's going to happen in 2 days. It could go south really fast.
This last year, this is part of his contract originally, right?
Correct.
Okay, so it's not like do you think he restructured or did anything different?
As of right now, no. He's just playing on his original contract.
Okay. Because I wonder if they said, "Hey, look, we really want you back. What if we give you this, that, and the other?"
Oh, I'm sure they're
sweetened it.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to redo it to one they could re-sign some of the guys that they need, and I'm sure they backloaded it or did whatever they needed to.
Bonus them on the backside.
Oh yeah.
Now, are they allowed to with the salary cap and all that? Are they allowed to work in endorsements as part? How does that work? Can they say, hey, we got with this giant yacht company and we're going to give you a yacht, but not
an oligarch yacht.
Yeah, have that not be part of your contract.
It's kind of a wink on that one. A lot of times it's just the contract is just usually salary cap or dead cap or signing bonuses. It's not like, oh, we got you 5 cars.
Right,
that's kind of just on the side.
Right, but that doesn't count against their salary deal or anything like that.
No, it doesn't.
And are they allowed to do that?
Yeah, they can do whatever they want.
Huh.
They'll do it to where it goes to the agent. Everything goes to the agent. They'll set everything up, but it's all known that, hey, the Bucs, this is what the Bucs did for you. And
so then why don't? Okay, so let me ask you this: why don't more teams do that? Why don't they say, look, we're going to pay you $1 million a year, but your agent, we're going to give him $7 million a year.
No, they're not doing that. They're trying to set up
cars and boats and stuff.
They're trying to set up media deals on the backside to sweeten the deal.
But I'm
saying,
make
it less.
In general, to any player for their contract, hey, if this doesn't go against the cap, what if we just give you,
They can't do that.
Okay.
Let me ask you this, and this is concerning people that's not us, so I guess who cares? But I am curious. Now, we are happy collectively not me, but whatever. Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans are happy that Tom Brady is coming back.
Yes.
Is everybody else in the league super pissed because the competition is back? The GOAT is back? Is everybody else God damn it. If you're a
New England
Patriots fan.
All you got to think, all the Bucs fans hated Tom Brady before he came to the Bucs. Yep. They couldn't stand him. He was a cheater. We hated him. And then the second he was a Bucs, man, the best player ever.
Of course.
I'm ready to make big statues of him and the whole 9 yards. And so we're still drinking the Kool-Aid, man. We love Tom Brady in Florida.
Of course we do.
But everybody else,
I love him.
Do you think everybody else is having the opposite reaction to us?
Yeah, they're dreading it.
They're like, God damn it, he's back.
There's a few people that'll like it, but for the most part, no.
Look at Aaron Rodgers. He came back. Tom Brady's out of the picture. Now he's like, I don't have to go through Tom Brady and the Bucs to, maybe make the Super Bowl. Now I got to do it. Now everyone behind Aaron Rodgers too. Now they got to deal with the Bucs. NFC South.
What did the Green Bay odds or stats change with the Tom Brady?
Yes.
What were they
Let's talk about the Packers and Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, how were they favored before Tom Brady announces resumption of his career versus today?
The Green Bay Packers, they only went up about, I think it was 2 points. They're about even with the Bucs. I believe they were 8-1. I think they're 10-1 now. So they went up. They went up just a little bit. They're pretty much even with the Bucs now.
Now, for the people that don't really know, when you talk about the stats, are you talking about or the ratios of winning? Is this the Vegas odds? Is that what we're?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so we're talking about sports betting, right?
Well, but a lot of people do use that. The Vegas insiders are very knowledgeable, and they call things pretty good on.
They're pretty reliable when it comes to outcomes.
On the odds.
What are their odds of being correct? Do you know that?
I'm usually on the different odds. Obviously, this year with the Bengals, they were not predicted to go as high. So, usually, obviously, what do they say? Vegas wasn't built on, everyone winning.
Yes, it was built on losers.
Exactly.
Right. Okay. All right, but they're projected to be the Super Bowl winners with Tom Brady, and by they I mean the Buccaneers.
They're right up there in the top 4 on who they think would be the NFL champions.
Beautiful.
Outside of that, they were barely making the playoffs only because the NFC South was weak.
And the Bucs play the Packers once this year, right?
I believe so. They haven't announced the date yet, though.
Okay.
And the people from Massachusetts, and I know a few of them because I go to UT. I don't know if you guys know this now, but
that's right.
I'm actually a co-ed. I'm a freshman at the University of Tampa, and I'm
Really?
studying
you
airplane sciences.
Yeah, you wore your
I
your
have
shirt
a
last
shirt.
week.
Yes, I'm studying airplanes, Dan. I don't know if you knew this. I'm an aviation freak. But I so a lot of my classmates are from Massachusetts.
Wait, are you actually taking classes at UT?
No, Dan. Blitz likes co-eds, okay?
Oh, okay.
God,
It's
damn
just
it.
it's something they play.
She wore a UT shirt
I wore
last
a
week.
UT shirt that was clearly 6 sizes too big. Everyone thought I bought the shirt. I'm like, come on, don't be Renaissance. Come on, play along. But so are the people from Massachusetts, right? Do they still like Tom Brady, or are they just like?
I think most of them do.
Right, because they may hate the Bucks, but they still have love for Tom because it's hard not to love that man. Or how does that go?
Well, a lot of it, they started turning on it because when Tom Brady kind of announced his retirement, he did not thank the Patriot
Correct.
fans.
I did see Dave Portnoy get upset about
He
that.
did.
And then I guess this Tom Brady said thanks for the time in New England, and that was pretty much it. And they were upset about that.
Okay, they were
Well,
upset they didn't get the goodbye.
People from Boston are upset about everything. I mean,
That they live in
upset
Boston is number one.
Probably.
Yeah. I've never been. It's not a city that I really want to visit, and maybe it should be. But it just seems like I've heard a lot of bad things about Boston. I don't think I really want to go there. I mean, I would, to check out the sites and stuff.
What bad have you heard about Boston?
It's a nice historical city.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't
I've
know
heard
anything
it
bad
might
about it
be-
except it's cold.
That, but also I don't know if it's the most race friendly city. Is that fair assumption to make? Not that I feel like I could maybe fit in.
Look,
but
the city's great.
So
The
you're
problem is the
calling them a
people.
racist
The people.
City? You're calling them racist?
No,
I think
it's
he's
what
talking
I've
the
heard.
Southies. The
I'm talking
Southies
about
are-
what I've heard. I don't know much, but I don't have a great desire to visit really any place in the Northeast, especially during the winter time. So maybe that's just me. But we're not up there. Doesn't matter. We're here in Florida, where Tom Brady will be spending. Is it his 23rd?
Yes. Yeah. It's going to be tough, too. The Bucks have a really difficult schedule this year.
What does that mean in terms of who
the
they're
teams
playing and
they're
when?
playing the Chiefs, which are a very good team. The Green Bay Packers, the Rams, who won the Super Bowl. Like they have one of the hardest schedules in the league right now.
Okay, but we got the GOAT, though.
Yeah.
We got the GOAT. And you're telling me that not every team plays every team during a given season. Is that right?
No. There's 32 teams, and there's only 17 games.
Okay. Damn,
So they play the teams in their division twice.
Okay. And then but they don't play out of their division until after the Super Bowl, or the Super Bowl is the only time that they cross pollinate, or no?
No, they cross pollinate.
Okay.
So like the Kansas City Chiefs are in the AFC.
Yes.
And the Tampa Bay Bucks are in the NFC, and they're playing them this year.
Once, they'll play once.
So when there were 16 games, it was really simple. There's 8 of the games was in your conference.
Okay.
And then the other 8 games, half of them were AFC and half were NFC.
And they pick a division.
Right.
So like if they had to play the NFC West, they'd play the AFC North, and then they had to play every team in that division.
Do you get
normally.
did the teams get to pick their division, or was it a geographical thing that divided them?
Geographical.
Okay.
Yeah, mostly.
Okay.
Yeah, and
There's a couple
whoever-
exceptions. It's kind of like
learn.
voting, where they kind of like a couple people in the North were kind of in the South. Like,
No, they redraw the lines.
yeah, like the NFC East includes Dallas, which doesn't make sense.
Okay. And there's no real difference other than it just some teams are in this league and some teams are in that league. There's no like different rules or policies that they have. It's all
No, not like in baseball,
Okay.
because the American League and the National League in baseball were a little different with
Right.
pitching and hitting.
They like different rules.
But now they're back. Now they all
They're
have DH.
trying to standardize it, right?
Okay.
Yeah, they all have DH now.
They all have it.
So
what is I don't know
the
what
no
DH
shift.
is.
designated hitter. So
Yeah,
in the
of
National
course.
League, the
Yes.
pitcher
Oh, the
would
pitcher.
bat,
Okay.
and the American League would have a just a designated hitter for the pitcher. Now they both have designated hitters.
Which makes sense. So what's the shift thing?
They banned the shift.
The shift.
Yeah, you have to have 2 people on 4 people in the clay, 2 on each side of the base.
With the clay, right?
Yeah.
In the clay.
Yeah,
That's what he's talking about there.
Infield.
Alan?
Not at all. 0% in the clay. Is
Do you know
that
what
in the
shift is?
field? No, I didn't. I didn't get any of that. But I nod along and I play along because I'm a sports girl and I know stuff. But again, usually I don't hear anything about athletes unless they hit someone in an elevator or punch a woman or throw them into a TV screen or drown a dog. That's usually when I'm like, oh, I know that guy. Sports, exactly. You got to be a criminal really to kind of break the film of if you get on my radar or not. So that's kind of the deal there. 813-90 Bubba. Again, we're going to have a podcast later today, so make sure you tune in for that. That will be
the Bubba Army podcast.
Yes, and that will be posted at noon, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But Tampa Bay, Tom is back, and we'll be back right after these words.
The Bubba Radio Network will return after this.
Crane crisis.
You flew over there and solved it.
Yeah.
I have to make your end.
Oh, there you go.
Gives Putin a couple rings.
Sean.
Look at this new Super Bowl ring. You can take the top off. You can hide. There's a cyanide pill inside, next to the two little diamonds.
We need Dennis Rodman to go over and hang out with Putin. Sean Jones will be back tomorrow on Twitch. Yeah. It doesn't make it. Yeah, the Cowboys in the NFC North doesn't make any sense, but they can't move them now because they're stuck. They're stuck there.
It's the NFC North, not the East. It's the North, right?
Yeah, now it is.
It's the North, the South, the West, and the
Central. Isn't it AFC Central? Yeah, AFC Central, NFC Central. Because when the Bucs were in the NFC Central, it didn't make any sense.
No. And it was a horrible. I mean, they were always having to play good games against Chicago and
Green Bay
and Barry
outside.
Sanders.
And then you have Minnesota's inside at that time. But Barry Sanders, I heard he was on a podcast. He said that his favorite team to play against was the Bucs
Because they would just sit there staring like deer in headlights. He'd run right by
like
him.
240 yards a game every time.
Every time.
Automated blitz stiff. Deshaun. They say Carolina is going to go strong.
The one guy that Lynch couldn't tackle was Barry Sanders.
I know there's so many highlights that he would come up and he just either broke his ankles or just missed them. Yeah, because the Bucs, even in the 95, 96, had a good defense, and Barry was still
all over him. he had their number.
That's one guy I wish never didn't retire early.
Yeah, that was a shame. I never really understood that one.
Supposedly, he wanted to be released because he said that the Lions just weren't trying anymore to win, and they were like, we're not getting rid of you. We're not going to trade you. We're not going to release you. So he's like, well, I'll just retire then. Which I think same thing happened to Calvin Johnson on their team. Because you got how that team they had horrible quarterbacks, and Barry Sanders was the whole team, and that was it. You know. Being the best player.
Can't do that now.
Fucking ridiculous.
Fish sticks. I like.
You bring a box to Ocean Prime and say, "Can you heat them up?"
Yeah, you have these fish sticks for me.
Did you see the price? Did the prices jump a lot on everything at Ocean Prime, or are they still pretty good?
It was $600.
Yeah.
It's painful. I'd rather go out and buy some cheap gas at $5.50 a gallon.
Oh, to get there. Well, how light is your bike?
24 pounds, full suspension, 29-inch mountain bike. It's really light. I put a gold chain on it.
Did you? What color is it?
It's white and black. It's a Scott RC Pro.
So you're not gonna paint it gold?
No.
You don't want to be shining when you're going up a.
No, but I got a gold chain. I got gold brake rotors. A couple other gold parts on it.
There's
some gold accents.
That's right, Chris. He was a man. Yeah. The Bucs were in the NFC West for one season. I think We'll be back tomorrow on Twitch, Jonathan.
Yes.
Morning, Jason Dawson.
It's 24 pounds. It's a 29-inch wheels. Let me send you a picture of the bike.
Oh, I got it. I like the gold wheels. And the gold seat. So you got a gold chain on that?
Mm-hmm. Couldn't help it.
Did you buy a custom seat?
Came with that seat.
I'm saying, do you like?
I'll stay with that seat till I mess it up.
Good morning, Mike. I don't know if you went and bought one of those fat beach bike.
2 pound seat on a 24-pound bike.
It weighs half of the bike.
Yeah, anything that looks like it doesn't belong in that bike, I pull off of it.
That makes.
You know, just want to keep it light.
Yeah, so you can carry it. Good morning, DDP for life.
Yeah, it's full carbon, Dan was. XTR Shimano. I'm not the SRAM guy.
What's up, Sir Rockwell? Can't be a talker.
I didn't want electric shifting on a mountain bike.
Live from the Sunbelt Rental Studios, it's the Bubba the Love Sponge Show.
Coming in dry, coming in hot. We are back. Welcome to the Bubba the Love Sponge Show. Bubba's out. He'll be back. He'll be back tomorrow. He's had a very wholesome weekend with Larry Plummer and the wifey and the merch crick. So he will be back tomorrow. Fear not. We will also be back tomorrow on Twitch at the Bubba Army. So make
God
sure
willing.
God willing.
We should
hopefully.
be. Yeah.
There won't be any other issues, but you never know around here because this place is full of surprises.
Oh, got here this morning. One of the UPSs died. I had to rewire the rack room this morning, and then an hour into the show, one of the encoders died, and I had to switch encoders. And
yes,
all kinds of fun.
To be honest with you, I did catch a glimpse, Blitz, of you not at your post, but the camera was on, and I went, okay, we could be under siege. I don't know. I don't know if I saw you grab the tennis racket.
No, I had to switch encoders for the radio stations because one of our encoders died.
Well, thank God. Thank God it was only that. So our lives aren't in danger. Everything is good. I met some Bubba Army at the Kevin deal, like I mentioned before, and it's funny because I just said there's always something. But like I said, I don't want to say my biggest fear because it's not really a fear, but I never want to be bored with my life because I feel like when people are bored with their life, they're genuinely unhappy and they feel like they're not living a fulfilled life to its full potential. But this place always makes you feel alive. You know, whether your life is threatened or you're laughing or you're in trouble or you're scared, you're feeling alive. You know what I mean? You're feeling something. It could be joy. It could be fear.
That's because you're feeling something now for the first time in 2 years. And I think the rest of you woke up.
Thank you, Dan, for bringing me right back down to zero where I belong. I appreciate it. But I
point
feel
out
like
the positives.
But isn't it true? Like you worry, like you walk in, Lummy's freaking out because maybe the previously isn't working, but you feel alive. It's not boring. You know what I mean? You keep the adrenaline pumping, the heart pumping. I feel like that's good for the human spirit to feel something.
Yeah, the big drama of the day was the light above the coffee machine wasn't working, like in a normal office.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not here. Not here.
Humanity.
People get strapped. They get their guns ready. Action Jackson put together a little video which I will post later, and I wasn't sure exactly what I can post regarding like the guns and Instagram.
Right.
So I wanted to run it by Blitz first, but it's a great little montage of the highlights of, was it Tuesday? Was it a year ago?
It was Monday or Tuesday.
When did that happen?
It was Monday. It was Monday.
It was Monday?
It was
okay.
Monday.
So it was a week ago, even though it feels like a year ago.
It really does.
Yeah.
But a fun little montage of, the first moment of surprise when, Tyler tells Blitz something's going on, to the grabbing of the tennis racket, to Dan grabbing his cigarettes and running out the door only to realize he's left his weapon in the studio, to return and grab it, and Bubba, fiddling, trying to put on his shoes before he grabs his little piece under the under the keyboard. So it's a fun little montage, and then not because I'm my biggest fan or my biggest mark, but then when I returned to the board, just confused and scared, but also
you knew something was
laughing.
going down up front, but you're like,
Yes.
I don't know what I can say.
Exactly. I didn't know what I could say. I didn't know where I would be the safest. If immediately I just started laughing because I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Right.
And if I'm gonna get shot, I might as well have a laugh before I go. That's kind of my motto in life, is to try to enjoy everything. But it was an awkward moment. The hot mic wasn't on, and it was just me in the studio. And like you said, I didn't know what I could say, what I couldn't say, what was going on, what lives were lost, if the police were here. And to be honest, I had a bit of FOMO. Like, I wanted to be out in the action, seeing some stuff, and I didn't want it just to be a secondhand story. I wanted to see the murderer with my own eyes. But someone had to bring us back from break.
So what'd you do with the flowers?
What flowers?
He took them back home.
Oh, you took them back?
I didn't get the flowers, but I did get the card.
Yeah, the police handed him his flowers back and said, take these with you.
Yeah. So, because we didn't know if they had, I don't know, anthrax in them. I don't know. You probably don't want to be messing with, botany from a stranger that may want to kill you. But the card, whatever. So I got the card. I took the pictures of it that I needed, and I gave it to Blitz for the evidence in case the police need it. So we got that. 813-90 Bubba. Unfortunately, we do got to kind of cover. Oh, is that the bike?
Yeah.
I'm getting it only I know that it's delayed.
It happened
but...
during Hot Mic, by the way.
Okay, well, I'm only seeing it now. But
YouTube and Facebook are way
it's
delayed.
Super, super delayed. Twitch is great like that, where it's like 4 seconds. Because I'll time it sometimes. I'll raise my hand and then I'll count how many seconds I can see it on
I was
the screen.
talking with Tyler earlier. So that's the one thing is Hot Mic is hard to do with Twitch and YouTube, or with YouTube and Facebook, because it's so delayed.
Yeah, it's super delayed. But we do kind of have to get into just a teeny tiny bit of COVID. I know it's fringe stuff now. Nobody even cares.
Right.
And I saw over the weekend that they were dumping millions of doses out the window, just trashing it because it goes bad, number one. And number two, the demand is plummeted. So nobody's getting it anymore. If you were going to get it, you would have got it. So nobody wants it. And Dan, how long do these things last? I mean, this is we're not getting political here. I'm just asking
vaccines?
you. Yeah, and storage.
The Moderna doesn't last as long as the Pfizer, which doesn't last as long as the J&J. So it's a
Which one
period
do they have to keep super cold?
Moderna.
Okay, and you can't just freeze dry that and thaw it when it's ready to go.
Apparently not.
Okay, I don't know anything about how to store vaccines and how to preserve them.
They're all different. Every vaccine's different. They all have their own little protocols.
Oh, that's cute, like a snowflake.
Yeah,
special in its own way. But yeah, it looks like the
But there's a fourth dose recommendation from the Pfizer folks.
The CEO.
Right. And that's exactly who you should trust.
He says it's necessary.
He says it's necessary. For what reason, I don't know. It seems
to make
like he's
money.
Grasping at straws. I know, but you can't tell the public that, even though everybody knows. And I love the thing that as you could see here. He's standing behind a banner that just says science. So he's telling you the truth.
Science. Follow the science.
He's telling you the truth. This guy is I don't know his net worth, but I would say probably maybe in the billions. He's got some zeros behind his name, I'd say, some commas. He's got a lot of commas. He's a comma guy. His name is Albert Bula.
It looks like he's worth $30 million.
$30 million.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, let's cash out his options.
Right.
Right.
He's saying it is necessary for most people to get the fourth shot. Right now, the protection that you're getting from the third shot is good enough. Actually, quite good for hospitalizations and deaths. But it's not so good against infections. But that doesn't last very long. So I really feel like COVID, it's on its last leg. I'm actually kind of surprised because I thought that I thought it was going to be a thing for longer, but they probably weren't anticipating the Russia-Ukraine caper, as we've called it here on the show. So I think that that's really put COVID on the back burner. And also Tom Brady. Thank you to Tom Brady for also effectively ending COVID.
Correct. No one cared about Obama having COVID when Tom Brady came out.
Well,
no one cared.
Some of them said. Some people have said too that with the different states like Texas and Florida not following it, and people seeing, and with the economy going the way it was, with the elections coming up, COVID disappeared.
Yeah, but not for China, though, which is nice. It's coming back to China, making it full circle. China's COVID cases more than tripled, the highest point in 2 years.
So what's their
Aren't they
explanation
like
for
closing
that?
off cities now or something?
Probably. I haven't read too much into it, but I do know that the way that China conducts business is a little bit different than how we do it here. You know, they kind of can just break down your front door and take your temperature. And if you got one, they're taking you away to some place. Who knows where it could be? The northeastern province of Jiang accounted for 78% of the national total. So it looks like they're having a surge, but I don't even know what variant.
Surge?
That's what I was going to ask. I don't know. Are there any? What's like the breaking news of COVID, Dan? Like, is there a new variant that's like hot? Like, what's the new hot chick?
Well, the biggest, hottest variant was Omicron, and then there's Omicron 2A, I believe, that didn't really come out too much.
Didn't get its own letter. Didn't get its own Greek letter.
Well, how come it was getting new variants every like few weeks? It seemed like, and now it's like nothing.
Because I don't think anyone cares about it anymore.
It's just
I finally think that at least in America, the examples set by states like Florida that said, you know, kids in school, no masks, vaccine mandates are illegal, and we're not going to even encourage vaccinating people under 18 anymore.
Right.
And people thought, you know, that Florida was just going to blow up off the map. And Florida did better than most of the other states doing that. So the other governors are taking the example that Florida made and trying to apply it to their own states, and it's working. Plus, now that Omicron's just rammed itself through the country, almost everyone's got an exposure, and it's, you know, either vaccinated or they have antibodies, or they're just not going to get it.
It seems like China says that it looks like it's Omicron and Delta variants of COVID.
A nice mixture.
So Omicron should wipe out the Delta because it's so much more transmissible. But the Delta is severe, and some people got sick with Omicron, but the Delta was a tough one.
Yeah. Well, it's back in China for more. So get excited for that. That should be interesting. We are having a problem with pills in this country, Dan. I don't know if you knew about that. The Americans have been suffering. There's been a lot of opioid overdoses. And what's going on with that? I feel like no one's really talking about the opioid crisis because it kind of took a back burner.
Well, because they're so hard to get now.
Yes and no. It says 1 in 3 Americans take pain medication every single day.
But is that like over the counter or is that prescription?
Take over the counter pain medication. Okay, so that's not so
serious. That's like
serious.
Aleve and stuff.
Right. And it doesn't look like it's that big of a sample size.
So this is misleading.
Adults.
Again, another misleading article, clickbait. This has nothing to do with the real news.
Yes.
What has to do with the real news is the difference between taking a pill prescribed by a doctor or taking fentanyl off the street or taking another drug laced with fentanyl off the street. And that's where the real serious injuries are happening. People getting drugs that they're not sure what's in the drugs because they're tainted with other drugs. And that's a problem. Also, you know, it seems the Biden administration wants to lessen the fentanyl penalties, where right now, because the border's been so porous, fentanyl is just walking across the border unchecked.
Well, yeah, Mexico is making a lot of the fentanyl drugs currently, correct?
Yes, and it's not consistent in its strength, and it's hard to titrate such a dangerously potent drug because a drop is a huge amount.
With opioids, and again, I don't know too much about pharmaceuticals in general, but by design, is it built into the design of the drug that you built up a tolerance very quickly?
Yes.
Okay, that's by design. That's not just like a byproduct of it being an opioid or something.
It's like alcohol.
That.
You know, if you're a 16-year-old that's never had a drink, 2 beers and you're trashed.
Okay.
Whereas if you are an experienced drinker that's 25 and went to, you know, law school and college, and been drinking 2 or 3 days a week your last 6 years, then, you know, 2 beers is a joke.
Right, but your tolerance obviously fluctuates depending on what you're doing. Like I had 2 glasses of wine, 2.5 glasses of wine, and I was effectively hung over the following day. But I rarely drink compared to, you know, the mess I used to be. I know it's hard to believe, but I used to actually be more of a mess than I am now.
And so people that are, you know, experienced with drugs require more drugs. And people that drink a lot require more anesthesia to get put to sleep.
Interesting.
Drinkers take more drugs.
And don't they bleed more in the face, like Lummy when they get bit by a dog?
Yeah, they're a little vascular.
They're a little bit vascular.
And they don't have good clotting because the liver helps with clotting.
Right.
And people with cirrhosis don't clot.
Right. And I feel like I've heard you talk about this before, Dan, regarding pain management, because there are a lot of people that obviously are going through a lot of pain for whatever reason. Maybe they had an injury or say have some sort of chronic issue. But it feels like pain management isn't something that a lot of doctors know how to effectively treat, right? Like, I mean, a lot of people just give them a bunch of pills and, whether or not they get addicted to it isn't really the doctor's problem, right? Like,
well, it wasn't over the years. Now it's become more of a consideration. But when you operate on someone, they're going to be in acute pain for several days.
Right.
And those people need their pain medicine.
Absolutely.
Someone that's got, fibromyalgia and wants narcotics for that, those are the people that are the problem.
Right.
Some people have chronic back pain, but some people have real injuries that need to be fixed. Some people just don't want that surgery and they walk around with the pain medicine. I know people that were on a lot of pain medicine for a lot of years and they don't like it. They don't like the way they feel. They don't like the way they act. They don't like the way they function and they want to get off of it. But
because it makes them mean.
Narcotic, it just makes them flat. Thing? Not mean. It just makes them different.
I've heard pills make people mean sometimes.
Steroids make you mean.
Well, not steroids, but I mean.
Pain pills will make you mean too.
Do they?
What is in a pain pill that makes you mean? Is it when you don't get it that you're mean?
Well, that too, but like also when you're on it, you have like
Does it change your?
You probably change your sensitivity to social cues when you're on narcotics.
Yeah.
And so you don't really interact normally.
Interesting. And maybe other things like irritate you more. Do you become more irritable?
Yeah. I'll tell you what,
like
though. This whole country is irritable right now. Everyone in this freaking world seems to be on the chip right now. And so what you're seeing now is little altercations escalating more now than they did even a couple years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Which is why I think that, this Russia thing is such a problem because people are like, at first they're like, oh, I feel badly. Now everyone's like, F Russia, F Ukraine, F you, F me, F everybody. And so everyone wants to fight. You're seeing just people just wanting to fight right now. Everyone's angry.
Paying $9 a gallon for gas.
Yeah, it's pissing everybody off. Everyone's irritated. Now, I think in Florida, certainly in Tampa Bay, I think that level of irritation went down dramatically last night around 7 o'clock. And so I think everyone in Tampa Bay is going to be dancing on their toes and singing in the clouds.
Right. What do you think is the best remedy for that, Dan? Because I agree
Happiness.
With you.
Some good news. People need good news. You need a bone every now and then. Okay, but Tampa got it with Tom Brady. God bless Tom Brady.
Say it again.
Tom Brady, number one, Tampa Bay. Okay. Super Bowl champions, world champions, Bubba.
But just if you're looking for happiness, you can't really rely on other people and good news to kind of
But it works.
I understand it works.
When
you
baseball,
can't rely on that though.
People were pretty happy that baseball isn't canceled.
Yes.
For those who cared.
Yeah, all 7 people.
Yeah. So.
Well, I think they're gonna get more people than that. People got to turn to something.
Oh, people will go watch it, but people don't really care.
But Dan, I'm looking for more
They
of
need good news. They need good news.
Dan,
and the economy sucks. Gas prices suck. War in Ukraine could escalate. The rest of the world's not getting any good news.
Dan,
people need a hug.
Okay, but what I'm asking here is like intrinsically, you can't really affect things that aren't in your inner world. What are some things you can do to maybe kind of calm yourself down? Like, Dan, what do you do to self-medicate? Do you meditate? I feel like I could see you kind of like as a yogi type. Just kidding. Absolutely not. Not. Have you ever meditated a day in your life?
Yes.
You have?
Uh-huh.
Like you seem like not the type. And I don't mean that in any bad way. It just seems like, you're almost like too busy to do that sort of stuff.
Well, true meditation takes a lot of time. It's a luxury. It's a luxury to have time to meditate.
Even just 5 minutes of just, quiet time, inner peace.
No, I have my 10 to 15 minutes of quiet time, inner peace. And really, one of the best catharses for me is showering. Like when I take a shower, I literally close my eyes in the shower almost the entire time.
Okay.
And that's my moment.
All
And
right.
so I shower twice a day at least.
Mm-hmm.
And those are my like 10 minutes of peace.
Okay.
No
The
one
best is
bothers
like
me.
when it's cold out and you're done taking a shower, then if the water's hot and you just stand there for a minute and you're like,
This
That is
morning,
really nice.
This morning, I didn't want to get out this
Yeah.
morning. It was tough.
What about when you're riding your bike? I mean,
I even shaved my toes. I was just trying to spend more time in the shower.
are you relaxed
Making
on
hairy.
that?
Huh?
When you're riding your bike, are you more
Yeah.
relaxed then too?
Yeah.
Yeah, getting outside, seeing nature, going for a walk, going for a bike ride. I have been trying to experiment a little bit with meditation. I don't know much about it, and I feel like I'm not very good at it. But as a doctor, Dan, I know probably meditation wasn't in the rotations that you did as a doctor or when you were in residency. But like, how do you feel about stuff like that? That's a bit more on the spiritual side of medicine, if you will, the more holistic side.
When I was in college, I took a relaxation class.
Oh, you did?
So I know how to do it very efficiently and very quickly.
Okay.
And it does help.
Okay.
And people do need to have some kind of
way to manage stress,
way to escape from stress. And
Yes.
so one of the best ways for me to escape from stress is driving on the racetrack, because so much is going on. You can't think about the things bothering you. You have to just focus on the task. And so
Right.
if people can
being
find
present.
a hobby or a pastime where they have to be so focused on that they have to let go of all the other things bothering them,
Yep.
they will find that to be very therapeutic to their mental
You
to
know,
the mentals.
it is really funny that you said that, and it's a perfect segue into my doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But even in the worst moments where, like, I'm having trouble breathing, I'm feeling my arm might break off, there is a sort of, like, high that I get because I'm so focused. I have to be so focused in the moment to how to either try a submission or escape one or defend myself or to try a new move on somebody. But you have to be so present in the moment. You don't have any time to think about tomorrow or yesterday or worry about anything, because you have to be so focused in the moment about, is this person about to grab my arm? Are they about to sweep my ankle? Like, I don't know. So I think that you do have something there where you need to find something that allows you to really stay present in the moment. I think that's important. I've also, and I'm not preaching this at all, do whatever you want, by all means, I don't care. But I think this has really helped me out. I quit my own social media I've been off for about 5-6 weeks now. I'm still running the Bubba Army Instagram and stuff like that, but as far as my own personal one it's done. It's gone. It's
Everything?
not gone. It's there.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Yeah.
I've noticed that a lot of people are starting to do that lately.
Yeah, I have a few of my friends have started to do it as well. I'll go on Facebook occasionally just to look at like events and stuff going on, but that's not something that captivates my attention where I was spending hours and hours on it like I was on Instagram. My name is Anna Hummel, and I was addicted to Instagram, and I had to just take myself off the needle because I apparently couldn't just spend 5 or 10 minutes. 5 or 10 minutes turned into an hour. I would just blink and I'd be like, what? I'd be just like in a haze, and I'd like awake and I'd be like, what the hell happened? Where did that hour go? And after wasting so much time and feeling bad about all the things I could be doing instead of wasting it on social media, becoming experts on these strangers' lives, I just decided I'm done with it for now. So I've been off for about 5-6 weeks, and it is really helped. I have no idea what's going on in any of these people's lives, and it's kind of liberating.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Take a look
I've seen
it.
I've seen that where either people will cut down on a lot of people they're following, just like people that they don't know or haven't. Like when you first start on there, it's like, hey, we suggest these 80 people. You want us to add them, and so they will.
And you'll look at it if it's there.
Yeah, and so they start taking those people off or just using it a lot less. I've noticed that lately.
Adventures on Tour 50 Super Chat. Woo.
Yeah, I've been a lot less focused on my phone lately because I did have like the phantom Instagram finger, because I would just immediately pick up my phone and start like look, and I'm like, it's not there, Anna. So go do something more productive.
Right.
And for the first 2 weeks, it was kind of bad where I just kept like looking at my phone. But now it's like I can go a lot longer without looking at it. I also was trying to restore my attention span because it was gone. I don't know about you, but even when I was watching something and was entertained by it, or having a conversation with a friend that was entertaining, I still felt the urge to check my phone frequently. For what reason, I don't know. But I've been trying to make it a point to put the phone down for maybe at least an hour and just walk away from it. and then return and not just be a slave to it. So it's been good.
So during Kevin's thing,
Yeah.
I left my phone at home, and I didn't realize it
by
until
accident.
until I got there, and I was like, "Oh, now what am I going to do?" And I felt lost without it.
Yeah, but then you realized I have another phone, and then you pulled that one out.
Well, yeah, but people don't have that number. Like, if they're going to get a hold of me, they're going to text my other number. I'm like, oh, no, now what? Like, Jay texted me, and I went to go reply to him. Like, oh, I don't have my phone. Damn it.
Right. It can be a problem. But, Dan, what's the best way? If you realize that you have a problem where you're addicted to pain meds, what's step one about how to kind of undo that damage? Is it to say, obviously admit you have a problem, but then, like, where do you turn to?
Well, you need to turn to a doctor that is able to help you get off of those. And so there's specific methods that have been proven to be effective to make it easier to get off of those medications. But it's not foolproof, and a lot of people relapse.
And is it the best way to? You definitely need to be under the supervision of a physician.
You don't need to be, but you need to have some kind of support group. If it's not the physician, it's a community-based group, or your family, or a hospital, or a center. But you need that support because it's comprehensive. It's not just, you can't just like pull out that one thing. It's like pulling a brick out of an arch. The whole arch falls.
Right.
So you have to adjust the other things that contribute to that. And that includes, diet, exercise, work, social interactions, and sleep, and something to sometimes substitute for the narcotic or take the edge off the withdrawal.
Right.
Or a combination.
Because it's a delicate balance because as far as I understand, obviously you can die from an overdose, but you can also die from withdrawals, right?
Yeah,
like
very
if you
few
do it too
people
quickly.
die from withdrawals, but withdrawals can become
like heroin,
very, very
violent.
Violent.
Right?
Yes.
I think
vomiting, seizures.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, really, really horrible hallucinations, horrible stuff.
And a lot
happens.
of those, you should not stop cold turkey either. You
with like heroin, say.
Off.
I know heroin's not
like benzos.
Okay.
Yeah, all of them.
A lot of people commit suicide on that.
If you get off of benzos too quickly, you can get a seizure.
Yeah.
Interesting. So it's not just I knew this, but just to reiterate, it's not just a psychological dependency. It's also a physiological dependency.
A physical versus
right.
psychological.
Well, I guess it's both, right? Because you're just like, you feel like you need it, but also your body goes into shock, it seems like.
So if you go through a true withdrawal, it becomes a physical dependency. So you don't really have a true withdrawal from like marijuana, which is why they call it a psychological dependency.
Right. Okay.
But you have a true withdrawal from alcohol, from narcotics, from benzodiazepines.
And so the best method is to, like you said, get a support group and try to wean yourself off of it.
Right.
And
but you can't do it alone.
No
one can do it alone. Very, very, very rarely are people successful when they try to do it alone.
You need help. You need
help. The other problem is that people, again, there's a lot of recidivism. There's people bounce back into narcotics again. They seem to have a lot of people that have this problem have a very intense personality, and sometimes they'll have to substitute the narcotics for something else, or drinking for something else, like like MMA fighting or cycling or running or triathlons or something like that. They have something that requires a lot of effort and time to take up those quiet times. One of the reasons that actors all smoked back in the day is because they're sitting around waiting for the next set. They got nothing else to do. They can't drink. They're just sitting around. They start smoking a cigarette because there's nothing else to do. They're bored out of their minds. And so people that have nothing going on are a better setup for substance abuse because there's nothing going on. You're just watching, Family Feud at 11 o'clock like Tom Brady.
It's still the same way, but like it's so weird. If you're at a job, like a regular office job, and now it's getting to be different, but 10 years ago even, if you needed to go take a smoke break, no problem. But if you just needed to go take a break,
it's a problem.
Yeah, you can't do that. But if you need to smoke 10 times an hour, that's fine.
Yeah, if you want to just go walk around, it wasn't allowed.
Yeah, I need a walking break. What?
Yeah, but there was literally people at a job I worked at like 10 years ago that took up smoking so that they could go take breaks because the boss would yell at them if they were just hanging out.
Absolutely. I just like 6-7 years ago when I was working at a bar in Detroit, people who were smokers were allowed to take smoke breaks.
Yeah.
And I just started saying, I'm taking a smoke break.
Right.
And then my coworker would be like, you smoke? I'm like, no, but I'm going to go walk around the building and just take a break for a second.
It's ridiculous.
A non-smoking smoke break. It's a mental health break, please.
It's only fair.
Hello, who's this?
Hi, good morning, guys. This
Hi.
is Big Mike FTE from California.
Hey, what's going on?
Good morning, Big
How are
Mike.
the gas prices out there? Kicking?
Oh, they're great. I absolutely love them. It's my favorite thing to do. Go spend close to $100 just to fill up my little Ford Flex with gas.
What's the craziest price? What's the craziest price you've encountered? Did it break like 6 or something?
Almost. It's like $5.79 for
Okay.
regular gasoline. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah. And where in California are you, buddy?
I'm about 2 hours north of where you were from.
San Diego?
A little area. Yeah. Well, north of San Diego on the 15 freeway. Little town called Phelan or Victorville, Hesperia area.
I know Victorville. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so
Is 760 area code?
Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
You got it.
Yep. Nailed it. Got it. Yep. Mm-hmm. And I've known people from Victorville before, and I've driven through it. It's a terrible town.
I figured I'd call in only because you guys are discussing a topic that goes through my mind on a daily basis. Back in December of 2009, I was injured at work. It took me till 2013 to have back surgery.
Mm-hmm.
So the doctors just kept feeding me pills.
Can I ask what you were on, what you were prescribed?
In the beginning, it was just Norco. But then after, a year or two, your body becomes
tolerant
adapted to those.
Of course.
And it doesn't work.
So then what did you get on?
Percocet.
Yes, exactly.
Perks, okay.
Yep. But I've been on those since then. Like that was back in 2011.
Now are they just far less effective now?
No. They do what they what they're designed to do. But in my head, I know it can't be good for my body to continue using them, and but I know I can't do what I need to do, go to work, and I do a lot of work with the railroad, so in order for me to get through my day, they do exactly what they're designed to do.
Okay. And you've been on the same like dosage for years now. You haven't upped the ante at all.
Nope. Same deal. Same dosage. Same
Dan, what's your
amount,
call on that?
everything.
Is this okay?
Well, I mean, he's tolerating it. He's trying to get surgery. It's become a temporary stopgap for surgery, and hopefully after surgery, he's off the meds.
Hold on, you said you got surgery, right?
2013.
Oh yeah. So I was injured in December of 2009.
Right.
Surgery was in February of 2013, and I had a 4-level spinal fusion, is what I had.
Oh.
So
serious.
Yeah, but you know what? Compared to how I was before surgery, I couldn't even sit upright in a chair.
Jeez.
I had to lay flat on my back, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a commercial truck driver. I had to go through a crap load of tests through the DMV in the state of California to be able to retain my commercial license. But I will say, even it messes with my head more than it does anything else. Just knowing, my God, I'm taking these crazy drugs, and and then I get behind the wheel, but it doesn't affect me in the way that it affects most
other people.
Yeah.
At least you don't think so.
But you've adapted to it because you've been taking it for so long.
Yes, exactly. And I will say this, and Dan, maybe you could chime in a little bit. Whenever I go to refill my prescriptions, the pharmacist, regardless of who they are, man, woman, or whatever, they make you feel like a piece of garbage.
Oh, yeah.
There's like a stigma.
God, on it.
There definitely is now.
For pink pills?
Yeah.
I've never tried to get them.
Mm-hmm.
The women.
And how many are you getting a month? And of like what dose are you getting? Like 10 325s?
Yep, and I get 90 a month.
Well,
and
yeah,
it's been that way for 6-7 years now.
You think you'd garner like more sympathy if you came in with like a neck brace or something? Maybe you should try that.
Yeah, walk in with a crush.
You know what? I thought if I used a cane or something,
Yeah.
Or roll into a wheelchair.
There'd be less judgment there. But Dan, is there really any risk in terms of taking these pills if it's just overdosing, right? Is that what we're worried about? It's not like do they cause any other issues other than killing you if you take too much?
There's two things.
Okay.
Number one, narcotics in themselves are not a very poisonous drug for you.
Right.
So they don't really hurt your body. The biggest side effect with too much at once is you stop breathing.
Right.
But if you take out that risk, it doesn't really hurt your body.
Okay.
What hurts your body over time is the lifestyle, because people that are taking that don't eat correctly, and they have other issues like they drive on them, they get in accidents. And so even though this guy can take 30 milligrams of Percocet a day, if he's behind the wheel, whether or not he thinks it's affecting him, it'll show up in his blood, and then he's culpable, and he's got exposure.
All that acetaminophen every day too is probably not good.
Yes, too much Tylenol will poison your liver over time, but not as badly as too much non-steroidals will kill your kidneys.
Right.
So,
but that's also
it's a balance.
That's why they've lowered the acetaminophen in those too.
Yes,
acetaminophen is
Tylenol.
in Percocets?
Yes,
Okay.
it's the acet part.
Acetaminophen is in a lot of drugs.
Right.
A lot of drugs.
But they used to have a lot more in it, and they've lowered it now.
It only takes takes 12 grams of Tylenol and at once to kill 50% of the people that take it.
Ooh. Yeah. Whoa.
Well, I will say this. When like I told you, I had to go through all these tests for the state of California. They did test me. They did a EEG. They did all these different tests just to ensure that, okay, yeah, you are taking this drug and it will affect your how you function. My test came back completely negative, or I don't know, Dan, maybe it's not negative. It came back not showing that my equilibrium,
You're functional.
reaction
You're functional
time.
on the medication. You just shouldn't be a commercial driver.
Yes.
Well, period. You shouldn't.
True that.
People
I know,
but not on narcotics. You shouldn't.
Right.
So.
Taking three perks a day.
Yeah, and
driving?
so when your blood gets checked after a big accident, you're going to be liable. Doesn't matter what you did wrong.
I completely get it.
Yeah.
No. And I get it. I just it just like that's why I was telling you, like with me it's a real mental thing, because like I know what I'm taking, I know what it can do to me, and if I get in an accident, I'm already at fault regardless of what the accident was.
Exactly.
I'm already at fault because of the drug.
Right.
But without it, I can't go to work.
It's a fine line, brother.
Yeah.
It's a fine line, and it
sucks. A lot of people are in that same boat.
Yes, there are.
Yeah.
And they need some narcotic, but a lot of people don't need the narcotics that they're taking, and so it's such a balance, and it's become such a hot topic amongst pundits because it's an easy target.
And it's going to get harder.
Easy to pick on.
It's going to get harder and harder to find a doctor that's going to write you 90 perks a month every month.
Right. And is there any way to, and it seems to be the fact that with narcotics, for pain management, it can't really be divorced from also the aspect where it kind of gets you high as well, right? Like, is that's part of the reason why it works? Is it kind of just like alters your state of mind, not just eliminating the pain? Do you know what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying, and they're trying to find a balance where there's the analgesia without the euphoria.
Right. Okay. Meaning the reduction
pain
of
relief
pain
without the good feeling.
Right.
And so they're trying to, and all the the other pain medicines like tramadol and these other ones
that don't work.
They're just
trying
not as
to be
effective.
a balance.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not as effective, but they're trying to give you less euphoria.
Sure.
I gotcha.
Well, let me tell you, I'll let you guys go, but I really wish there was something I could take that would
What
at
about
least
marijuana?
take the pain
Or
away.
you'd be high driving. That's probably not the move.
Yeah,
I don't
probably
know.
not.
Yeah, I don't
Well,
know.
yeah.
What about
Bad
CBD?
advice.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's another thing. It's just everything will show up in a urinalysis, and
it's a bust.
Yes. Well, thank you.
Thank
guys
you.
very
Yeah,
much.
thanks
All right, man,
for
good luck.
calling in.
And great show.
Narcotics Anonymous, 813-90-BUBBA. Please call in. Hello, welcome to the program. Who's this?
Hey, Anna. It's Dave. How are you?
What's up, Dave?
Hey, something I was going to say something when you were talking earlier about kind of Dan was saying like find a hobby.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like that,
Go ahead.
Get your mind sort of occupied with something else.
Mm-hmm.
I started skydiving, and I tell you what,
Oh,
skydiving.
interesting.
You talk about like having your problems just go away and not think, because you know what, you're up there and then you just there's a sort of, obviously the adrenaline's high.
Sure.
But then once you release the parachute and it's just silence and
But how
drifting.
And I'm sure that helps, but like, how often do you skydive?
You doing it every day?
No, like once a year. Like
Once
I
a
just
year?
do it when I'm stressed. Yeah,
Oh.
like once a year, just to do it when I'm stressed. And,
Oh, you
and
do
then
it
it kind
as
of
therapy. So you treat it as therapy.
Oh, okay.
That's great. Good for him.
Yeah.
Interesting.
All right, have a good one.
All right, thank you.
Has anyone skydived in here?
Hell no.
No, I want to though.
No way.
I do not want to.
Dan, I feel like that's not your poison.
I almost did it when I was in college. Now I don't want to do it.
No.
I don't want to get hurt.
Yeah, no, because I feel like
Even
you're
if it
most
goes
likely
well-
not going to break a leg. You're probably going to die.
Or it's easy to twist an ankle.
Sure, but I mean, I feel like that's really not the ultimate fear of skydiving, is that you're going to twist an ankle, it's that you're going to break your neck. You know what I mean?
You're just gonna splat on the
Yeah,
ground.
you're
Yeah.
gonna
Dog
splat,
on a windshield.
and everyone's going to
Right.
see it, and and then
Dog's
it will,
gonna bite you in the face after you land.
Yep, because you're wearing a diaper and your harness is too tight. It's going to rip your legs apart. So
Yeah.
that's what's going to happen. All right, we got to do some words, but we'll be back with more Tom Brady talk. So stay tuned.
The Bubba Radio Network will return after this.
I'll be back in 2 seconds.
If Blitz comes in, we might be okay. Yay, Blitz. What's on the door? Yeah, London Monarch. That might be a positive.
Huh?
I get stressed once a year. Sure did, Joe Carnes.
Did you hear about Tom Brady?
What happened?
He's coming back, bro.
I thought he was just going to be directing a movie.
No.
He's directing a movie.
Hey Jay, what's up?
How are you?
Good.
Jay's here.
How are you?
Good.
What you on mic for?
There's no mic here, but you want me to use a remote?
Oh, there's no mic?
I'll put it in.
Okay. How you doing, Lemmy?
Good, how you doing?
I'm good. Going skiing tomorrow for the first time in 15 years.
Nice.
Snowboarding. Excited. How's the baby?
Great.
Tom Brady. What up with that?
What?
We were just talking about how our box was going to suck, Blitz. No one was going to be there. It was like, the only reason we ever had a cool box last year was because Tom Brady was there. And so all of a sudden it's like, it's going to be an
I'm
awesome
working on that
season.
stuff for you, by the way.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, just
Thank
so you know.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
purposely ignored you for like 12 hours on Saturday. I told him to get back to you, but he refused.
Well,
You-
I know how he goes.
You
He
text-
gets back to me when I do the same thing to him.
You texted me,
Yeah.
and then I left to go to Kevin's party and left
Yeah.
my phone at home.
Yeah.
And I had my other phone. I was like, I'm gonna text. Oh,
Well,
I can't text you back.
you're one of those guys that you don't return every text, and I don't take it like the
Yeah,
one
no.
about the car show. I texted him I was going to go to the car show about 2 days
jerk.
beforehand,
Yeah.
and then he ended up there.
Because I didn't know if I was gonna go.
I know
Yeah.
there's. I put it. On, you are like I am.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not the best returner of texts.
I know. But no,
How you doing,
I'm
Dan?
working on that for you.
Good morning. Tom Brady. All of a sudden, our box is cool again. There
I
was
know.
going to ever be no one's going to ever come to our box again.
Yeah.
It would have been crickets. Us and Pop Up.
Yeah, you guys were like, finally some relief.
Yeah, exactly. Did you see that podcast with Trump on it that got taken down after 24 hours? There's these kids from, that's something interesting to talk about. There's these kids from the UFC that do a podcast, not from the UFC, that do a podcast on the UFC, and Dana White put them in
Oh, I
contact
heard
with Trump.
something. Okay.
And so Trump was on for about 50 minutes, and he talked about everything.
Yeah.
Or I told Putin,
Yeah.
don't do it.
Right.
And he went through the whole thing. And he said to the kids, he goes, I dare you to put this up on YouTube. It's going to be taken down.
Yeah.
And let's see how you guys handle it when you're canceled. And one of them's like, we won't let you down, Mr. President. But it happened in 24 hours, 5.5 million views, and
Yeah.
they shut it down. He didn't
Yeah.
say anything controversial.
Right.
I watched the whole thing.
So crazy.
This is the bike that Dan got you sent me, Lemmy?
Let me step out.
Probably. Is it a white bike?
I've never even heard of this brand of bike. Scott?
Mm-hmm.
I only know a Schwinn.
I guess he had a rally too where he had
I guess I only
87,000
know
people in Texas a week or two ago.
I know bikes like I know cars.
They have
In
wheels.
sports. Yeah, they have wheels, they go. and I don't like
They
to
got
use
a
either of them.
chain. They got handlebars.
The handlebars are the one thing they don't have in common on it.
Yeah.
What?
Cars and bikes.
Unless you're driving like a rickshaw.
What's up, Mark the Frog? Dash cam. What's up, Ice Boys?
Oh, DuPont's doing a thing at Armature Works this weekend.
Really? Saturday? I'm gonna be
Because not
in
all.
Vail.
Because not all of them are DuPont.
Yeah.
This
Some
one,
of them
this
are
one,
just Chad. Is it DuPont?
Right. This one is.
Yeah, I'd like to do one of those soon. I left the car at the house for a little while.
Did you?
Yeah, I had it up in the garage for a few months.
Right.
I put 100 miles on it that day.
Oh man, 100 miles. Whew.
Oh, it was awesome. I fucking had the best day ever, man.
Yeah.
I literally,
Yeah,
I
I
went
did
up
too.
to the car show with you guys, and then I went down and I saw Danny for a little while, and then one of Dr. Halpern.
Yeah, yeah.
It was his birthday, and he's been dying to see one, so I took him for a ride like with you.
Oh, cool,
So
yeah.
we went on across town, and he and I
Right.
went for a little ride, and then that afternoon Trey was meeting his friend somewhere, and so I dropped him off somewhere,
That's
and
cool.
so it was just an awesome day. And
What does he think about that stuff?
he likes he loves it all, but he likes to take on.
Really?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Now car shows are too early for him to get out of bed.
Right.
At 14, he's sleeping until 11:30.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Wish I did
When he
today.
gets to be a junior, senior, he'll come again.
When he starts driving.
Yeah. When I say, hey, you want to drive one of the cars? When it come, we'll bring 2 cars.
Yeah.
Did you have a good weekend?
Yeah,
Weather
I
was
did.
kind of shitty Saturday, huh?
It was,
It was rainy in the morning.
It
Yeah.
was windy
super
and cold, but I mean, it was alright. Warmed up yesterday quite a bit.
Yes. Today, 40 degrees too. 39 to 79.
It's gonna be like 80 something today, though.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like this whole
30,
week. is gonna be-
39 to 79.
This whole
I
week
think.
is gonna be perfect.
41
Well,
to
the
81.
rain, isn't it supposed to
Yesterday
rain
was
for 2 days?
39 to 79. Today's 41 to 81.
What we got? Whoa. What we got? The PF. For sure.
What's 41? It wasn't 41 this morning. It was
It
54.
was supposed to be.
Oh,
That's what it said last night it was. It was too, but at like midnight.
Yeah, warmed up quick.
It did.
That's the thing about Florida this time of year. It'll get cold for a day or two, then snap back to hot.
Yeah, and 85, 90. Spring breakers are weather.
Live from the Sunbelt Rental Studios, it's the Bubba the Love Sponge Show.
Coming in hot, coming in dry. Welcome back to the Bubba the Love Sponge Show. This is Anna speaking. Bubba's not here today. He's on his way back from LJ, Georgia, so he will be back with us tomorrow. And we will be back on Twitch, and everything will resume as normal. Jay, welcome to the studio.
Good morning.
I don't know if you heard, Jay, but Tom Brady's coming back to town. I don't know if you heard about that.
I had not heard. I've been just inundated with war TV. I'm so over it. I was so happy to hear about Tom Brady.
Right,
I mean,
that's
honestly, so happy.
And that seems to be the sentiment in this room and possibly all over the city, all over Tampa Bay, and maybe all over Florida.
Jay came in and he said, finally, people want to go in our box again.
Again, it's the truth. We were thinking next year was going to be crickets. Who's going to come see anybody?
Oh, so that's good for business for you as well, obviously.
Well, for fun.
Oh, for fun on
The box
Sundays.
has been a lot of fun. We had a
Can't
lot
you
of
rent
cool
it out
people
and
come up there.
stuff?
Yeah,
No,
who's
we
going
don't
to
do
want to
that.
rent out to watch,
We're not allowed
Kyle
to profit
Trask.
off the bucket.
Yeah.
Our father won't allow us to.
Oh,
We
your
never
dad.
profit
I
off
forgot
of the
Joe.
box.
Right,
Yeah,
Joe's. So what does Papa Joe think about all this? Is he ecstatic? Does he know? Is he
Yes,
awake?
He's
okay.
so excited.
He's
and
very
he is
excited.
awake. Yes.
Okay, and how was your weekend? Did you do anything fun? Dan went go-karting and spun out, and the whole bike caper and
Little Danny spun out?
Oh, I spun out
Big
too.
Danny.
Big
They
Dan.
both did.
Big Dan.
Really? Would you
Danny
take
got
him out?
third in the first. There's this. He kept spinning in this one section. He did 2 360s, beautiful 360s, and so Big Red let me try his like really fast cart, and I spun twice in the same damn place.
Really?
And one of the times I ended up like in the infield covered in grass.
what if his brakes weren't working, Jay?
His brakes failed.
Were you wearing your helmet? Were you wearing your Ferrari
I had
helmet?
all my stuff, but he souped it up, but he didn't bleed the brake lines, and so I had no brakes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
brakes are
no.
overrated.
That's
He
hilarious.
used the wall. He spun out. He's fine. But Jay, what did you get into this weekend?
Well, it
Anything
was
fun?
Spring break
cool?
for my son, so we had a couple kids over last night, and
Okay.
we took the golf cart around, and I was just getting ready for my snowboard trip.
Is that what they do in Davis Island? It's a golf cart city, right?
Yeah,
Is
it
that...
is. It's actually pretty cool. So at 14, I let him pretty much have free reign of the island. And,
Okay.
It's like the Villages.
Yeah, it's just like the
It's
Villages,
like
but
the
for teenagers.
Villages. Okay, cool. And you're going snowboarding, I'm assuming not in Costa Rica.
No, I wish I was going to Costa Rica.
I don't
Everyone I know is
know.
in Costa Rica right now for spring break.
Okay.
But no, I'm going to Vail. I haven't snowboarded since I was.
Where's that?
It's
In
in
Colorado?
Where's
Okay.
that?
I don't know. I've heard of Breckenridge. I haven't heard of
it's
Vail.
about
Never
half
heard of
an hour
Vail?
away from there.
No, I don't know
planet are you
fancy
from?
things.
It really is from half an hour
I'm
from
from San
Breckenridge.
Diego. I know Big Bear, and that's pretty much it. But okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
You got into that.
Yeah.
And and like you were saying, and I feel like this is the sentiment, and even I'm grateful for some sports news just to get out of your head about everything that's been going on with World War III and this and that. And here's the thing. It's like you want to stay informed, but you don't want to be bummed out every moment of every day.
So sick of it.
You know what I mean?
War.
Like-
and it's like my kids are bombarded with it, and it's like all
The
these
kids are
talking
bombarded
heads.
with World War III?
It's on every channel. It's on
Yeah.
Nickelodeon. It's on every channel. in the world. I mean,
Nickelodeon?
like literally, my daughter said everything I see, they're wearing blue and yellow.
Oh, I see
So
what
it's
you mean.
everybody who was a talking head on COVID is now an expert on nuclear war.
On global
And so
affairs.
it's all these dumbasses on television that don't know anything about any of it, and they just stick their nose out there now. So now it seems like the sentiment is everyone in America wants to pay more for gasoline because everyone in America wants
I see what you're saying.
America to give warplanes through Poland. There's no everyone wants to do everything.
Right.
It's a very tenuous situation. There's so much nuance to it, and it's like I'm so sick of hearing people talk about it like they know anything about it. No one knows the history of it.
But the worst of all is our vice president speaking about it with absolutely no insight.
Like
to it
Dr.
at all.
Seuss.
I need to grab
Ukraine
that.
is a small country.
Yeah.
I mean,
Russia's
she's just
a big country.
Yeah.
Russia wanted to invade the small
disgrace.
country, and that's how it goes.
I mean, people can agree or disagree with policies, but when
Sure.
someone shows an absolute lack of understanding
Competence.
and competence of a topic,
Yeah,
it's
it's
embarrassing.
frightening.
And she's just an embarrassment to the country, to NATO, to all of it.
Well, there's one where
To other powerful women that got to their positions because they deserved it, not just
They
because
slept
they
their
were
way to the
giving
top.
it to them.
So many of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were actually watching a little bit of SNL. I wanted to see if they still got it. Because, you know,
Did
when
they do anything funny yet?
Well, no, but here's the
Right.
thing is, like, they were really giving it to Trump, you know, with Alec Baldwin before he murdered somebody.
Jim.
And now when they have, they're impersonating Biden, I'm thinking, okay, well, at least they're being even. They're making fun of both sides. Not at all.
No, not
Well,
at
look,
all.
Jim Carrey did the funniest Joe Biden ever in those debates, and he said he wouldn't do it.
He
And
wouldn't do it?
Yeah, he
Now?
had 4 years. He had 4 years like Alec Baldwin did of the
Oh.
funniest Joe Biden you've ever seen in your life.
Right.
And what they did is they decided not to cover it in any funny way. And they've done every president as long as I've been alive. They've made fun of him as part of SNL.
Right, but this sketch I did this past weekend is like not even that bad. They're like, oh, he's old, but like they're not going in on him. But that way they
Not
can
at
say,
all.
oh, well, look, we go after all the presidents. Just we do it all.
Did you see the
Right.
Ghost of Christmas Past one? That one was pretty funny.
No, I didn't. That
Where
was
they
on
showed,
SNL.
like,
They
yeah,
did something
showed,
funny?
like- yeah, they
Who
showed like
knew?
Joe Biden when he was like all young, wearing aviator glasses, coming out, showing his fingers and stuff. And
Oh,
then they showed him
okay.
all old, not knowing
That's a
where he
good
was.
premise.
Pretty funny, actually.
Yeah, but I mean, that's not really hating on the guy.
No, they
It's-
weren't.
No,
it's
no,
old.
it's
I mean,
softball stuff.
Yeah.
Trump was just an idiot every.
And they were
course.
calling
Every
all
week.
their followers racist.
Right.
and-
Yeah, but they try to make it seem like they're playing both sides by making fun of Joe Biden, and
Right.
he wasn't making fun of. They weren't making fun of him at all. That he had dementia, that he was
They
pooping
made
his
fun
pants.
of Ronald Reagan
And they
for
love
dementia.
to make fun of oh God, I'm drawing a blank on her.
Palin.
Sarah
Palin.
Palin.
Oh, yeah.
And they won't touch Kamala.
from
No, they can't.
They won't
Yeah.
touch Kamala.
It's because it's
Right.
too real. It's too real for
Kamala
everybody.
standing on the east flank, north flank, no west flank.
Yeah.
Exactly. East flank, north flank, west
I
flank.
need to see that clip. I missed
pretty
it.
bad.
Yeah, I heard it was pretty bad. Unfortunately, we can't play any
I
videos
know.
until tomorrow. So you're just gonna have to look it up on your own time, folks. But maybe we can play it tomorrow when Bubba is back, and we will be back on Twitch.
Yep.
Hopefully, and God willing. Let's take this call. Hopefully, it's a good one. Who's this? Welcome to the show, the Bubba the Love Sponge Show. That is. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can. Yes, sir.
Hi, good morning, guys. My name is Frankie. I'm calling from Guatemala.
Okay.
Okay.
How are you watching
I used to listen.
Facebook.
Actually, I've got you on Facebook, so the feed comes up, and so when you guys are live,
Okay.
I can see you.
Hi.
I listened to the show a long time ago, so when I moved to Guatemala, it's been a while since I listened to the show.
Okay.
I think it's a lot. I gotta praise you guys. It's a lot better. Anna, I believe that's your name, correct?
Yep,
I
you
do
got
apologize
it.
if I got it wrong.
Yep.
I think you are one hell of a talent.
Oh, thanks.
And I'll tell you why.
I didn't stage this, by the way.
No.
I didn't stage this caller. Go ahead.
Usually,
Blitz is in the other room.
Yeah.
in the old days,
Hello.
in the old days, Manson used to be the one hosting the show, and I just turned it off because it was too boring. But you seem to keep things going, which is what I like.
I'm just trying to keep it afloat till the boss gets back. So, but thank you though.
I know, but I appreciate what you're doing. And guys, one thing I want to talk about real quick. I know you're talking about Ukraine and Russia.
Sure, go ahead.
But I really am disappointed. When I'm talking about football now. I'm really disappointed in Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron
I think
Rodgers.
This guy.
Those are fighting words around
'cause
here.
I think this guy's a total hypocrite because he's doing the same thing that Brett Favre was doing many years ago. If you remember,
I agree.
He was supposed to retire, and then he was not going to retire, and then he's putting down the organization. But yet, Aaron, who was sitting behind the scenes, was saying, "Damn, this guy is a jerk." But he's doing the same thing, and now all of a sudden he trashes Green Bay, and I'm going to move on. And as soon as Green Bay puts the money in front of him, obviously it didn't matter. So to me,
Who
he's a
would it matter
hypocrite.
to, though?
Well, he never really trashed
$200
Green
million?
Bay, though. He never
No.
really trashed it. I mean,
He just called him out for not making a
Yeah,
decision
he-
and leaving
yeah.
him hanging
He
when he's
wasn't
one of the
happy.
best. I'm not a huge Aaron Rodgers fan by any means, but he had one of the best seasons ever last year. He was one of the top performing quarterbacks in the NFL. He deserved being where he is. They should have never left him in limbo 2 years ago, and he wouldn't have been as bitter as he is. I would be bitter too if the place that I made my home forever treated me like crap at the end. So they're treating him better now. I don't think there's is there a lot of drama going on in the locker room right now?
But the difference between what's going on is that Brett Favre was doing that before they drafted Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers was not doing that before they drafted Jordan Love. So It's not like they drafted Brett Favre was there. He was happy, not threatening retirement. Then they drafted a quarterback. So it's a little bit different. I mean, they drafted his replacement while he was still there.
For you trashing your boss. That's what I think. Why would you trash your boss? If you don't like it, leave.
When's the last time you did it, though? It's been a long time.
It's different, though, sir, because it's just not like a regular boss we can just pick up and go and get another job. They're tied to contracts. They're restricted as to where they can go outside of their contract, and so it's a dance they have to play. And so he has to try to maximize his benefits and maintain his longevity. But, the Green Bay Packers did not have a path forward without Aaron Rodgers. Nope. The Bucs do not have a path forward without Tom Brady. And so both teams needed those two quarterbacks. And I'm glad that hopefully they'll both have them because it makes the NFL better.
It does make
I think the NFL
better.
with Tom Brady at the Bucs and Aaron Rodgers at Green Bay is a better NFL than without those two guys.
Yep. Yeah. That's like, Tiger
people care
Woods
about.
and
No one
PGA.
cares about, our backup quarterback from Florida. They could give two rats' asses about him.
One day he may be great, but
yeah,
right
but not
now he's
now.
not filling stadiums.
No, and right now the NFL needs superstars. The world needs superstars.
Yeah.
All we got is Putin. We need Brady.
And I agree. But I just, even ESPN was saying it.
Yeah, but they just gives them something to talk about, man.
Move on.
Yeah, it just gives
Well, he
them
was
something
talking
to
about
talk
moving on, which is why the Packers gave him a contract. And when you say he talked trash about, what are you saying that he talked trash about?
When he says that the Green Bay organization doesn't care what his opinion is, or it was.
It's not really trashing it. If they don't care about your opinion, then you're giving. If he has to answer a question, and they're asking you what, and they're like, well, they don't care about my opinion. So I mean, that's not really trashing. It's not like he said Green Bay's trash.
Right.
Why stir all the
Antonio
drama?
Brown
Why
trashed
stir
the
all
Bucs.
the drama? Why stir all the drama and give the press something to talk about? It makes no sense.
Because they don't. He wasn't happy there, so he was voicing his opinion and saying that they don't care what my opinion is.
Didn't it work out in his favor because he got the the deal of a lifetime.
Biggest, yeah,
It
biggest
did, yeah.
contract in NFL history.
So maybe that was the move. I don't know.
It seems like the right move, and he made it to the
Money
championship
talks
game
and
last
BS
year.
walks, guys. That's
Well, you know what?
Well,
What
that's
talked
how
was
the
his
world works.
performance. If he had talked this year and done nothing, he'd get no contract. He wouldn't have got $200 million. He'd be sitting in the old man retirement.
Both guys had amazing years. Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers both had incredible years, and so they both deserve another shot at a title with their respective teams. I applaud both decisions of both guys coming back.
I wish Tom Brady would get $51 million.
Have they ever? Again, I don't know anything about sports, so I'm just trying to keep up. But have they've never played each other in the Super Bowl? Have they?
They wouldn't.
Oh, because they're in the same league.
Not now, but I mean even before
Conference.
they
Conference. Sorry.
Yep.
Okay, never mind.
Well, guys, thank you so much. Anna, thank you for doing the show. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you.
And
Thanks
say
for
hello to
listening
Bubba.
from Guatemala.
I'll be talking to you guys soon. Yeah.
Thanks.
All right,
Bye-bye.
great.
He's the only guy
The
left in
land of
Guatemala.
tamales.
Guatemala. Thank you very
Everyone
much.
else has made their way up here.
Didn't
Went
catch
the
the
opposite
last
way
name.
on the border.
Yeah,
he left from
exactly.
Guatemala. He had a different country code and everything. That's fine.
Yeah, I did. I did check that.
Yeah.
All right, we got to do some words. We'll be back right after this.
The Bubba Radio Network will return after this.
Aaron Rodgers' contract's not even done yet, so.
No.
All right, I'm going to go to the...
I mean, realistically.
I'm happy for both the teams. They both.
I am
they both.
too. Both cities are going to be buzzing.
Makes the NFL that much better.
Yep.
Yeah, it's awesome.
All right, guys. Have a great day.
Yeah. I mean, we were literally thinking there was no one. We were going to have crickets in there in the box. You know what I mean? It's going to make for the whole stadium's going to be packed again.
I know.
I said this when we were on the air way back when. I said, I don't know if he's really retiring. He never actually said it.
No, he never came out and used those exact words. He said he was going to see.
I'm just going to spend more time with my family. And I felt like the Gronk was, for me, that was the tell. If Gronk had retired as soon as he did, I would have felt like, okay, Tom's done.
Yeah.
But Gronk floating around still, I was like, wait a minute, the only reason, because I believe once Brady retires, Gronk's done, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think he'll play another day without him.
Question.
Yeah. I couldn't see him playing with Trist.
No, well, he's talked about he would sign or go somewhere else, supposedly, like Bubba.
Gronk? How
I don't think so.
30.
He's a baby. He only played 7
He's only
years.
34?
Yeah,
He only
he's
played 7
young.
years before he retired the first time.
Okay.
But he was so broken.
I mean, I knew he was
because-
younger. I didn't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
he puts his body at such risk that he always has like some kind of injury. He
No, I
plays
know.
with.
I know.
So the first time he
He's
retired,
32.
just because
Oh,
Tom Brady
okay.
retired, and he was like, or didn't. He just retired because his body was broken.
Right. Well, I knew he was younger. I didn't know how much. I mean, 32 is not that. I mean, but
He's for that position.
No,
and
that's what I'm
for a lot of
saying.
years,
He's
but
getting there,
still-
though.
Jamie, he didn't want it today.
Shaka, what's up, Alex Collins? What's up, Permagron? That's your name, Alex Collins. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, the way the Bucks weren't really making any moves for quarterback.
Jacob, read the tea leaves. You were right, buddy. What's up, Roger Dawson? It certainly makes a whole different buzz about Tampa. I mean, there's no doubt that it's going to bring so much revenue. You see what one man does to a team is incredible. A whole city. Morning, Gary. Iggy. What's up, Carlos?
Well, I want to talk to
Google
somebody
Lips.
who like painted over a Tom Brady picture, or like threw away or burned their jersey, because they thought he was done.
I heard that there was some guy that spent $511,000 on Tom Brady's last touchdown.
518,000.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Now we can go out.
Is there an asterisk next to that, or is that just worthless now?
It's not. I mean, it's probably worth. Okay.
You think it's worth more now?
It's probably worth a couple $100.
Yeah. It's a game thrown.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'll take it.
Just a game thrown ball. That's gotta be one of the
Hello,
worst
Crystal.
investments
Chris Rushneck?
I feel alive now.
ever.
You know that guy when he won it Saturday was doing so good.
For
And
one
Sunday
day,
at 7.
for one day, he owned the last ball. Well, I guess technically,
technically it still could be.
Yeah, we
Tom
were gonna
Brady
have
if
crickets.
Something happens.
yeah.
That guy's gonna be on a mission of trying to find Brady.
Yeah.
What's up, Chris Adams?
He's gonna say, "Hey, Big Rig, go take Tom Brady to go-karts."
Yeah, exactly.
Cut his brake lines like he cut Dr. Dan's.
What's up, Carlos, buddy? How you doing?
No helmet allowed.
I will say this, Anna. You are better at this than I. They would be painful sometimes when it was just Manson in the studio trying to run the board.
Mm-hmm.
Painful, you know. And as talented as Brent was and is, not like a foundational glue to a show. It was painful to watch. Even when Matt was here, it was not good.
Yeah. Well, back then too, it was basically a hosted best of. You know, if Bubba wasn't
that's
here,
kind of true.
They'd be here. It'd be almost all bits. They rarely ever did a show.
They tried, I think, every now and then, and it was pretty bad.
Yeah. And the thing is, on YouTube and Facebook and stuff, we can't play any bits, or can't play news stories, can't play any music.
I mean, they just shut it down, huh?
You can't do any of that, yeah, because they'll demonetize it. So.
Oh my God.
That's why we're not playing any news stories or anything right now.
Yeah, no music.
We can talk about them and stuff. Yeah.
I think sometimes when you're listening on the radio, it's different though. Also, I don't know if you ever just listen sometimes.
Yeah.
Because sometimes there'll be pieces on a news piece that are long dead air. It's kind of hard to see what everyone. And I see people try to describe what we're looking at. That's the key.
Well, it should
you'll
be
do it a
dead
lot
air.
of times.
But here's what it is. Sometimes is. So, some news stories will be one channel in the audio only, and so we send out 2 channels of audio, left and right. Some stations only pick left or right. They don't take both channels. They just take one and then broadcast it in mono. So if they pick...
So that's AM, when it goes AM?
So if... I know like Orlando takes one channel of our audio, so if for some reason the news story is on the right channel, then people won't hear it because... They're not broadcasting.
That makes sense.
Even though we send
that makes
both
complete
channels.
sense.
We send out both channels.
Okay.
But they only take
another
one.
year.
Yeah.
I mean, what did Aaron Rodgers sit 3 years on the bench before he got in?
He learned a lot from Brett Favre, just like Trist is going to do.
Yeah, that's what he was asking. He's like, do you think they have no plans for him?
I mean, what would you rather? I would love to sit behind Tom Brady and watch him.
And win for 4 or 5 years?
Yep.
And it'd be good for the Bucs too, because if he does sit on that rookie contract for 4 or 5 years and they do have a plan, they could send him for a small contract where Brady's done and lock him up.
Well, I'm sure that he spends a lot of time with that kid watching films.
Yeah. Well, they say Brady makes the whole organization better.
Live from the Sunbelt Rental Studios, it's the Bubba the Love Spot Show.
Oh, sorry about that. That was a trigger finger problem. I timed that a little bit off. Welcome back to the show. This is the Bubba the Love Sponge Show. I got a little too excited. I just downed a Celsius. It's a Celsius, but we like to call it a Celsius on this show.
Celsius.
Yeah. And it's I don't know about you, Jay, but I hate to seem like more of a paper tiger than I already am, but daylight saving really throws me off. And I learned yesterday it's saving, not savings. That's why I'm trying to make a conscious effort to say it correctly.
Yeah.
It really threw me off. Didn't sleep well. Decided to self-medicate with some Marajangus, but I smoked the wrong kind.
So you stay awake?
No,
too much sativa?
No. I was supposed to smoke the fun, cool kind, and I accidentally smoked the paranoid existential crisis kind, which I didn't realize was still on the market. So I didn't sleep all that great, which is it's fine. But now I'm cracking myself with I almost said cocaine. I meant caffeine. See, I'm a little cracked out now. And I was trying to time the intro, and my finger just went, it's now. And I'm like, oh, S. But we're back. Does daylight savings throw you off a little bit, Jay, or is it just the rest of us?
No, absolutely. That's why when you asked me what I did this weekend, I didn't do much. Well,
see what's going on?
Fired it again.
It's happening again. Wrong
What the heck? Pot it down.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it threw me off earlier. That's how easy it was to throw me off right now.
Right.
Because daylight savings has me so screwed up.
Yeah,
I don't like
crazy.
waking up when it's dark.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I know you guys do that every day.
Yeah, we don't have a choice.
Every day.
Yeah.
And then we're just in a room with no windows for several hours. So
Right.
it's going to be light no matter what when we walk out. But I just feel like it definitely threw me off. Obviously, you kind of sleep in yesterday, right? Because it's an hour later and it feels it's really an hour earlier. So the whole day was kind of thrown off, and then went to bed maybe a little bit too late and didn't sleep so great. But we're here. We're doing it. The news of Tom Brady Brady is keeping the city alive, which is nice, even though, overseas things aren't going so well.
Dan said that he was in like Ocean Prime and people were just like talking about it over dinner.
I'm sure.
Were you one of the ones that contacted him? He said he was getting lots of phone calls and text messages from family members about the news.
I did late, just to check in, just to see what his thoughts were. I mean, I didn't do it like contemporaneously when it happened.
Now, did your mom call you as well? Because he said that's how he found out, was mom called.
She did not call me.
Okay, that's how Dan said he found out.
Really? She called Dan at dinner, yes.
That's awesome.
You had and it was worth the interruption because that's big news. People are excited about it.
It is big news.
It is.
And that we're not talking about COVID or the war or anything like that. It's incredible.
No, we didn't even cover those today.
That's so nice.
Yeah, we didn't talk about the chemical warfare possibility of that, or Russia doing deals with China. We're going to keep it light because, like Jay said,
a red line, a thin red line.
Right, like Jay said, we want to keep it light sometimes because the news will bog you down, and it is a delicate balance, especially being part of a show like this, being essential. We are the media, we are the media. We're talking about stuff. So it's important to be kept informed, but also not to the point of your detriment where you're just bumming yourself out every moment of every day. But this is the kind of news I like to hear out of Russia. Apparently, a Russian McDonald's fan has chained himself to an eatery in an attempt to prevent it closing. And he is exactly like you would expect him.
He looks like a McDonald's fan.
He's
Big Macs.
He looks like the Kool-Aid man. He's top heavy.
He really does.
He is. Yeah, he's the Kool-Aid man with the sweatshirt
on the side and a spout. You're right.
Yeah, and I mean, like I wish I could play this, but apparently I could play it for us, but you can't. I guess
just keep the audio
show
down.
it. There's no audio, right? So he's chained himself to the eatery, and I like this. If you're going to take a stand, if you're going to protest, I'm glad that it's over this because you don't
wasn't
want
the bombing of civilians or anything. It was the closing of McDonald's. That was it for this guy. That's what put him over the edge.
Right, exactly.
I want my Big Mac.
And I like that because that's really what affects people's lives. I mean, I hate to admit it, and obviously it's in the news, but it's not really affecting our personal lives at all. But if you were to take McDonald's away from someone who apparently has it as, clearly a food group in their diet, that it would upset some people.
There's no doubt. And, there's something, and, I don't know what to believe or not to believe because you hear such differing opinions coming from each side. But one of the things I had heard recently, a narrative was that our sanctions were hurting the common person so much in Russia that they were starting to turn on Ukrainians and support Russia because and I don't know that that's actually accurate or not, but it would make sense. Like their ruble is worth, what is it, like 40% less, 60% less.
Right.
It's worth 40% of what it was worth a few months ago, and so it was all for a war that they didn't necessarily believe in, but the more it affects their day-to-day lives by shutting down McDonald's and not having Disney streaming or Twitter or YouTube or all these things, they say that it's affecting the people where, they want their simplicities of life too. You know what I mean?
Right. And
they've
when you
got a Western culture.
Can't really lash out at your own dictator because you'll get beheaded or something.
Thing, yeah.
So you have to kind of direct your ire to the only other game in town, which is Ukraine, I suppose, right?
Where's this guy today? I bet you he's gone. You know what I mean?
No,
he's
they drug
in the
him.
gulag.
They didn't have room for him in the prison.
Well, they said a couple hours, and then multiple police officers dragged him away.
Yeah, and then he'll never
to be seen again.
Yeah, exactly. That seems to be the situation.
Scary part about Putin.
It is a scary part about Putin. There's also a very odd story that has lots of twists and turns, and this is out of Brooklyn, New York. So this is a little bit more local. Again, try to stay with me, folks. An elderly Brooklyn dismemberment suspect shopped at a 99-cent store with the victim's leg in tow. Now, I had to read this article a few times because there's just a lot of twists, a lot of turns. Apparently, there is a 83-year-old transgender woman who murdered another elderly person and then took that person's dismembered leg and put it in their cart or in their wheelchair and was spotted shopping at a 99-cent store. So basically kind of like every other day in New York City, sort of a thing. The leg of victim Susan Ledan, cut off from the knee down, was captured on surveillance video when her accused killer, Harvey Marslin, again a transgender woman, stood up from the wheelchair while inside the store. She gets out of her wheelchair there, and there's a leg right there on the seat. So
Sounds
it's
like
nice
Robert
that
Durst.
it's just business as usual in New York City, which is what I like. You can always count on New York to be New York, essentially.
Did you see that someone in the Museum of Modern Art just got stabbed? Like some random guy ran in the place,
New
jumped
York?
over. Yeah,
What?
yesterday.
Were they wearing a mask?
Yeah, he was. He was wearing a
Okay,
mask.
good.
But so you can't see his face. But yeah, it's the scariest video ever. I mean, the people are just sitting. Imagine you're just at the reception of the Museum of Modern Arts in New York, and you're just sitting there, and it was like 3 or 4 women.
Yeah.
And this dude about Lummy's size runs in, jumps over the counter, and then just starts stabbing him.
Stabbing. That's the sort of stuff that I see. I don't know if you
I
saw
wouldn't go
this.
to New York now, even though that, and I love New. I'm going to start with this.
Yeah.
I love New York City. I've always loved New York City. But the way that it is right now, since COVID, it's a scary place to go in. There was a time where you could go into Times Square and you could do all these things and not be afraid of anything. And right now, you got to have your head on a swivel, or there's a chance you may get assaulted. It happens everywhere now.
It does.
When you can't go to the museum, you can't go to the subway, you can't go to Times Square. It's like the 80s when I was a kid before Rudy Giuliani.
Right, when it was dangerous.
And, now they just lifted all the vaccine mandates and everything, and I would love to go patronize there. I'd love to go to restaurants. I'd love to go do stuff. I'm not going anywhere near there because of the crime.
No way.
And it's one of the places that it's very, very hard to protect yourself.
You can't, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no way to protect yourself unless you like a karate man and you know how to do jiu-jitsu or something. Which
I'm working on it, Jay. I'm working on it.
You could just put them in a rear naked
I'm
choke
working
and I'll
on
be
it.
good.
And here's the thing, like, stabbing sucks. Like, I imagine being stabbed is no fun. But I saw a story yesterday that, or not yesterday, I think it was like last week, that it really tickled my OCD brain because I am a germaphobe. But apparently there was just a woman just waiting for the subway, just minding her business, not bothering anybody. And some dude came up to her with like a bag of feces and shoved it in her face.
What?
Yes.
That's nice.
Yeah. I'll try to find the article. But
a week
yeah.
before, a woman on the flat waiting for a subway was just smashed in the back of the head with a hammer.
Yeah, or like they push them into the line
The
of the
Asian woman was pushed right into the route of the
train,
subway, and was murdered.
right.
Oh, the person that hit the hammer, they released him with no bond.
And they've been released like
no big
30
deal.
times in the last 5 years.
Oh, no big
Exactly.
deal. No
That's
big deal.
ridiculous.
It's
That
frightening.
used to be a no bond thing.
No,
You assault an old woman, especially like in Florida, we have laws that are even different than New York, where, a protected class here are the elderly.
And children, I imagine, obviously.
The children, it's different. They're a protected class, but specifically elderly people, 65
they're
years.
defenseless.
Yes, and so you can have elder abuse and you can have all these types of crimes against people, but you could not just smash an old person in the head with a hammer in Florida and get out. Not happening in Tampa. No way. Governor DeSantis would go crazy. Could you imagine?
Yes. Yeah. And did you know that I met his parents this weekend, Jay?
I bet they're amazing people.
I spoke to them for probably no more than 90 seconds because I didn't want to bother them. But they showed up at Kevin's Irish bash this Saturday. Yes, they did. And they were just trying to enjoy their evening, incognito, have some grilled cheese, maybe a corned beef sandwich, that sort of thing. But then Kevin pointed them out and made them stand up, and then there was just a buzz about them, and I felt really bad. Then you just see the cameras going off.
They're used to that.
Yeah. I know, but they probably wanted an evening where they could just be
if they
people.
do that, they go out on their own. They don't go to an event.
You're right. I wouldn't bother them every time I see them.
Yeah. It's not a bother. Their son's been a politician for a while. Their son has other aspirations. They're going through so much on a personal level. Imagine they got to go to, eat corned beef and hash in Tampa to help the cause, and that's amazing.
And everyone there was going up to them saying, "Hey, we love your son." There was, I didn't see anyone saying anything bad about him.
Right,
no way, not at that event.
No,
no. But sometimes people just don't want to be bothered. Listen, I'm always very aware of like how people feel about strangers because sometimes I get approached, and sometimes it's cool, and sometimes it's not, depending on your mood. So I always just try to say, "Hey, I'm not here for a long time. I'm just here for a good time. Thank you. Tell your son I said thanks."
Right, and they were really cool.
They were very sweet people. Very, very sweet people. All right. Hopefully this isn't a murderer. Hello, who's this? Welcome to the show.
Hey, Anna. FD Northeast Fuel Hauler. How you doing?
Beautiful. Good morning. Good afternoon, wherever you are.
Yeah, it's good morning. Hey, I do agree about, we're not that far from New York, and I agree about New York City. Now they're calling it, instead of the Big Apple up here, they're calling it the Dead Apple. And they can't get anybody to go back. Nobody wants to go to the city.
Why would they?
It's literally dying.
Well, one of my dearest friends is an artist, and his wife has been in high fashion for years. She started literally sorting slides out for Dolce & Gabbana and ended up being a really important person with Dolce & Gabbana.
Didn't she
Ralph
get asked
Lauren,
to go to,
Tommy
Italy
Hilfiger.
or Paris?
She recently went unvaccinated. They made accommodations for her, and they actually gave her a room for 5 extra days and all this. But they were New York, and they're not going back.
They're done.
They're not going back. They're like, you know what? We did it once.
You know, in New York City has all these empty businesses everywhere, and the prices are going up.
Yep.
To rent them out. You think that they would go down so they'd get people there, but nope, prices going up.
Yep.
It makes no sense.
They I don't know if you noticed, but they dropped all the mask mandates trying to get people to come back.
Right, and I still won't go.
Passport.
If it were safe, I would go there. I would have gone last weekend to try to patronize the city and help it rebuild. But I literally said to my wife, could you imagine going there now like we did last time? Last time we went there, we went and we had a fine dinner. We went to this amazing wedding. We went to all these different parts of towns. I never once looked over my shoulder. And, you know,
What year was
I
that?
would go there. It was probably in 2019.
Okay, so right before.
Maybe you know
S
what?
hit the fan.
It was probably 2018.
Okay.
But I wasn't concerned about crime. I wasn't looking over my shoulder. I was, you know, before any of the defund police movement, and so New York was safe.
It says about over 400,000 New Yorkers have left since COVID.
Well, how many cops did they lose? They literally reduced I think they reduced the police budget by $500 million.
Because of the BLM stuff, and then also because of the mandates.
They
people
got rid of their undercover unit, so there's no more undercover unit in the whole city of New York City.
That's good.
I imagine crime would go up.
Yeah.
Hey,
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I do have a question. The reason I called originally, it was you guys were, before you moved on to New York, you were talking about the Ukraine-Russia deal.
Yeah.
I had read something this morning, and they were saying that this could be the start of the demise of the Soviet Union, the way USSR went down with the revolt against its own people, and the possibility, and I use air quotes, the possibility of an inside job. What do you guys
I like
think?
inside jobs.
Is this the start? Could this be the start of the end?
You mean for Putin being ousted
for
out
Putin
of?
For Putin and Russia.
You mean for him to be ousted?
The USSR went down.
The way the czars went down, which was violent.
I think it's unlikely. I mean,
they were talking. They were talking. There's one article there. They were quoting from a guy who owns the largest coal and what was it? The coal and I forgot the other energy sector he owned. But there's so many people there, especially the oligarchs, that are losing so much money.
Yeah,
you would think
they've hit the high seas in their $200 million yachts. We saw a few on Hillsborough River yesterday. Rinky-dink
but
boats.
you would think that somebody, even they're even talking about the possibility of their own citizens
revolting
on the government. You're right.
Well, it's happened before, and it'll probably happen again. And I think that's part of the reason why Putin went into Ukraine, because he saw, in 2013, 2014, they overthrew their leader, Victor something, that was, favorable to the Kremlin, and he got outed. And Putin wasn't too fond of that, because he didn't want that to be a source of inspiration for his own people, who would get those, sort of liberties and freedoms and possibly be a part of the Western world, be a part of NATO. So I think, obviously there were lots of factors that went into this, but I think that was definitely one of them, is he didn't want that to be so close to his border, a democracy, a Western democracy.
And I think that's the point of us, freezing bank accounts and closing McDonald's and things like that, to get the citizens to, tell Putin, hey, we want our McDonald's back.
Yeah.
The problem is when they revolt, they end up missing.
Yeah, they end up dead.
Of course.
Yeah, and one of the journalists who quit her job, I forgot where she worked. We covered the story, I think, last Thursday. She said exactly that. She said, no one threatens your life. You just go missing. That's how they do it in Russia, is that it's not like, hey, if you keep doing that, we're going to get you. It's, oh, you're gone and you're dead.
Is that similar to what people say about China?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then there's no follow-up story.
No.
You're just missing. That's it. See ya.
Or you reemerge, but your narrative is totally different. You're like, I wasn't raped. What are you talking about? This is great.
You're like reprogrammed.
COVID's awesome. I love it. Not China's fault. So
nope.
That's kind of how that goes.
I just don't. I mean, I'm really impressed with the way the Ukrainians are putting up a fight, and I just don't think this is going to do well for Putin in the long run.
Let's hope so. If there's a loser to this game, we all hope it's him. So
I just want people to recognize that we didn't have any war during the last administration for the first time in I think 40 years. And I heard an interview recently where he said everyone was so concerned that my personality was going to be the reason we got into war, and my personality was the reason we got into no wars. And so he was asked specifically about Putin, and he said, I told him, don't you dare go into Ukraine.
Don't mess
and
with
apparently it was even more colorful language, as you imagine.
Sure,
He may have
Mm-hmm.
dropped an F-bomb in there. And then he talked about Abdullah and how he made a deal in Afghanistan and that not one soldier had been killed in 18 months. And he made a joke. He goes, it's a little better than Chicago.
Yeah, that's true.
And so, he was for the withdrawal in Afghanistan, but he was not. He's like, you don't take the troops out first.
No.
You take the people out first.
Civilians.
Then you take out the artillery and the machinery, and then you take out the troops. And he goes, they did it backwards.
Right.
And that interview has been taken down because they said that it was, I guess, not accurate. And so
misinformation.
I find that, to be able to comment about what the government is doing should be a fundamental right of ours, and whether or not they're doing things correctly or not correctly, it should be a basic right of ours to talk about. And so the distinctions between this administration and the last administration should not be controversial. It's called looking at history. And so whether you liked it or didn't like it, wouldn't it be nice to be talking about some silly tweet right now instead of geopolitical war?
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know if this was just a ticking time bomb, like this was going to happen at some point or another, or if it was kind of a concerted effort where he saw Biden was weak and, now's the time to strike.
Well, that was one of the points he made, is that the way the withdrawal had been done sent a message to China and Putin that nothing was going to happen. And then another point was made that the last administration, the Obama administration, the Obama-Biden administration, was confronted with a very similar situation with Crimea, and they did the same thing. Nothing.
Yeah, and I like you said, I think that, you pull out of a war unsuccessfully, like what happened in Afghanistan, probably the last thing you want to do is enter yourself into another war.
Right, and we left more military equipment than most countries have for the Taliban.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And the Taliban has now given it to Russia and China so that they could retro purpose it. And now they'll have the same things we have.
Yeah, great. Thanks, caller.
Hey,
way to bring us down.
Yeah. We're having fun talking about McDonald's. What's going on?
I know everybody's talking about, the nukes. He's going to throw nukes. He's going to throw nukes. Listen, if he was going to throw nukes, he would have thrown them a long time ago.
Well,
not necessarily.
You don't know. No one knows anything.
Well, the fact that is he's probably also got to know in the back of his mind that if he starts chucking nukes, it's pretty much right in his own demise, because there's no way.
That's so scary to even think about.
Right,
man.
he
I can't
knows
believe we've been
that.
saying that.
Right, he knows that.
Yeah, but it might just be a Hail Mary. And if he knows he's going out, he might want to take everybody down with him.
That's what I'm saying. Eventually, that's the scary part going forward. Is he doesn't have a good reason right now, but he's like, if he gets backed into a corner, it's like, screw it, look what I can do.
He's a wild dog.
Yeah.
We don't know what he's going to do. Thanks for calling in, buddy.
Hey, yep, thanks.
Happy trucking. See you later. All right, we're going to do words, and we will be back right after this.
The Bubba Radio Network will return after this.
Chicago, 3,000 cops, no pay today.
Because of what, vaccines?
They didn't get a vaccine.
So they were doing the same thing in New York.
2,600 cops, 400 firefighters.
Yeah.
Around that number. So, and Chicago probably needs some officers at this point.
I would say they do. I think they got rid of their gang unit.
Chicago? I mean,
I know New York did, which is like the most insane thing ever.
Well, I don't understand what Lightfoot is doing there. I guess there was let's see. It's up 34% so far on crime.
And that's only when they report it. A lot of it they don't even report. There's a lot of like in
Intro?
if you
So
think
far-
about if they don't prosecute crimes in California for $1,000 or less,
Well, this is just
then when they say that they have less crime, well, why is it?
Well, no, this
because
is-
they're not prosecuting the crime. They're not recording it, not because there's actually less crime.
Yeah. Well, no, this is just because this is gun violence is up.
Oh, and that's just for me. I wish they would show it from like 5 years ago, because it's even gotten worse. I mean, they keep showing year to year. Like, look at gas prices 24 months out.
Right.
I bet it was $1.99 with Trump in the last, in 2019 before COVID.
Back when the economy was awesome.
Do you hear how
Exactly.
their talking point is though that Biden is
Putin's
producing-
price hike?
No, Biden's producing more oil than Trump did his first year. Well, what did Trump produce his last 2 years compared to what Obama produced his last 2 years? And that, you know what I mean? Like you're giving. So what did
He opened up
Biden come
Anwar.
into? What
They
did he
came
come into
out and they
office?
said, look, Biden's producing way more oil than George Washington did.
Yeah, he really is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's nuts.
I just can't believe that with all the mandates going down, that Chicago would still lay off.
Well, I know, because I was saying, like a week ago, United, everyone they fired, they said, you know what? If you haven't got vaccinated yet, you come on
They
back to
did.
work.
They should.
I know. They
I'm
did.
glad they did.
They did.
They really should. All
But
the
not-
cops,
but not-
all the
but not-
first
not the-
responders, everyone who lost their job should come back with back pay
But that's,
right now.
that's just the airline. But like, you got to think too, like.
But
you know,
Chicago doubled down.
how excited are you gonna be to like go back to a place that just fire like threw you away? That's the only.
It's
problem.
probably the unions more than it was like the chiefs in each battalion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I'm saying United though.
Oh well, that. I
But
mean,
like how you're not gonna be a great employee because you're like my boss just threw me away and
they may be getting rid of the mask mandate on planes by April 18th or something.
but they just re-upped it the other day.
I know, and I'll be like, it's the only place I'm wearing a mask. In
Yeah, the
years.
TSA redid it for another month. It's like what the hell?
Well, there's like and apparently the what is it? The filtration system on a plane regenerates the air more frequently than just about anywhere else in the world, and it's one of the
Right.
safest places to be.
That's what they say.
I mean, there hasn't been a ton of transmissions on planes that
Yeah,
I'm aware
everyone
of.
gets sick after they go on a plane.
Yeah, but they would have shut that
But here's
down
the thing is,
forever.
they're not
if they
saying
could have.
they're not saying you can't wear a mask. Like
Right.
if you want to wear a mask and you think it's better for you, wear a mask.
I'm totally into freedom of choice.
Right. They're not saying you can't wear a mask. They're just saying if you want to, go ahead.
They used to say that, like you couldn't go into a 7-Eleven with a mask on. Like,
No,
hey,
you
dude,
go to-
what the
you go
fuck?
to
I remember the
jail.
first time I went into a bank with a mask on when
I
COVID
know.
happened. I walked in and I said, I'm here to
I know.
I said, I don't wait because I had a hat on. And I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
you think I'm some like robber.
I don't know. You'd get shot 3 years ago if you walked into a bank with a mask on.
Yeah. We've given everyone a disguise. HEPA filters. That's what it is.
And there's still, something happened because like they're still redoing like if you can't pay your rent, people haven't paid rent now for like 2 years. It's like
I know
your power bill, your water bill, people are just not paying.
Well, you're supposed to now turn that in to there's like a site for the government. You turn it in.
Really? They're just gonna pay for it?
Yeah.
But I know that. I mean, how long can we just keep paying for everyone's rent? I mean, like
forever.
Right.
We gave 1.4 billion to Ukraine.
Way more than
They
1.4.
need to build a wall, man.
Yeah.
We've given more to defend their border in the last 3 weeks than we did to do our border.
Isn't that crazy?
I just remember the number because it was nothing. He was fighting for 5.7 billion to do the wall. That's all he needed.
Yep.
And we throw around like 100 billion like it's nothing right now.
know.
Well, then they go on with the Keystone Pipeline. They're like, well, it wasn't done, but it had 18 months left to be done, and it's been stopped for how long?
Yeah.
18 months.
Well, like apparently I heard someone say it wasn't just because she's like we have 9,000 permits that are allowed to. There was 38,000 that were pending.
Right.
Those 9,000 were already exhausted.
Right.
Yeah, there are 9,000 permits.
Yeah.
They're dry wells.
I was gonna say, if there's no oil there, what's the point?
There's dry wells. Like why aren't you reevaluating new ones?
Actually, they're trying to, but they're not approving them.
Right.
Because
The
that
EPC.
9,000 is a nice number. Just like everyone says the Keystone Pipeline wasn't done.
We were
But it was
energy
stopped-
independent.
But it was stopped in 2020.
Right.
Or in 2022, it would have been done by now, which would have helped out. Or
And-
almost been done.
And we were energy independent no matter how you do it. There was a lot of different sources.
I can pretty much
Morning, Colin.
whenever.
Yeah.
What's up,
Morning,
Brady?
Colin.
Hell, we will.
Can you imagine smoking on airplanes? I won't be a jury of the day, believe that, troglodyte.
Yeah. He was trying to withdraw a shit ton of money. Not a positive on that one. Yeah, Kenny Afton Powers.
I watched season 3. I have not watched season 4 just because Ferrari was so pathetic.
Live from the Sunbelt Rental Studios, it's the Bubba the Love Sponge Show.
Welcome back to the Bubba the Love Sponge Show. This is the last segment, and the last segment we'll be doing off of Twitch. So make sure you tune in tomorrow. Bubba will be back. He is currently in LJ or making his way back from LJ. I believe it's a 10-hour trek where they will make only one pit stop for for restroom stuff. Yes. So they had to get a lot of empty Gatorade bottles because and Merch Crick, he says, has good aim. So hopefully they'll be back safe and sound.
Not just for him?
No. Bubba he'll just pee all over the seat. He doesn't care if it's not his car. But they'll be back tomorrow. We'll be back on Twitch
a few times.
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
So make sure you tune in for that. So we'll be able to play some bumping music. It won't be so dry and awkward when we come back in. It'll be nice. We'll have videos back. Again, God willing, fingers crossed.
Podcast at noon today?
Yes, thank you. Podcast noon today. Exclusive. You will not find it any other place. We're not streaming it live anywhere.
Nope,
so
just
you're
search
have to...
the Bubba Army Podcast on anywhere you get your podcasts.
Yeah.
It'll be up at noon today.
It will be up at noon today. Lummy, thank you so much.
Thank
Appreciate
you
as always. Blitz, thank you for keeping the show running. We originally walked in the building with no internet, so I'm like, oh, interesting.
Yeah, I walked in the rack room, and one of the UPSs had died, and it turned off all the computers, all of the internet. So I had to rewire the rack room this morning, and then an hour into the show, one of our encoders died, and I had to replace that. So,
but I'd rather have one of the encoders than have a surprise visit from an unsuspecting guest, which is what I originally thought would happen, and I was a little bit afraid because I saw that Blitz wasn't at his post and he didn't turn the camera off.
No,
but thank God.
Nervous now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whenever you
it
see
does.
him leave with the tennis racket.
Yes. Every time he grabs the tennis racket, that mofo does not play tennis, so I know some stuff is going down.
What's that cello for?
Yeah, exactly. The violin. Jay, thank you so much for making time today.
My pleasure. You did a great job.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. And thank you really to the hero of today and every day. It's Tom Brady, right?
Yay.
Give it up. Yay, Tom
12.
Brady. But again, thank you guys for rolling with us. Bubba will be back tomorrow, so make sure you tune in. And we'll see you then. Bye.
Thanks for letting me finish. You've been listening to the Bubba the Love Sponge Show, starring
Me, Bubba the Love Sponge.
Producer, Tyler Jesus Clem.
Operations manager and co-host, Blitz K.
Co-host and show historian, Lummox.
Co-host, Anna Hummel.
Co-host, Dr. Dan Diaco, Esquire of Council.
Co-host, J. Diaco Esquire, the Spitting Cobra of Council.
Action Jackson, video producer.
The BRN agent, Thomas Buttoned Up B.
And for everything else, go to thebubbaarmy.com.
Now, time for the legal disclaimer.
Exactly.
The Bubba the Love Sponge Show is intended solely for the enjoyment of our listening audience. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of this show without express written consent of the Bubba Radio Network is prohibited.
We must dissuade him of this delusion.
Until next time, always remember.
I'll repeat hello. I'm back.